That's right, everyone, I perfected Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. I cooked up all 266 recipes, reached max friendship with every single villager, and most importantly, got the bazaar to level 99. As you can probably tell by the length of this video and the fact that this is a compilation of 3 previous videos, it took me a long time. So there isn't a second to waste. Let's make my way to Zephyr Town so I can show you how I 100% Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. Day 1 of my journey in this new town begins as I walk into the Bazaar Square and am greeted by Mayor Felix. I explored my new surroundings while waiting for the weekly bazaar to start, then Felix directed me to what will become the location where I exploit the locals for profit. Completing the tutorial bazaar was over in a flash, and Felix explained to me how important it was that the bazaar become world-renowned. After that, I was securely escorted to my new home by the Brolic Mayor, a warm and cozy farmhouse complete with a comfy bed that I slide right into to end my first day. Picking up on day 2, I utilized the infinite stamina afforded to me in the crop planting tutorial to get all my seeds watered, and then checked out the trending items for this first spring season. Having ores be trending is honestly pretty solid. Now that I actually have control of my character, I can spend the day doing what I want, starting by catching a 7-spotted ladybug. After checking out the sign leading to my farm, I found a golden medal some athlete must have thrown away. And hey, that last sign got me a golden medal, and wouldn't you know it, this sign also had a golden medal behind it. Over at the local hotel, I introduced myself to the first marriage candidate, cleaning lady Maple, and then ran over to Miguel's general store to purchase a couple of seeds. After snooping through some townspeople's bookcases, I found the ice cream recipe before dropping off some stuff at my bazaar stall. While jumping around town, I soft-locked myself in between these flower beds. I eventually got out, went back home to plant and water those crops, and then spent the evening testing if jumping while running was faster than just running. Spoiler alert, it is. I woke up on day 3 to a fervent knocking on my door. It's Bachelorette number 2, Sophie, and she comes bearing gifts in the form of a sickle. Felix gifted me some potatoes in the mail, so I spent the morning getting those sowed in the field before utilizing my brand new sickle to farm a whole bunch of weeds. After all that work, I took my first shower to regain some stamina and completed Sophie's weed request. Over at the cafe, I was introduced to our first bachelor, local busboy Derek. It would seem part of his job is also to keep the local brat Kevin out of too much trouble. Bachelor number 2 is Derek's brother, Jules, who enjoys a good book after a long day of teaching the local children. That afternoon, I jumped off a 3-story building to find out if there was fall damage or not, did some snooping in bookshelves to discover the omelet rice recipe, and met yet another marriage candidate at the cafe, Freya. Back at the farm, I spent the evening tilling, sowing, and watering all of those radish seeds Sophie gave me earlier, before ending the day by doing my best Santa Claus impression and entering Miguel's home from his chimney. Yet another townsperson is at my door to start day 4. This time it's the local merchant Lloyd, another potential love interest. In addition to another bachelor in town, I also was donated a hatchet. After getting all my crops watered, I spent the morning utilizing my new tool by cracking open some copper ores by the yellow windmill so that I could complete Lloyd's request he gave me this morning. While snooping around his house, I found the focaccia bread recipe before running to the town square where Sophie was accosted by the town rugrats. Fun fact, you can dig up these little dirt mounds with a hoe, not a hatchet as I embarrassingly attempted to do, and I ended the day by giving my crops a second watering to make sure they grow faster. I woke up on day 5 to quite the disturbance taking place outside my front door. Felix was able to wrangle a wild chicken and gifted it to me as my first farm animal. My Twitch and YouTube live chat selected the name for this little guy, and they decided on 𝘃𝗵𝗄. In addition to acquiring a feathered friend, Felix also supplied me with a brush, milkers, and clippers for all my future animal produce needs. My first round of blue flowers have bloomed, so I got those side down before running over to Miguel's to purchase some fodder seeds for the pasture, along with some replacement bluebell seeds. While running around town, I was introduced to another bachelor in Zephyr Town, Picasso wannabe Gabriel. His comments about the beauty of the town are pretty spot on, though. Over at the Bazaar Square, I found a golden medal behind this bronze statue of the mayor, and then I spent the afternoon planting those aforementioned fodder seeds in the pasture and getting all my seeds moist before running around town that evening and learning that you cannot swim in this game. I ended the day by utilizing my bazaar stall as some extra storage space and throwing all my forageables and critters in there. Day 6 begins with yet another townsperson on my front porch. This time, it's Isaac, the windmill mechanic, with a request for items to repair the red windmill on my farm. I got some sushi in my mailbox and learned the recipe by consuming the delicious fish dish, then went out to the fields to harvest some ripe turnips, daikon, and radishes. After running around town, I introduced myself to June, another of the town's many bachelorettes. I completed Isaac's admittingly easier quest, and my new pal repaired the red windmill. Now I can utilize the building to create a variety of new items, most important of which are the tool upgrades. I sold some of my harvested goods directly to Miguel so that I could reinvest in crops and flowers before running back home to create some perfumes and dyes from my foraged and farm flowers. While prepping my fields for another round of crop planting, this happened. Oh, hey yo, a diamond? Yo! How much is a diamond worth? 10,000? What? Yo, streamer luck! So yeah, getting a diamond is a great way to end the day. Another big strong man is at my front door on day 7, Wilbur. This friendly carpenter provided me with a fishing pole and taught me how to use it, so that's pretty nice. I collected my first round of processed goods at the windmill, then queued up a whole bunch of fertilizer. I accepted local tutor Jules' request to make him some herbal recipes before chatting with Maple at the hotel, where I learned that she's the clumsy trope heroine. I got that diamond and all my dyes and perfumes thrown in the Bazaar storage in anticipation of my first independent Bazaar day, then did some fishing for the first time near the blue windmill. The fishing minigame in Grand Bazaar adds a bit of difficulty on catching these scaly boys, but I am easily able to catch enough to complete Wilbur's fishing tutorial quest. I began the evening by consuming some popcorn I got in the mail to get the recipe, and then discovered that the wonderful people at Marvelous completely nerfed the sushi money farming method from previous games, so there goes my quick money method idea. To finish the day off, I located another lost golden medal, and got cie_PEA put back in the barn because I've totally forgot about her the last couple days. I spent the morning of day 8 collecting windmill produce and harvesting some normal and rare potato crops. Today is the first of many days of selling my goods at the bazaar, so I got my stock filled to the brim and opened my stall by myself for the first time ever. With only a single counter, I wasn't able to sell out the morning shift, but I did manage to bring in over 12,000 G. With that revenue, I was able to purchase the double jump technique from Felix, which makes traversing the map significantly quicker. And with that purchase made, the afternoon shift was upon me, and over in a flash. I once again wasn't able to sell out in time, but a new sales record of 18.5 thousand G isn't anything to scoff at. Unfortunately, I discovered that the other stall owners don't stay open a little bit longer for ya boy, so I guess I'll have to see what they have for sale next week. And to finish off this Bazaar day, I unsuccessfully attempted to make this jump, but I guess the double jump tech just isn't enough at this point. I was teleported to the Bazaar Square the morning of day 9, where it was announced that our local bazaar has upgraded to a village bazaar, and everyone in town was super excited to hear that. In addition to having a leveled up bazaar, I was also introduced to some new townsfolk. Diana, who is a bachelorette in addition to her role as a bazaar reviewer, Harold, post office manager and Diana's brother, and a traveling vagabond and another marriage candidate, Arata. While I was here, I also accepted a couple of requests from traveling salesmen. Kat wants to build a rehoming stall, Rebecca needs some stuff to open her bazaar decor stall, and Karina requested some supplies so she can create a fashion stall. Big boy Arata also used his strength to open up the mountainside, but before I explored that new location, I had to throw on a new outfit, courtesy of some DLC I purchased. Over by the waterfall, I found the first of 3 chickens Kat lost, then ran over to Loy's house and assisted him in locating a receipt that he was looking for. I found a second chicken by Gabriel's house, harvested some ripe normal and rare turnips, then hit up the kitchen to make some herb salad and herb soup. I repopulated my field with some rice and radishes, found the final chicken for Kat, then ran over to Miguel's to purchase some more baby blue seeds. I began the evening by completing a couple of requests. Jules got his food, and Kat was informed of my chicken catching heroics, before I ran over to a new location courtesy of Arta's Muscles, a gorgeous sprawling mountain range. This hilly ridgeside is littered with cool stuff, but I'm mostly focused on these copper nodes. I finished the day off in the red windmill by queuing up some stone and lumber and my first tool upgrade, the copper watering can. Felix barged his way into my house again on day 10 to let me know that the flower festival is coming up. Thanks, Felix. I purchased some more DLC and equipped this flattering bee-themed sweater, then beelined it to the windmill to grab my upgraded watering can. At the expense of some more stamina, I can now water 9 crops with a double jump. Since I was running out of storage space, I threw some stuff into my bazaar stall, ran by the hotel to complete Maple's flower request, then made my way to the mountains, where I found 𝘰𝘗𝘃 training for some type of combat. Why anyone would require close-quarter combat skills in Zephyrtown, I have no clue, but he seems to be having a good time, so I'm not going to yuck his yum. This mountain section has some new critters for me to collect, so I grabbed a hermit crab and a black swallowtail butterfly, before running back to the red windmill to make some dyes and a brooch for Karina's request. Back in the kitchen, I made some egg drop soup and boiled eggs, then spent an embarrassing long amount of time failing to make this jump. And to finish the day off, I got the 𝘂𝘶𝗃 upgrade cooking. I was reminded when I woke up that day 11 is the beginning of the flower festival, but more important than that is the fact that my 𝘂𝘃𝗃 finished crafting overnight. I made sure all my plants were moist, accepted a request from Derek, and then started the flower festival. This event is a 2-day-long flower gifting extravaganza, where the person who gives out the most flowers wins an amazing prize. So I spent the morning running around town giving people flowers, snooping through bookcases to discover some recipes, then gifting out more flowers as the sun began to set. I spent most of the evening collecting copper and iron over at the mountains so that I could queue up the all-important copper hatchet upgrade, along with the copper fishing rod, before finishing the day by giving my crops some delicious fertilizer. After checking my mail on the morning of day 12, I was delighted to see Felix ship me some copper, fertilizer, and vinegar. Then I was over to the red windmill to pick up my newly upgraded hatchet and fishing rod. Eligible bachelorette Freya handed me a request for some warm milk, and then I started on gifting flowers for day 2 of the flower festival. After giving out those gifts, I picked up 2 more requests, the first being from June, and the second from 𝘰𝘗𝘃. It was then revealed at the flower festival closing ceremony that I won the competition with 48 flowers gifted and picked up my first piece of silverware. To celebrate, I purchased some warm milk from the cafe and consumed it immediately to learn the recipe. Over at the Bazaar Square, I provided Karina with all the dyes and accessories needed to complete her request, then spent the afternoon running around the yellow windmill collecting wood, stone, iron, and copper before finishing the day off by giving my crops a second watering. Once again, I am rudely awakened on day 13, but this time, there are these little gremlins at my door. These little bastards are the nature sprites, Ivy, Finley, Honey, Webby, and Penny. Their arrival also introduces a new mechanic, Happy Energy, a type of currency I can use in future bazaars. After the sprites dispersed, I threw on my ninja outfit and got to work harvesting some bloom flowers, buying some replacement seeds at Miguel's, then finishing off a request for Derek. Over by a bush at the yellow windmill, I found June's lost item, ran over to Gabriel's to pick up another request, then dropped off June's item and got a moonstone reward. I got some radish seeds planted with the help of the rain, then went over to the mountains where I caught a white-lipped tree frog, then spent some time fishing at the lake where I caught a bunch of new fish. Over by the waterfall, I caught the final fish I needed to complete 𝘰𝘗𝘃's request before doing some more critter collecting. Now that I have the copper hatchet, I can finally mine out these silver nodes, but the drop rate for silver from these things is diabolical. Back in town, I finished up Gabriel's request, which netted me a signboard, the first of many Bazaar decor items that can give me some solid buffs when selling my goods. I finished this day in the kitchen, whipping up some sashimi. Day 14 begins in the barn, giving Chickpea some pets, then it's over to the crop field to harvest some normal and rare onions. After checking my mailbox, I got some fodder seeds and a new recipe, before running over to the mountains to do a mining run. Over at the Bazaar Square, I completed Rebecca's request, before seeing a cutscene with the Bazaar review board, where I assured Diana that I would continue to do my best. After making my way to the town square, I got another cutscene, this time with June and Sophie, who chatted about being best friends forever. It would seem that today's just a cutscene day, as I grabbed another one with Maple at the hotel, where she had a brief chat with the twins on how to give a good gift. With all those cutscenes taking up most of my time, another mining run was necessary before ending the day at the red windmill to make some more perfume. Another bizarre day is upon us, and Chickpea laid her first ever golden egg to start day 15. This golden egg will be more useful once I get the yellow windmill up and running, but I've got crops to water and produce to collect to start my morning. Then it's over to the Bazaar Square, where Kat, Rebecca, and Karina are all able to open their new stalls. Even the nature sprites now have a stall where I can spend my happy energy. But more important than that is the fact that I got my third movement power-up, a free glider courtesy of Penny. Now I can finally access some new spots, but I'll have to wait for the wind to be stronger for some specific locations. Back at the bazaar, I picked up a request from Diana, then got a prompt for a new bazaar mechanic, Cheer Time. The long and short of this mechanic is that as you sell goods normally, you'll power up this little bar and you can ring a bell and then the harvest sprites come out and they help you sell your goods for more. I didn't use it for this morning's Bazaar shift, but I was still able to make over 26,000 G. With that cash burning a hole in my pocket, I picked up the bag expansion from Wilbur, so I now have space for 24 items. Over at Rebecca's, I picked up the bug cage decor item and grabbed a Bazaar Sprite box at the Sprite store. These green boxes are essentially another location to access your storage, which is incredibly useful for moving items to and from your Bazaar stall. After checking that out, I decided to purchase some new animals. A cow named Puddin, a Suffolk sheep named Lambert, a silky chick named Onyx, and an alpaca named Cusco. The final large purchase of the day is the storage upgrade that Wilbur had on offer. I then sold out the straggler items for a modest 7,000 G at the afternoon shift, and to finish my Bazaar day, I picked up some strawberry seeds from Miguel. With my brand new glider, I was finally able to make this jump to the ore spot and not get any silver, so I ended the day by watering my crops and saying hello to all of my new animal friends. Wilbur woke me up on day 16 to complete my storage upgrade that doubles what I'm able to hoard, a much needed improvement. Over at the Bazaar Square, Felix announced that we now have a level 3 town bazaar. With a new set of requirements to level up again, the crowd goes wild. My live chat forced me to change my clothes for today, and the cow suit was the only outfit they'd accept. So I blended in with my animals in the barn to give them some pets today. Over at Lloyd's house, I picked up another request from the merchant, so I went to the mountains and found a strange pink burst of energy, resulting in a neon flower icon. Before I investigate that though, I accepted a request from Arata, and utilized my glider and a gusty wind day to reach this ore island, which is pretty neat. But I still can't get any silver, so what's the point, right? Near Gabriel's house, I saw a cutscene of Ivy gliding to this little ridge, so I tried it myself and made the jump to find this is where all the nature sprites live. To reward my amazing movement abilities, I can now donate some specific items to each nature sprite. With enough donations, the nature sprites will level up, granting me happy energy and the sporadic boost in quality of those donated items. Just as a little side note for me later, the nature sprite ridge has some rare ore nodes that I can't crack open yet, so we'll have to revisit that later. Down at the hotel, I accepted a request from Garen, who wants to open a stall at the bazaar, and lucky for me, I already accomplished the requirements, so that's an easy completion. While I was here, I also collected another request from Joy, but I wasn't able to automatically complete this one. Speaking of requests, my pal Isaac also had a request for me to complete. But before I find his item, I went to the red windmill to queue up the copper watering can plus upgrade. Joy's request involved giving gifts, so I ran around town giving out some wildflowers I found before locating Isaac's lost item at the Bazaar Square. With the item returned and the request complete, Isaac was able to repair the blue windmill to its former glory. This windmill allows me to upgrade my tools all the way to gold plus level, as well as create some expensive accessories, produce, and it also serves as a pseudo seed maker. Back at the mountains, I actually got some silver out of these nodes, and I finally went back to investigate this neon flower thingy that turns out to be a warp circle that reveals the final bachelorette, Kagetsu. To put a cap on the day, I picked up my copper watering can plus and queued up the copper plus upgrades for the fishing rod and hoe before whipping up some grilled fish for Arda's request before bed. Having now appeased my live chat's cow suit request, I switched up my fit to start day 17 and started my morning by collecting some mail rewards. Over at the red windmill, both of my tool upgrades were ready for pickup before I spent this rainy morning collecting a bunch of ripe radishes and fragrant spring tea leaves. I made sure that I gave some love to all my animals in the barn, then ran over to Miguel's where I'm now able to order items, which is nice, but I'm really here to restock fodder for my animals since they're all out with the consecutive rainy days. Up at the mountains, I did an ore harvesting run and had enough resources to complete Loy's request. While I was doing that, I also gave out the 20 gifts needed to complete Joy's request at the hotel. Back at the red windmill, I queued up the copper sickle upgrade and got a whole bunch of flowers cooking into perfumes. That evening, I went back up into the mountains where my live chat finally informed me that these dirt mounds could be dug up with a hoe, so add that to my list of things to do every day. I made my first nature sprite donation to 𝗵𝗵𝗄𝗏 this evening, and this mushroom, which is a bonus item for the week, got me extra XP and a solid couple of levels. I spent some time catching some new critters around town, donated those to Penny near the cafe, and finished the day off by grabbing my copper sickle at the windmill. Ivy had weeds as a bonus item this week, so I donated a bunch of those and got my first ever quality boost. So now all my forageables are 1-star quality instead of the half-star. I did the exact same thing with 𝗵𝗵𝗄𝗏, giving him a mushroom before attempting to get more silver from these nodes, but once again, no luck. I queued up the 𝗃𝗵𝗵𝗀𝘀 upgrade at the Red Windmill, got the 1-star quality level up by donating stuff to Penny, and made my first bit of her mayonnaise at the Blue Windmill. Down at the waterfall, I picked up a rare piece of silver and returned home to plant some flower seeds. I finished the day off by seeing this cute little cutscene with Isaac's family as they enjoyed a home-cooked family meal, and Isaac promised his twin daughters that he was going to get as ripped as Arata. Day 19 begins by changing up my outfit once again, then running into the barn to get some love points with the animals. I got a churro in the mail this morning, so I consumed the treat to learn the recipe, and started my day in earnest by picking up my 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃+. Since weeds are a bonus item this week, I'll be hyper-focused on getting as many as I can. If silver ore was even 1% as prevalent as weeds though, that would be really nice. Since I had no luck with mining today, I spent most of the afternoon fishing so that I could level up my fish quality by donating these guppies to Finley. With upgraded fish, I could complete this request from Arata, and I ended the day by donating the necessary resources for the 1.5-star upgrade for mushrooms and forgeables, and queuing up an arsenal of perfumes. I woke up on day 20 to find our good friend Felix just let himself into my house to let me know that Honey Day is on the horizon. Also, it's apparently a local custom to give honey cake to the person you like, so he provided me with a recipe, but I probably won't use it this early. Matters of the heart will have to wait, as I got some fresh eggs to collect and flowers to snip before running down to the hotel, where I experienced another edition of Maple's journey in clumsiness. I purchased some replacement seeds from Miguel, then ran up to the mountains to do another fruitless silver ore run. Back on the farm, I got those newly purchased seeds sown, collected all my perfumes, and then got some dyes cooking before running down to the square to stock my stall with produce for the upcoming bazaar. Over by the town fountain, I got super lucky with 2 silver ore drops from consecutive nodes, which was just enough to upgrade my hatchet to silver. This is a super important upgrade considering gold nodes have a much higher probability of dropping silver that I can use for other tool upgrades. While my hatchet upgrade is cooking, I spent the evening farming weeds so that I could get the 2-star forgeable upgrade from Ivy to end the day. I kick off day 21 in the barn collecting some love points for my animals, then it's out to the crop field to harvest some ripe strawberries. Overnight, my silver hatchet finished crafting, but before I get to gold farming, today is Honey Day. So I went down to the cafe and purchased some jars and started gifting it to all the town's marriage candidates. And now that all these boys and girls have that sticky liquid on their hands, I can finally utilize my new toy and create some gold from this neat island at the mountain lake. One of the negatives of upgrading the quality of your forgeables and getting access to gold at the same time is that my storage is filled to the brim with identical items of differing qualities. So I spent the afternoon consolidating stuff by crafting and donating resources, which resulted in more quality upgrades. Since the bazaar is tomorrow, I finished the day by getting my stall stocked and giving my crops a second helping of moisture before ringing in all of my little furry friends for bed. Day 22 begins in the mailbox, collecting some gifts and getting one of those gifts planted in the pasture. With the bazaar underway, a bunch of new stalls are having their grand opening. Garen is a contractor, Lloyd sells ores and gems, Arata can build beehives and mushroom logs, and Joy has a present wrapping stall. Before I got my stall open, I picked up some new thread from Karina, then began selling my produce. The morning shift wasn't too bad. I made almost 40,000 G in profits, but I could have made more if I remembered to update my stall decor to all the ninja items I got through DLC. With the money I just made, I purchased some seeds from Miguel and utilized some of my happy energy to purchase an all-important power berry from the nature sprites. Consuming this item will give me some more stamina, which is very welcome this early in the game. With my remaining happy energy, I bought 2 more sprite boxes for the windmills, then went over to buy another animal. This time I got a chick, my live chat named Bean. For the eye-watering price of 30,000 G, I purchased the bigger bag expansion from Wilbur, and used what was left of my funds on the beekeeping field from Arata. In my afternoon shift, I sold off all the straggler items I couldn't sell this morning for around 7,000 G, then went and bought a brown cow that my live chat named Coco. To finish off my bazaar day, I met everyone's favorite mascot, 𝗬𝗃𝗀𝗏, purchased the Zephyr Square Sprite box, and completed Diana's request. I had just enough time to finish the day off with a gem and ore run in the mountains, and finished the day by giving my newly planted seeds some water. Unfortunately for all my barn pals, I completely forgot to ring them in last night, so I spent the morning of day 23 getting them all out of the rain. That being said, Cusco, Puddin, and Lambert are fully grown, so I got my first bit of alpaca wool, milk, and Suffolk wool. With that 1-star quality produce, I got in the kitchen and cooked up some warm milk, and I went to the mountains to do an ore run and get some silver. After that, I ran down to Freya's house to finally complete her request and get the recipe for mint tea. As you could probably anticipate, my storage is bursting at the seams. So I threw some non-perishables into my bazaar stall before going down to the blue windmill to craft some emerald and topaz accessories. This is probably really unwise given my storage issues, but I ended the day by getting my forgeable quality rank upgraded to 2.5 stars thanks to giving Ivy some weeds. There was a knock on my door from Arta to start day 24. Everyone's favorite himbo finally finished the beekeeping field in the mountains. But before I take a look at that in person, I have to give my animals some love and consume the random food items people send me in the mail. I made sure that all of my ripe crops got ground pounded into my pocket, double jump slammed some iron and stone, and then ran into Felix and Lloyd having a meeting of the minds. Felix had to leave, so I enjoyed a nice tea break with everyone's favorite bespectacled merchant. I changed the fit up to try on my newly purchased overalls, then utilized the bonus stones and iron to upgrade my forgeables quality to 3 stars. That evening, I went over to Kagetsu's to have a staring contest, and as you can tell by my reaction, I lost in a humiliating fashion. While I was in the mountains, I checked out my beekeeping field, which needs flowers to attract the bees and produce honeycomb, so I got a couple of extra wildflowers planted there, and then finished the day by throwing more items into my bazaar stall to serve as extra storage. I once again forgot to ring all my animals in the night before, so they're a little wet being herded into the barn to start day 25. A bunch of flowers have bloomed, so I got those side down, purchased some more fodder and chicken feed from Miguel, then did a quick ore and gem run before accepting a request to find Kagetsu's lost item. Lucky for me, it's really sparkly and just at the base of the mountain, so it was easy to return and complete the request. Over at the mayor's house, I saw a cutscene where Felix has broken dishes while trying to clean them, and he and his daughter are having trouble balancing their work and home responsibilities. So I had the wonderful idea of Sophie helping Felix in his mayoral duties, so he can get better at not breaking things around the house. Over at the blue windmill, I collected some readied accessories, got them put in the bazaar stall, then returned to get even more emerald bracelets made to end the day. I woke up fully clothed, ready to start day 26, only to find Felix in my living room inviting me to tomorrow's tea party. Speaking of Felix, he mailed me some super rare silver, so I guess I'll have to accept his breaking and entering this time. I spent the morning getting some flowers side down at the crop fields, turning them into some dyes at the red windmill, then running down to Miguel's to purchase replacement seeds. With another bizarre day on the horizon, I got even more high-priced accessories queued up at the blue windmill, before ending a short day by splitting open this gold node to reveal my first ever ruby. I can't turn it into anything yet, but 5,000 G from just one gem, that's not too shabby. Cusco provided some alpaca wool plus to start day 27. If you're watching this and find yourself in a similar situation, make sure you keep this in your storage until you get the yellow windmill. Learn from my mistakes, people. Anyways, I spent the morning harvesting spring tea leaves and getting super lucky on my mining run, getting emeralds and back-to-back gold nodes, before enjoying the annual tea party at the town square. As a reward for providing the tea leaves, I got some walnut cookies and inhaled them to get the recipe. After the festivities came to an end, I collected my freshly made accessories and herb mayo from the blue windmill and refilled it with additional accessories before ending another day by ringing in all my animal friends and getting my crops nice and wet before bed. I learned on day 28 that I could just stand in the doorframe and ring all the animals out. Don't ask me how I was getting them outside before this point, I will not tell you. Up in the mountains, I collected my first bit of honeycomb, then saw a cutscene with Gabriel, who is the artist of this not-so-subtle painting of the mayor that he just keeps in his office in case he forgets what he looks like. Over at Isaac's house, I found Jules doing his due diligence as a tutor, and was suckered into making a deal with the twins who get any request in return for doing well on their tests. Rookie mistake, Jules. Rookie mistake. Since tomorrow is Bazaar Day, I spent the afternoon making sure I'm stocked up and aptly prepared, and then finished the day off by doing yet another ore run and keeping my flowers nice and moist. It might have took me 29 days, but I finally put a flower in the vase. I then went and checked my mailbox where I got some rose seeds and chamomile tea, which was instantly added to my recipe list through consumption. With the morning bazaar shift quickly approaching, I sped around my daily farm chores of taking care of the animals and harvesting some rice and bloom flowers. I collected some last-minute product from the windmills, got my stock updated with the most expensive items I had, then started my morning bazaar shift. With the bazaar slowly becoming more and more popular in the local area, there were many patrons excited to spend all their allowance on my goods, and I was able to sell out relatively quickly. With a new sales record of 128,000 G achieved, I went over to the Nature Sprite stall to purchase and consume some recipes. Then it was over to Arta's stall to get the mushroom log. If you're like me and have trouble getting silver to drop from nodes, you should do what I do right here and just purchase it from Lloyd. It's relatively inexpensive and will get you to the silver tools quicker than hoping for silver drops. I also picked up another storage upgrade from 𝗁𝘁 before starting the afternoon shift, where I finally utilized the cheer time mechanic that helped me sell out of all my goods and get me a tidy revenue of almost 50,000 G. With that cash infusion, I purchased another chicken that my live chat named Benny, some cooking tools, and a soil quality upgrade from my boy Garen. With what was left of this bizarre day, I did a mining session at the mountains, bringed all of my animals from the pasture, and queued up the silver watering can upgrade. Day 30 begins with 𝗁𝘁 waking me up to let me know the storage upgrade that increased my capacity to 72 spaces is now complete. But the most important update is that the Bazaar has now been upgraded to level 4, a city bazaar, and as expected, I received a standing ovation for making it happen. Now that we have a city bazaar, there are more people wanting to open up stalls, the first of which being Ronaldo, all the way from Flowerbud Village. I'll get to Ronaldo's request later because my silver watering can is ready for pickup. With all that progress I've made of the bazaar, it took me quite a long time to clear out my mailbox of all the fan mail, and then I accepted another request from Isaac. Once again, I bent the knee to my live chat and threw on the chick costume just in time to see a little cutscene with Arta, the seriousness of which isn't undermined by my choice of dress whatsoever. Another round of requests need to be collected from Sophie, local business magnate Charles, and Madeline, proprietor of the town cafe. And to put a bow on day 30, I made sure the 3 remaining crops I have are nice and wet. As spring comes to a close, I enjoyed some tea to start a leisurely morning on day 31, before being interrupted with the introduction of the 12th and final marriage candidate, Samir. Turns out Samir and Arta are pals, and the two met up at my house and decided to take a room at the hotel. My boy Garen has finished my soil upgrade, and Arta has propped up that mushroom log for me. Over at the Blue Windmill, I queued up the gold hatchet upgrade, then got my mushrooms quality up to 2 stars thanks to 𝗁𝘁. Speaking of 𝗁𝘁, I'm sure he'll be very excited to see me actually using the mushroom log. Over at the beekeeping field, I got the remaining available area populated with flowers, then ran back home to test out my new watering can, which can reach up to 15 crops with a double jump. I got my bug quality upgraded to 2 stars courtesy of Penny, and then spent the remainder of the day getting my windmill started on some easy produce for Isaac's request, before jumping into bed to end the spring season. But before I continue my road to perfecting Grand Bazaar, it's important I let you know this video is sponsored by me. This video won't have a single mid-roll ad, and in exchange for some ad-free content, it would be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel, slap a like on this video, and comment below your guilty pleasure snack. If I had to pick my guilty pleasure snack, it would definitely be a Twinkie. They're so bad for me, but I can't resist the urge once in a while. Alright, back to the video. I woke up on the first day of summer, day 32, to Ramon just chilling in my house. He brought along a couple of stray cats that need a home, so I gladly adopted the white-furred cat, and my live chat named him Doe. He is very cute and very long, as you can see. The trends for this season are pretty decent, the highlight being the bouquets. A new season means new critters, so I started the day by catching a brown cicada, then went down to Miguel's to purchase some summer seeds. Over at the Blue Windmill, I got my golden hatchet picked up, and then spent the afternoon running around town, collecting some more cicadas. After clearing out the dead flowers from my beekeeping field, I grabbed some fresh honeycomb, and ran down to the water fountain, where I had a brief conversation with Jules, before Derek thanked me for hanging out with his brother. I started my evening by catching a stag beetle, ringing in all my furry friends for the night, and ended the day by getting all my newly sown summer crops nice and wet. I kicked off day 33 by doing my farm chores of loving my animals and getting my crops watered, before hitting up the red windmill to queue up the silver sickle upgrade. With my golden hatchet and a windy day, I could finally get up to this ridge and crack open these light blue nodes. Then it was over to the blue windmill to get some honey cooking. While I was in the area, I formally introduced myself to Samir, and had a brief chat about who did his highlights. I accepted a request to sell 30k in goods at the bazaar for Miguel, before running into Jules and Derek having a brotherly dispute. To round out the day, I caught a firefly by the town square, collected my silver sickle and got the silver hoe queued up, and ended the day getting the 3.5-star quality upgrade for forageables from Ivy. Day 34 begins in the barn collecting a whole bunch of eggs before getting my crops watered in the field. My silver hoe has finally finished crafting, and my first crop of shiitake mushrooms are ready for collecting in the forest. I still don't know what ore these light blue nodes drop, but you won't see me complaining if they keep giving me diamonds. Today is the semi-annual pet show, and even though I've only had dough for a couple days, we did our best in the competition and managed to get on the podium. I began the evening in the kitchen whipping up some nature sprite recipes, then finally got the ore drop from these light blue nodes and collected my first piece of 𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗲 before calling it a day. A bunch of my large animals have some produce for me the morning of day 35. So I got all that milk and wool collected, side down some newly blossomed flowers, and got that wool processed into yarn before running into Isaac and completing his request. With that request complete, everyone's favorite windmill repairman got the yellow windmill back in action, making the first time in a while that all 3 of the town's windmills are spinning at the same time. The yellow windmill unlocks a bunch of great processed items: high-quality cheese, butter and wool, ruby accessories, pickled veggies, and flavored tea tins, but more importantly, it unlocks the ability to craft 𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀 tools. But it seems like these 𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀 nodes prefer to drop diamonds instead of the actual ore. Since tomorrow is another Bazaar day, I started the afternoon by dropping off some of my goods I plan to sell, then running up to the mountains to start collecting wood since I'm going to need well over 12,000 pieces to fully upgrade my tools. While I was up here, I collected some fresh honeycomb before heading down to the yellow windmill to get some green tea tins made. To put a cap on day 35, I gave my crops a second watering and collected a brand new elephant beetle near the town square. I checked the weather report to kick off day 36 and found out there will be a hurricane next Tuesday, so I put on a new outfit and got to work while I still could. Over at the Bazaar Square, I got some items thrown into the stock and reorganized my stall with new decor before getting the 1-star quality upgrade for honey. The morning shift at the Bazaar went off without a hitch and I sold out, resulting in a 148,000 G profit. With bouquets trending, that made it all the more important that I bought the other flower seeds from Miguel's before consuming some grilled corn I purchased from Felix. Ramon was now selling pets, so I adopted a Bernese mountain dog that my live chat named Bear, and then went over to the Nature Sprite stall and purchased an upgraded Sprite box that can teleport me back to my house. The name of the game for today was to upgrade my farming capacity and quality by picking up the field expansion from Wilbur and the soil upgrade from Garen. With the money I have left over, I purchased a new outfit from Karina before selling off some extra goods and produce in the afternoon shift for a solid 65,000 G. With the extra cash I had, I purchased the Real Power technique from Felix, which is just a luck-based mechanic that can make fishing a touch easier. Back at home, I gave my crops a second watering, gave a proper introduction to my new friend Bear, and swapped into the outfit I just purchased before finishing the day by the waterfall, where I caught a couple of new fish. I kicked off day 37 in the pasture, collecting some Rare Milk Plus from Puddin' before harvesting my first crop of tomatoes in the field. I ran down to the yellow windmill to get some cheese and mayo plus processing, and with a hurricane on the horizon, it was imperative to get some windscreens crafted. After checking in with Ivy, weeds are back on the bonus items list, so I spent most of the afternoon running around town collecting as many as I could and donating them. This really short day was capped off by giving my crops another watering. The game made sure to remind me that a hurricane is just 24 hours away from landfall to start day 38. But on the bright side, Wilbur was at my door to show off his handiwork with my additional field being completed, and Garen confirmed that all the soil has been properly upgraded. I spent this morning doing hurricane disaster prep by utilizing some windscreens at the crop field and the beekeeping area. Luckily, the mushroom log just finished another crop, so I won't need to worry about windscreening that. And speaking of mushrooms, all the ones I collect from here on out will be 2.5-star quality thanks to this donation to 𝗁𝗵𝗶𝗰. That afternoon, I ran into June and Sophie, where the former noticed a rip in my brand new outfit, but lucky for me, she is an accomplished seamstress and fixed that tear right up and covered it with one of her famous patches. I grabbed some pet treats to begin training my cat and dog at Miguel's, then saw another cutscene at the town cafe where Gabriel revealed his favorite of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony. Back on the farm, I dug up a power berry for my new field while I was tilling spaces for new crops, so I will gladly take that stamina upgrade, thank you very much. I got my new field windscreened up, made sure to run by Miguel's and complete his request, then finished the day by getting another request complete by handing over a bunch of resources to Charles. The hurricane has touched down in Zephyrtown on day 39, so I spent the early morning inside training Bear. Since all my farm animals have to stay inside today, I made sure to feed them, collect their produce, and make sure they all knew everything would be alright before stepping out into the storm to grab my mail, which includes a delicious recipe that I just had to consume and learn. With the winds at an all-time high speed, cutting down all of these blossom flowers was a tad bit challenging, but it was necessary considering these trending bouquets are going to make me a very rich man. I did my due diligence in collecting all the weeds I could, purchased some replacement flower seeds at Miguel's, and then decided to utilize the ultra-high wind speeds by queuing up the silver fishing rod and silver watering can plus upgrades. After donating my weeds to Ivy, my forageables will now be 4-star quality, before I spent the evening in the mountains catching a super rare spotted frog, collecting some delicious honeycomb, and ending the day at the red windmill, picking up my silver fishing rod. It took me 40 days, but someone in my live chat finally told me I could sort my storage through various prompts with the select button, which really made my day. So with a refreshed optimism, I tackled my farm chores of sowing flower seeds, before running out in town to see that the hurricane threw around a whole bunch of ore nodes and rocks in places I'd never seen before. That afternoon, I collected my silver watering can plus at the blue windmill, then dug up this dirt mound which revealed my first ever pink diamond. This can be turned into an accessory with a yet-to-be-revealed windmill mechanic, but I'll probably just sell it for the quick 42,000 G. That evening, I caught myself a brand new Genji Firefly, used my new watering can for the first time, and ended the day in the blue windmill getting a bunch of accessories crafting, along with the gold watering can upgrade. I woke up to another knock on my door on day 41. It's Felix with an announcement of tomorrow's animal show, which I'm eager to win. With that in mind, I made sure to be extra diligent in taking care of my animals before running down to pick up my golden watering can. I did a quick trip to the mountains that afternoon to restock on gold, collect some more weeds, and then went back to the farm to harvest some blossomed hibiscus flowers. Side note, this golden watering can is amazing. With a single jump, I can water 18 crops, which drains barely any stamina. And speaking of stamina, if you guys want a super easy recipe that gets you some solid stamina regeneration, I highly recommend eggs over rice. I got my bug and critter quality up to 2.5 stars thanks to Penny, and then spent the evening fishing where my power reel technique made its first appearance. I caught a whole bunch of new fish and put a cap on the day by getting my fish quality up to 1.5 stars. I spent the morning of day 42 working on some tricks with dough, getting all the crops and flowers watered in the field, then making some royal honey at the blue windmill. Today is the semi-annual animal festival, and my live chat decided 𝘃𝗵𝗵𝗏 should be our entrant. Obviously, me and my feathered best friend copped an easy dub, allowing for eggs to reach 6-star quality, in addition to picking up another trophy. With the festival taking up a couple hours of the day, I spent the remainder of this short day stocking up my stall for tomorrow's bazaar, spreading the delicious fodder seeds I received as a prize for winning the animal festival, upgrading my honey quality to 1.5 stars, and giving my crops a final watering before bedtime. I kicked off day 43 in the kitchen, whipping up some walnut cookies for Sophie's quest, only to find out that Ivy sent me a 5-star version of those very same cookies in the mail overnight. I then got a pop-up about produce freshness, so I went to check my storage where I learned some of my flowers are starting to go bad. But today's all about bazaar festivities, starting off with the opening of Charles' recycling stall. And then it is into the brink. I didn't sell out my morning shift, but I did make a solid 137,000 G. I spent most of my happy energy on the Sprite boxes for the yellow windmill and the mountains, bought some more flower seeds at Miguel's, and purchased another storage upgrade from Wilbur before checking out Charles' stall for the first time. Our favorite red-headed, well-dressed man has a recycling center that sells a myriad of items, the most intriguing of which being a power berry in exchange for a bunch of fishing trash. After perusing some stalls, I utilized the power of Nature Sprite Cheer Time to sell out of my afternoon goods for 131,000 G and went on a shopping spree. I bought the cooking pot from Garen and the Ultra Plus sow and harvesting techniques from Felix that allows me to plant and harvest 9 crops with a double jump. I then made the mistake of buying the good fishing decor. If I was smart, I would have made it just windmill decor, but at this point in playing, I honestly thought the Bazaar tents and counters were just aesthetic, and I really liked the purple color. Losing all that money aside, I picked up a request from Jules, completed a request for Sophie, and then found Jules' lost item by Gabriel's house and returned it to complete the request. To finish the day off, I used my ultimate sewing tech for the first time and got some more bouquets crafting in the red windmill. Yet another hurricane is on its way to Zephyrtown, but before I get day 44 started, Wilbur dropped by to upgrade my storage facility. Thanks to all my hard work, the bazaar has now been upgraded to level 5, a regional bazaar. And in addition to the new status, Harold also discovered a letter from Felix's mother that we can only open once we become a national bazaar. And as you can see, Felix seems very excited about that. As I got my day started, I accepted a request from Isaac for a couple of high-quality gems, then got some tomatoes harvested. My pal Lloyd needs some wool for a request. I got my honey quality leveled up to 2.5 stars, and collected some honeycomb before running into Clara at the town square to accept another request. Over at the Blue Windmill, I got the Silver Plus upgrades queued up for the hoe, sickle, and fishing rod before accepting some more requests, one from Felipe, Miguel's brother, and the other from Rich. With the hurricane rapidly approaching, I made sure to get my windscreens up and then finished the day by completing Lloyd's request and giving my crops a nighttime spritzing. Ramon is once again at my house to start day 45, but instead of arriving with felines, he came through with a whole stable of horses. My live chat selected the white horse and named her Ivory. With access to horses come the prompts for training in horse derbies, but I'll get into that later. It's storming outside and my animals need comfort. I got my last round of ripe tomatoes harvested, then ran down to the Blue Windmill to pick up my Silver Plus hoe, sickle, and fishing pole. Since the hurricane winds are active, I decided to double down and upgrade my sickle and hoe to gold, and get the gold watering can plus cooking too. Across town at the Yellow Windmill, I got my first ruby accessories queued up, then hiked up to the mountains to get my honey quality up to 3 stars. As the torrential winds and rain continued to pummel the town, I spent some time inside training Bear, practicing for the upcoming horse derby with Ivory, and yelling into the void to see if anyone can hear me scream. I spent the evening catching what seems to be a very important glass bottle, collecting my golden sickle and hoe from the Blue Windmill, and doing more fishing as a means to kill time so that I could end the day by collecting my golden watering can plus. With the weather returning to a calm and sunny disposition on day 46, I was introduced to local weather girl Shireen before starting my day in earnest in the crop fields. With all those fresh flowers in my pocket, I got them crafted into a bunch of bouquets. My animals were finally able to get back outside and enjoy the sunshine, and the hurricane left some orichalcum nodes for me splattered around the mountainside. I got my beekeeping field repopulated full of flowers and herbs, got a super lucky double ruby drop over by the Nature Sprite house, then ran into Felix, Diana, Derek, and Jules chatting in the town square, where it was revealed that Felix's mother is in charge of another bazaar in the region that's rocketing up the standings, but the gang and I are sure we'll get to national rank first. To put an end to the day, I got the golden fishing rod upgrade cooking, and spent the evening in the mountainside doing my best lumberjack impersonation. Day 47 begins in the barn getting some love points with all my fuzzy friends, then going out to my new field to get the crops watered. I got some stone and lumber queued up in the Red Windmill before heading down to the equestrian park to compete in today's horse derby. I can honestly say that the horse derby is really fun in this game. While you're still moving left and right, keeping track of stamina and collecting power-ups, jumping over obstacles and playing against the time for points is really satisfying and enjoyable. And I'm not just saying that because I got a trophy out of it. Thanks to the friendship boost for winning that trophy, I got a request to complete from Felix before running over to the Blue Windmill to collect my golden fishing rod. I purchased some more hibiscus seeds from Miguel, farmed some wood near the waterfall, and began the evening by watering all the growing crops on the farm. I caught myself a rare Maya beetle near my storage and put a cap on the day by doing some more fishing, where I caught a cherry salmon for the first time. Day 48 begins in the farming trenches. I'm watering a bunch of crops and making sure I pet all my animals. Up at the mountains, I caught my first ever bee and donated a bunch of critters to Penny for the 3-star quality upgrade. But now it's request time. I accepted a request from Samir, walked over to Ronaldo to get his request completed, ran back to the hotel to accept a request from Maple, and found the cat that Samir was looking for, and finally told him about that and completed the request. With all those done, I stopped by Harold and Diana's to enjoy some tea and lovely conversation about Diana's failures at her past bazaar, then went back home to catch a rhinoceros beetle and get all my crops wet before bedtime. All the flowers I watered yesterday have blossomed and are ready for chopping on day 49. After I rang my bell and got a whole bunch of love points with my animals, I caught a rare thorny grasshopper in the mountains. After doing my ore run, I had enough 4-star gems to complete Isaac's request and was rewarded with my first Wonderstone. These mythical items can be inserted into any windmill and provide various boosts. This blue one Isaac gave me increases processing speed by 100%. That reward makes the flower seeds I got from Maple from completing her request look pretty sad. The next Bazaar day has come around pretty quickly, so I began the evening in the square stocking my stall full of goodies before finishing the day by getting my blue Wonderstone set in the red windmill and admiring how fast I can do stuff now. It took 50 days, but I finally learned how to give Ivory horse treats before harvesting some more hibiscus flowers. With another Bazaar day upon us, Ronaldo launches his farm produce stall along with Sophie, who opened a fruit tree stall. I once again made the mistake of buying the fish counters because they looked really nice and started my morning shift. It takes a lot of work and time to get all this produce sold, so I just fast forwarded through all the effort of hawking my goods to strangers to show just how much money I made today. 323,000 G. Over at the Sprite store, I purchased the Equestrian Park Sprite box, the Happy box for the red windmill, and a new recipe that I can acquire by chowing down. I bought some more flower seeds from Miguel's, corn seeds from Ronaldo, and adopted a black cat from Ramon's that my live chat named Gigi. And since I had 2 cats, I was also convinced to get a second dog named Butters. Over at Wilbur's stall, I contracted him to create a 3rd field for me. I picked up a refrigerant upgrade for my storage from Garen, then walked over to Felipe to complete his single-day sales request to end my Bazaar day. The last actions of day 50 were to sow and water all the new seeds I purchased, and say hello to my new pets, Gigi and Butters. Another day in Zephyrtown means another day of Felix breaking into my house and informing me about a festival. On day 51, Felix is all jazzed up about the crop festival, but I'm all jazzed up about this storage upgrade Garen completed. Now my perishables will stay fresh for much longer. I received some sweet potato cakes in the mail today, so I consumed them and learned the recipe, and then went out to the pasture to check on all my birds. I got every single one of my growing crops and flowers nice and moist, collected 18 units of honeycomb from the mountains, and then picked up a request from Lori. Her pal Kevin also had a request for me to accept before I caught those brats at the water fountain raining down questions on Diana about how to be cool since she's obviously an expert in that area. Utilizing the blue Wonderstone in the blue windmill, I ended the day by getting the Golden Plus upgrades underway for the hoe, sickle, and fishing rod at the same time. With the windy day and the Wonderstone, they should all be done as soon as I wake up. And wake up I did on day 52 to the dulcet tones of Shireen informing me that yet another hurricane is due to touch down tomorrow. That extra field that Wilbur just finished up is definitely going to need some windscreens. So I checked my mail and collected all the recipes and gifts that Felix felt like sending me the day before and got a bunch of windscreens queued up. After that, I ran down to the blue windmill to pick up all my newly minted Golden Plus tools, then ran back to the farm and prepped my new field for seeds. Over at the town square, I entered a fresh pineapple into the summer crop show and came out with the first prize in the bronze category, so now all my pineapples can get up to level 6. I collected my reward of rice for completing Felix's gift-giving request, cut my first ever evening cicada, then did a ore run in the mountains before finishing the day by doing some fishing by the waterfall. Did you catch what I was supposed to do but didn't before bed? If you're screaming at your monitor to put up windscreens, I wish you were in my live chat, because I forgot to do that. I woke up on day 53 to see the hurricanes decimated my crop fields and destroyed everything I hold near and dear. So I spent the morning harvesting what survived and cutting down everything that died, before spending a pretty penny at Miguel's to salvage some sort of yield this late into summer. Back at the farm, my first ever bit of produce had gone rotten, but on the bright side, the hurricane brings out this rare frog that will really help out my XP levels with Penny. I once again had to reassure all my barn animals that the structure wouldn't collapse under the wind of the hurricane before I saw a little cutscene with Samir and Arda as they chat about what is best for Samir's personal growth. With everyone inside, I guess they got to thinking because I have some requests to accept from Madeline, Claire, and Sophie. While enduring the hurricane wind and rain, I caught some new fish and ended the day by getting my fish quality up to level 2, courtesy of donations to Finley. It's been a while since I changed up my outfit, so I gave myself a makeover to start day 54, then made my way into the rain to eat some food I found in my mailbox. With the hurricane now passed through the area, today was a cleanup day. I repopulated my barren fields with new seeds, safely collected some new critters that moved into the area for shelter, and picked up all the fallen walnuts. My bees needed some more flowers after the storm, and I spent the afternoon fishing at the waterfall and bottling some walnuts at the red windmill. I got Madeline's expansion request completed at the cafe, queued up a whole bunch of ruby accessories at the yellow windmill, and was painfully reminded how much ultimate lumber I'll need to get the 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 upgrades. So I spent the rest of the day chopping the down tree limbs in the mountain to start working towards that 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 hatchet. I don't know whose birthday it is, but Felix sent me some balloons in the mail to kick off day 55. Whoever is having a birthday soon will most likely be receiving a bouquet from me, considering all the flowers I have now. That or walnut juice, because boy did I make a lot of it. I got the 3.5-star quality upgrade for critters from Penny, and completed another request from Madeline to cook stuff, and was rewarded with the mushroom rice recipe. You might be surprised to know that another week has passed and the bazaar starts back up again soon, so I ended the day by restocking my stall full of items. The surviving eggplants are ready for harvest on day 56, and I got enough wood cooking in the windmill to make a single piece of ultimate lumber. But that being said, my luck might be turning around since I got this diamond and orichalcum in back-to-back nodes by the Nature Sprite house. Later that morning, I got Kevin's request for ladybugs completed and went straight to Lori and gave her a bouquet to complete another request. I did another round of wood farming up in the mountains and got those turned around into lumber at the Red Windmill before saying hello to all my farm animals in the form of ringing a bell right in their face. I then ended another short day at the beekeeping fields by replacing the destroyed flowers. Speaking of flowers, I threw some fresh mint in the vase to start day 57, another bazaar day. I got all my freshly blossomed hibiscus flowers harvested, dropped by the yellow windmill to pick up my ruby accessories, then made my way to the bazaar square where Felipe opened his rare artifact stall along with Madeline's mobile cafe stall. I quickly topped off my stock of goods, redecorated my stall to get as many boosts as possible, then started selling all my wares to the local passers-by. I did manage to sell out the morning shift for a decent return of 260,000 G, the first couple thousand of which went straight into purchasing some fun new clothing options that I'm sure I'll enjoy wearing when the time comes. Now that I have time to check out Felipe's stall, he sells a whole bunch of neat stuff including a wind jewel and a litany of wonderstones that have a lot of cool effects, of which I ultimately ended up purchasing the purple wonderstone. I sold off some leftover goods in the afternoon shift for a humble 60,000 G and used that money to hire Wilbur to expand my pasture and Arta to upgrade my beekeeping field. Madeline's mobile cafe sells a bunch of new recipes not available during normal operating hours, so I spent a pretty penny at her stall buying up over a dozen new food items before ending my bazaar shopping spree by hiring Garen to power up my storage refrigerant again and adopting a Maine Coon cat my live chat named Miso. With my bazaar day done and dusted, I had to check out what this purple wonderstone does. It essentially introduces new, even more rare items a windmill can create. Each windmill can create a unique season-specific sunstone. The red windmill can create sprinklers, mix pickled veggies and a combo perfume. The blue windmill can upgrade metals and make guardian bait. And finally, the yellow windmill can create something called the travel stone, specialty tea tins, diamond and pink diamond accessories, and most importantly, the final upgrade tier for all tools, ultimate level. With all these new possibilities swirling inside my head, I made sure to water all my growing crops before ending the day by having the largest meal anyone has ever had in the history of the world by consuming all the food I purchased from Madeline's stall this afternoon. I woke up on day 58 to the completion of my storage refrigerant upgrade courtesy of my good pal Garen. I hit up my closet and switched my fit up a touch, then got into the field to harvest some pumpkins. Over in the pasture, I gave all my barn animals some love before talking to Ivy, who has weeds, back on the menu, so you know what I'm doing all week. Over at the cafe, I got coerced into being a taste tester for Freya, and it went as well as you think it might. While I was suffering through that, Jules, Arta, and Lloyd were just enjoying the weather outside the hotel and chatting about Arta's quirky preference of outdoor living. Speaking of Arta, I accepted a request from our favorite himbo this afternoon, so I went back to the cafe to purchase and learn the poached egg recipe before getting back into my part-time job as a landscaper by cutting down a bunch of weeds. Up at the mountain, I collected a final round of honeycomb before my beekeeping field gets expanded and ended the day by donating enough weeds to get the 4.5-star forgeable upgrade from Ivy. Arta woke me up on day 59 to confirm the upgrade of my beekeeping operation, and then it was out to the fields to harvest some ripe eggplants and red peppers. I made sure to check up on all my animals in the barn before running over to the blue windmill to start processing a bunch of regular and royal honey. With an expanded beekeeping field, more flowers means more bees, which equals more honeycomb, so I'll definitely be getting those honey quality upgrades quicker. I've collected a fair amount of herbs from all this weed chopping, so I was finally able to complete Sophie's request and get the herb rice porridge recipe, and then it was back to the blue windmill to get some emerald accessories cooking. I ended the day by catching a brand new brown firefly by the waterfall. While enjoying some coffee and light reading, Wilbur interrupted my relaxing morning on day 60 with the news that my pasture has been expanded. I'm not sure what I can put here just yet, but it's a nice little plot of land to stretch my legs. A bunch of petunias and marigolds are ready for scything down to start the morning, and I immediately threw them into the red windmill to be processed into bouquets. That afternoon, I was able to fill out my newly renovated beekeeping field, and I spent the remainder of the super short day chopping wood and getting it turned into lumber. Day 61 is also pretty short. I spent some time in the kitchen making progress towards Clara's 100 recipes request by making a whole bunch of Happy Forest mix with walnuts, did a super quick ore run in the mountains, I caught some new fish near Kagetsu's house, dug up a whole bunch of metals in this dirt mound behind the blue windmill, and upgraded my quality in forgeables thanks to the power of weeds. All forgeables I collect will now be 5 stars. I put a cap on the day by getting started in automation, by getting a handful of sprinklers queued up in the red windmill with the power of the purple wonderstone. The final day of summer, day 62, begins by harvesting one final crop of eggplants and red bell peppers before getting the field tilled for fall crops, where I found a convenient diamond underneath the soil. I gave all my pets and animals cuddles in the pasture, got some mayonnaise plus crafted at the yellow windmill, and regretted going for the pasture expansion instead of storage increases to start my afternoon. I got some honeycomb collected in the mountains and grabbed my first set of sprinklers, prompting some tips that they'll water my crop twice a day, which is pretty nice. I got those bad boys situated in my starter crop field and ran over to the Bazaar Square to get my stall stocked up since my storage is absolutely overflowing. And then I ended my first summer in Zephyrtown by doing some fishing and catching this oddly rare green bottle. With an autumn chill in the air, I started day 63 by throwing on some warmer attire and running out to my mailbox where Felix has sent this season's trends, which are disappointing even if I'm being generous. I began the morning by harvesting some rice that matured overnight and catching a new autumn bug flying around, a red dragonfly. After I got some carrot seeds sown at the sprinklers, I went over to the mountain to do an ore and gem run. I got my mushroom quality up to 3 stars, dropped off all the goods that I planned to sell at tomorrow's bazaar in my stall, and learned that Miguel's is closed on Fridays. With my plans to purchase and plant new autumn seeds up in smokes, I called it a day by giving my farm animals some love. I woke up early on day 64 to enjoy the animation of my sprinklers and water my field in preparation for sowing the seeds that I'm going to buy in today's bazaar. And in the blink of an eye, it's already time for the morning bazaar shift. With the help of the nature sprites, I was able to sell out all my goods for the price of 255,000 G. With that money, I hired Garen to build me another barn, purchased a whole bunch of flower seeds from Miguel, got Wilbur contracted to expand my storage again, bought up all the autumn recipes that Felix sells, and then finished my shopping spree at Ronaldo's. I sold off a handful of extra items at the afternoon shift and made just over 113,000 G, which was enough to reach the 1 million G in sales mark for the Bazaar upgrade. To finish the day off, I got the yellow windmill started on making some ultimate lumber, then sowed and watered the flower and crop seeds I purchased this afternoon. Day 65 begins with the town mayor once again inside my house informing me of an upcoming cooking and baking contest. After Felix left, Wilbur arrived to complete the upgrade on my storage facility before meeting back up with Felix at the Bazaar Square, where the town has officially become a national bazaar. With that achievement, Felix can finally read his mother's letter, which essentially describes how she built the bazaar up, why she left, and how happy she is knowing that her former town is thriving under her son's leadership. But that being said, we still have one more rank to go, and the town seems pretty excited to reach it. Getting those ranks up is fun and all, but getting this ultimate lumber from Felix definitely makes it worth it. I got all of my non-sprinklered crops nice and wet, then ran up to the mountain to collect some honeycomb from a half-dead beekeeping field. At Madeline's Cafe, I purchased an omelet and consumed the egg dish to learn the recipe, grabbed a diamond from the orichalcum nodes near the Nature Sprite house, caught a brand new yellow dame's fly, and then followed the advice of someone in my live chat that said that there was an island over here, but it's just more water. My pal Ivy once again had weeds on bonus, so I donated some of those, stopped by my barns to say hello to all the animals, then spent the early evening between the red and blue windmills making regular and herb versions of cheese and butter to make a recipe for tomorrow's cooking competition. While I was waiting for all those products to cook, I did some fishing off the pier and caught a couple of new autumn fish, including my first ever bout with a guardian fish. With the power reel technique, the fight isn't too stressful, and I hooked up a black carp. The last thing I needed to do today was whip up my entree for tomorrow's festival, and I decided on the omelet rice recipe, increased up to 5 stars with milk and herb butter. While I'm waiting for today's festivities to start, I spent the morning of day 66 watering my crops and getting some vinegar queued up for processing before running over to the town square to submit my dish to be judged by Pierre. In the moment, I didn't know what the flash of light towards his eyes meant, but it was revealed that I won first prize and was rewarded with the supreme curry recipe. The cooking festival was the perfect location to complete Clara's 100 dish creation request. Then it was up to the mountains to collect some weeds and smash open some ore nodes for diamonds. Back at the farm, I caught a bell cricket for the first time and finished the day by whipping up some pudding for tomorrow's baking contest. Garen woke me up on day 67 as he was working on the farm overnight to complete the construction of my new barn. Soon enough, all these gold egg-laying chickens are going to have some new friends. Up at my third crop field, a whole mess of flowers are ready to be side down and immediately turned into bouquets in the red windmill. My mailbox has a couple of fresh food items courtesy of the townsfolk impressed by my omelet rice, and then I utilized the power of the purple wonderstone and the yellow windmill to create some diamond bracelets. After a trek up to the mountains, I started repopulating the beekeeping field with some autumn flowers before running back down the hill to the town square to accept and very quickly complete a request from artist Gabriel. It would seem many townspeople have some errands for me to run as I accepted another couple requests from Sylvia, Nadine, Stuart, and Eric before leveling up my honey quality to 4 stars. After all that housekeeping, the baking competition was finally underway, but my pudding recipe doesn't seem to have the shine that my omelet rice did. Pierre gave me some pointers, announced that I did not get first place, and then told the world that Freya, that's right, famous terrible cook Freya, won first prize with her baked apple. Make it make sense. I drowned my sorrows at Miguel's by purchasing some spinach seeds, faked a smile as I completed Eric's request, then took out my frustrations on the weeds and gold nodes at the equestrian park. To complete the day, I finished repopulating the beekeeping field with flowers, got another diamond bracelet queued up, then sowed and watered all the new spinach seeds I bought from Miguel's. A nice and rainy day 68 begins by refilling the trough in the barn with chicken feed. Then it's over to the mountains to do a quick ore run. I ran down to the yellow windmill to get my first bit of Suffolk Yarn Plus process, then caught a super rare cricket. That being said, today was super short as not that much happened, so I ended the day by getting some good fodder planted in the pasture. The clouds have parted on day 69, so it was the perfect time to replace the flowers in the vase. I got a whole bunch of cauliflower harvested in the fields, made sure to collect the milk from my cows in the pasture, then went down to collect some requests. I got one from Derek and another from Mina at the cafe before checking out a cutscene with Samir and the town kiddos who were asking him a whole bunch of questions about his hometown and where he's from. After the interrogation, I got Stuart's request for materials complete and got myself a new outfit for my troubles. Then his wife Sophia felt it was the perfect time to ask me to do an errand for her as well. Back at the town square, I completed Mina's mayonnaise request and got the herb sandwich recipe before completing Nadine's bottled walnut request to grab the fish cake recipe. The most important thing I did today, though, was finally upgrading my hatchet to orichalcum. And since I couldn't do any ore runs, I was pretty much resigned to collecting weeds to donate. But I did get the 5.5 star upgrade before finishing the day by sowing some seeds and giving my crops another watering. When I woke up on day 70, I was informed by the game that something story-related was going to happen that would delay the Bazaar for a week. As much as I love making money, this little break from the madness is welcome and I happily accept it. With no Bazaar tomorrow, I have the luxury of a relaxing Friday. I can harvest these flowers, collect my sparkly bracelets, start pickling some eggplants, and collect weeds to my heart's content. I even made time to do some fishing today and caught a magnificently ordinary empty bottle. And to end the day, the fish I did catch were donated to upgrade their quality to 2.5 stars. Sophie woke me up on day 71 with the news that Felix is out for the count with a cold, so the Bazaar is left without an organizer. So obviously that means I will be tasked with running the town's showcase event, but I do get a little bit of help from Lloyd, June, and Gabriel. All 5 of us were worked to the bone, but we can proudly say that the Bazaar went off without a hitch in Felix's absence. After the Bazaar ended, we all went back to Sophie's house to check on the mayor when Freya arrived with yet another note from Felix's mother. The content of this letter essentially congratulated Felix on the town's achievement, told us about how she defected to a rival Bazaar, and how we'll have to look out for her shooting up the standings, which obviously made Felix feel a lot better. With what remains of this action-packed autumn day, I made sure to harvest my ripe crops and prep my field for more seeds. While tilling that space, ya boy found yet another power berry which got instantly consumed to increase my stamina before finishing the day in the red windmill, getting some more bouquets ready for crafting. I'm back in the field watering crops to kick off day 72, then it's over to the kitchen where I whipped up some poached eggs for 𝗁𝗲. My 𝗺𝗀𝗀𝗃 hatchet is finally ready for pickup, so the first thing I did was make an ore run where I can finally open the dark blue nodes. But I guess I'll have to wait and see what gems and ores I can get out of them. While I was up at the mountains, I got my honey quality up to 4.5 stars, and then discovered that weeds were still one of Ivy's bonus items, so I will continue making them a collection priority. In town, Nadine set me up with quite the doozy of a request before I went and picked up my pickled eggplants at the blue windmill. I then went on a request completion spree by finishing Sonia's fishing request, 𝗁𝗲's thirst for poached eggs, and another Nadine request for those pickled veggies. I started my afternoon in the equestrian park, cracking open some gold nodes and getting weeds chopped, then ran into a cute cutscene between June and her father Eric as he grapples with the reality that his daughter might be getting married soon and completely embarrasses her in the comfort of his own home. I then put a cap on a long day of request completions by finishing one final request from Sylvia for 5 ladybugs. The rain is back in Zephyrtown on day 73, so I started off in the barn collecting some large animal produce before harvesting some ripe sweet potatoes in the second crop field. During my first ore run of the day, I discovered that these dark blue nodes drop the pink diamond as a gem, so I'll gladly accept that and immediately get it processed into a pink brooch. I know that you can't get inclement weather in the fall, but I decided to be proactive and place some windscreens up early because I know I'll forget it if I don't. These windscreens also have the added benefit of looking pretty cool as I get the field tilled. I got my first bit of ultimate stone crafting in the yellow windmill, and then did my second ore run of the day where I found that the dark blue bit jutting out of these nodes is mithril, a resource used to upgrade tools to the ultimate level. I then finished day 73 by getting my honey and bug quality upgraded to 4.5 and 4 stars respectively. I've got more fibrous white stuff ready for harvest the morning of day 74. After checking up on all my large animals in the barn, I went over to the mountains where I caught a rare cricket and cracked open some more mithril. Over at the town square, I bought up Miguel's entire stock of spinach seeds, then saw a cutscene with Clara and her son Kevin. After Clara insisted Kevin care for the bugs he loves so much, Kevin made sure to show his mother just how much he loves the bugs by hosting a bug party, which is a very malicious way to be compliant with his mom's request. That afternoon, I made sure to sow and water my 99 spinach seeds, craft another diamond bracelet, and finish the day off with some late night fishing. I've been rocking the same look for a minute, so I kicked off day 75 by picking out some new clothes and a fresh look to tackle the day with new optimism. I tugged on some udders in the barn for that delicious white liquid, smashed open some diamonds from 𝗁𝗀𝗀𝗃 nodes, and did some fishing where I found a gold medal. I purchased another round of spinach seeds from Miguel, got another diamond bracelet cooking, and hung out at Kagetsu's place to fish up a couple of new scaly boys, in addition to the ever-elusive right boot. I've got nothing but left boots so far, so I'm pretty stoked to have a pair. I ended the day by getting those newly purchased seeds sown, then getting the 3.5 star mushroom upgrade from 𝗁𝗵𝗄𝗏. With the Autumn Animal Festival on the horizon, I felt it was only right to switch into my festival attire to start day 76. I made sure to check on all my feathered friends in the pasture, got my forageable quality up to 6 stars thanks to the power of weeds, and watered all of my budding spinach crops. For the first time in a fortnight, the bazaar will be held this weekend, so I stopped by my stall to fill up my stock and then did a wood chopping run. As the sun set, I caught another guardian fish in front of the blue windmill, donated that to Finley to get the 3-star quality fish upgrade, and ended the day in the yellow windmill, getting some ultimate stone and lumber crafting. The game was nice enough to remind me of today's animal show, so I started day 77 off in the barn to get one last bit of love points with all of my animals. Felix was nice enough to send me some 𝗁𝗀𝗀𝗃 in the mail, which I'm happy to accept, before doing my daily crop watering in the fields. I did a quick ore run before the festivities got underway and got the pink diamond 𝗁𝗀𝗀𝗃 double whammy god drop from this mithril node, and then arrived at the town square to compete in the animal show along with my trusty bovine bestie, Puddin'. And of course, we got first place to put a blue ribbon on the day. I had a bunch of ripe spinach ready for collection to start day 78, so I harvested and re-tilled the field before hopping over to the yellow windmill to get my second 𝗁𝗀𝗀𝗃 tool, the watering can. I accepted a request for wool from June, then went to the bazaar square where Clara has opened up a new stall. Once again, I made the mistake of buying and installing fish bazaar decor simply because of the aesthetic, and finish my morning shift by selling a new record sale of all my goods. But that being said, my afternoon stall will probably net me more. I made yet another mistake at Rebecca's, then accepted a request from another potential stall operator who I definitely should have talked to before the morning shift. Over at the Sprite stall, I picked up some new glider skins and another happy box before hitting up Ramon's stall and purchasing a lamb my live chat named Cotton and a buffalo calf named Buffy. Our good pal Harold needs me to find a pen he borrowed from his sister, and then I checked out Clara's stall, which sells a bunch of new recipes. I got my Bazaar stall decorated with my mistake counters, got another storage expansion courtesy of 𝘬𝘂𝘀, and finished my morning shopping spree at Karina's by buying some new threads. My afternoon shift was very successful as I sold out of all my stuff and made over 500,000 G. I spent that money at Garen's by picking up an oven, at Felipe's by purchasing the green and orange wonderstones, and at Arda's commissioning a second mushroom log. With the Bazaar upgraded, I checked out Charles' stall, and he now has something called a feather jewel for 50 recyclables. So it looks like we're going to need even more trash. But that's a problem for another day. I need to get this green wonderstone in place that doubles the production line of the blue windmill. I did a quick ore run at the mountains and found the item that Harold lost, and then finished the day at the red windmill. With the purple wonderstone in place, I queued up enough sprinklers to automate at least one entire field. Day 79 starts with 𝘬𝘂𝘀 confirming I can now fit 144 items in my storage room. Then it's out into the rain to harvest some more spinach. My mailbox was filled with awesome stuff this morning. 3 pieces of ultimate lumber from 𝘬𝘂𝘀 and a power berry from Felix that gets immediately inhaled to increase my stamina. I got my orichalcum watering can picked up at the yellow windmill, grabbed the soy milk recipe from Madeline's Cafe, and got June's request for wool complete before running back to the farm to make sure all of my animals are taken care of. After doing a bit of wood farming by the waterfall, I bought out Miguel's stock of chicken food and fodder, then got some seeds planted at the field with the assistance of the rain. 4 new sprinklers have finished crafting at the red windmill, so I've got one field totally automated, and I finished the day off by doing some fishing at the waterfall looking for recyclables. Arto woke me up on day 80 to confirm that my second mushroom log has been prepared, but before I check that out, I need to throw on a new outfit I purchased from Karina. Utilizing my orichalcum watering can, I can now water an entire crop field in 2 uses. I spent the morning reorganizing my farm animals into correct barns, then ran up to the mountains to throw some spores on my new mushroom log and collect some fresh honeycomb. I got all that processing into honey down at the blue windmill, then went back up to the mountains to hang out with 𝘂𝑔𝑒tsu, where I once again failed to convince her to interact with the world outside. With what was left of the day, I spent some time training my furry friend Bear, then ended the day in the kitchen by making some tofu. There are many a golden egg ready for collection on day 81, and some rice hath finally matured out in my sprinkler field. I found another dirt mound filled with metals by the blue windmill, purchased the honey juice and tomato juice recipes from Madeline at the cafe, and got a handful of those made over at my house so I could finally complete Derek's request for 5 juices. I took my remaining honey and donated it to Honey the Nature Sprite for the 5.5-star quality upgrade, and found myself a super rare Emperor Dragonfly. Down at the mayor's house, Lloyd, Sophie, and I found out that he had been duped into buying some expensive cookware marketing schemes. But more important than that is fulfilling Harold's request, where I was rewarded with a suit and tie that I just had to put on immediately. The last action of day 81 was to donate a bunch of fish, mushrooms, and honey to Nadine so that she could open up her stall next week. I woke up full of excitement on day 82, only to have Mayor Felix at the foot of my bed forewarning me about tomorrow's juice festival. The only juice I care about right now, though, is the juice I'll be able to make once these tomatoes are ripe. I spent the morning in the pasture doing some training with Butters the dog, then went up to the mountains where I caught myself a rare cricket. I bought 99 units of pet food from Miguel, got some ultimate lumber cooking at the yellow windmill, and then made some more honey juice in the kitchen for tomorrow's juice festival. I caught a brand new critter near my farm entrance and spent the remainder of the day at the equestrian park catching new fish and a bottle of starry sand. Some more spinach is ready for harvest to kick off day 83, and as I was retilling the field for another round of seeds, I found my 6th power berry of the playthrough, which I'll eat later since they also fill up your entire stamina gauge. Up at the mountains, my porcini and morel mushrooms are ready for plucking before running to 𝘂𝑔𝑒tsu's shrine to accept another request. Down at the town square, the juice festival is in full flow, and I really enjoyed this nice break from the rat race. My gift for turning up and providing the honey juice was some 15,000 G specialty juice that gives pet training a level 4 boost, So of course I consumed it and made sure to train every single one of my pets. As the moon begins to shine on Zephyr Town, I caught my second guardian fish near the docks opposite the cafe, the grass carp, and ended day 83 by chowing down on that power berry I unearthed this morning. The first thing I did on day 84 was check on my mail to find some free orichalcum from Lloyd. And speaking of Lloyd, I got a little cutscene with him where he seemed very surprised to find someone asking him not to leave. I then got some rice cooked up in the kitchen, collected some honeycomb in the mountains, and completed Kagetsu's request for that rice. I got some more mushroom spores grown on the logs, brushed all my animals in the barn, and then got a mega expensive request completed from Rich at the hotel. I dropped off a bunch of accessories, produce, and crops at my bazaar stall for tomorrow, and end the day by doing some fishing by the waterfall. An entire field of tomatoes are ready to be collected the morning of day 85. Before the bazaar gets going, I did a mountain run where I collected a rare grasshopper along with some orichalcum ore, before finally making my way to the square where Nadine's food stall and Rich's casino have finally opened. Today I am trying a new strategy for selling stuff at the bazaar. I spend my morning shifts selling a bunch of cheaper produce to charge up my cheer gauge, and utilize that in the afternoon to get bonuses on my expensive accessories. I didn't sell out in the morning shift, and I only made around 122,000 G, but I'm sure it'll all be fine. I really haven't utilized my extra barn, so now I decided to start breeding animals, starting with Puddin. I bought another sheep my live chat named Basil, and made my first ever visit to Rich's stall, which he calls a prize palooza, but it's really a thinly veiled casino where you exchange medals for a vague chance at getting something good. The best pull I got today was a red ball, so second place prize, a green brooch. I grabbed a couple of recipes from Nadine and Madeline's stall before the afternoon shift started and I could implement my new strategy. It's safe to say that it worked out pretty well, and I sold out of all my goods for the not so low price of 727,000 G on the nose. With a bursting wallet, I purchased another storage upgrade from 𝗁𝘆𝘆, a bunch of cauliflower and flower seeds from Ronaldo and Miguel, and some sunglasses from Karina, before being a dum-dum and getting the tier 3 fishing stall from Rebecca. I grabbed the yellow wonderstone from Felipe, and finished up my spending spree with Garen by getting the bathtub power-up. With over 1 million in bazaar sales, I was able to complete Destiny's request, then went back home to finish the day. I got my first bit of buffalo milk, changed up my outfit with my new clothing purchases, and planted all the seeds I bought at the bazaar. With what's left of the day, I lamented that my pink diamond brooches weren't ready until now and did a fruitful ore run at the mountains. Day 86 begins with a whole bunch of upgrades, the first of which is from Garen to improve how much stamina I get from taking a bath, and the second from 𝗁𝘆𝘆 nets me even more storage space. I started my morning by consuming some food I found in my mailbox, watering a whole bunch of growing tomatoes, and getting my lumberjack on in the mountains. That afternoon, I got some more pink diamond brooches cooking, caught a migratory locust at the equestrian park, and took my first ever soak in my renovated bathroom before ending a super short day by getting some non-perishables thrown into the bazaar stall. The autumn crop show headlines day 87, so I quickly got all my crops nice and moist, got some yarn crafting in the red windmill, and did my foraging chores in the mountains before running down to the town square to take part in today's competition. Obviously, my rice is a superior species, and I left the event with yet another trophy. With weeds once again on bonus, I spent the evening running around town collecting all those little bastards, and managed to get the 6.5-star upgrade to forageables from Ivy. I got some more diamond bracelets queued up in the yellow windmill, and ended the day by fishing up recyclables at the waterfall. Another crop of flowers have blossomed to start day 88, so I got those side down, then went back inside the house to switch up my outfit again. Over at the kitchen, I whipped up some more stamina regenerating eggs of rice before running up to the mountains to get the 4-star quality mushroom upgrade from Webby. While I was up here, I collected some honeycomb, then ran back down to the mountain to intercept Diana and pick up another request, which only required a carrot, so a very quick and easy completion to end a short day. I woke up on day 89 for another exciting day in Zephyr Town, as Felix is here to let me know about the Pumpkin Festival tomorrow, which I'll just call Halloween since it's an event where children show up at my door looking for sweets. I made some pudding for the little ones in the kitchen, then got started doing farm chores by harvesting some ripe tomatoes and carrots. I dropped off a bunch of produce and accessories at my bazaar stall, then spent the afternoon fishing at the waterfall. I got the 4.5-star critter upgrade from Penny, caught myself a new jumbo dragonfly at the equestrian park, and ended the day by getting some green dye cooking in the Red Windmill. Shout out to the game for reminding me that day 90 is the pumpkin festival where children stop at my house for treats. But a negative shout out to me for not reading the tip closely enough. I honestly thought all the kids did was arrive at my farm, so I gave them the pudding I prepared while they were just standing here, only for my live chat to tell me that, hey, there's a cutscene for this event. So I had to whip up even more pudding to satisfy Kevin and these little gremlins, Sylvia and Lori. With the solace of knowing that I won't be tricked today, I caught an emperor dragonfly in the mountains and ended the day by getting my honey quality up to 6 stars. Utilizing the chestnut juice recipe I got at the last bazaar, I made a bunch of it the morning of day 91 since it's a trending item. I then got started on doing my daily gameplay loop of harvesting crops, cracking open ore nodes in the hope of something good, and going around town looking for stuff to dig up where I found this cool little sand rose. After donating my weed collection for the day, I was oh so close to reaching level 50, and took out some iron which ended up doing the trick. Thanks to maxing out the forgeable rank, Ivy met up with me at my home and thanked me for donating all those weeds. But I think having my forgeables at 7-star prismatic quality is thanks in and of itself. I ended the day by collecting my first ever 7-star forgeable and just enjoying the rainbow gradient on the quality meter. While I was checking my mail on day 92, I got my first memento, Ivy's Rosette, only a lot more to go. Another Saturday means another Bazaar day, and Destiny is making their debut as a fortune teller. But before I entertain any new stalls, I have to fix mine by righting my wrongs. I finally realized that the tent and counters have certain effects, and bought 3 excellent windmill counters to make my Bazaar decor start working for me instead of against me. The morning shift was over in a flash as I sold out of all my stuff for a grand total of just under 820,000 G. My first stop was Miguel's to purchase replacement seeds for the farm, then it was over to Destiny's stall where I had my fortune read and received a buff to the sale of all my goods, which I really should have gotten before my morning shift. But it's not all bad. I got super lucky and managed to pull out the prismatic orb at Rich's Casino, resulting in a grand prize, the Sky Jewel. With that jewel collected, I purchased the Wind Jewel from Felipe, leaving only Charles's Feather Jewel to complete the set, so I guess I'll have to get fishing. I doubled back to Felipe's to purchase the final Red Wonderstone, crafted this super cute red sweater with Karina's help, then went over to Ramon's. I got chickpeas eggs fertilized, purchased a brown baby alpaca my live chat lovingly named Al Pacino, and a Shiba Inu puppy named Kronk. At the Sprite store, I exchanged my happy energy for the final 2 happy boxes, ran over to Wilbur stall to upgrade my storage again, and I finished my Bazaar spending by commissioning the final beekeeping expansion from Arata. Over at the Red Windmill, I got another batch of sprinklers queued up with the Purple Wonderstone, and ended another exciting Saturday by fishing, hoping for recyclables. Day 93 and the final day of autumn begins with Wilbur completing my storage upgrade, then running down to the Bazaar Square where it's announced that we've officially reached the World Bazaar rank. It took us a while, 3.75 million G in sales and 21 stalls, but we did it. And to celebrate this monumentous achievement, the entire town is going to have a party next week, which I'm super amped for. Getting started with my farm chores, I made sure Puddin' the cow was properly fed as she grows new life, then ran to Miguel's to purchase some broccoli seeds. Up in the mountains, I got my mushroom logs adorned with shimeji spores, and then did a quick ore run where I found a diamond in this node, and then a pink diamond in the dirt mound. Fun fact, a max quality pink diamond is worth 90,000 G, and that's even before I get it turned into a brooch, and any bonuses from the Bazaar stall decor. While I was up in the mountains, I got the 6.5 star honey upgrade, and got 2 rare emperor dragonflies caught back to back. With winter weather quickly approaching, I got a new outfit equipped, then went down to the Red Windmill to collect all of my sprinklers. With a total of 5 automatic watering miracles, I'm able to almost completely fill out this field with sprinklers before getting the 3.5 star fish upgrade from Finley. And with the end of fall approaching, I spent the final minutes of the season fishing down at the waterfall, just enjoying the perfect temperature and beautiful sights and sounds. A winter chill has descended upon Zephyrtown, but the winter season has not deterred Arata as he completed the final extension to the beekeeping field to start day 94. As I step out into the winter wonderland and check my mail, the seasonal trends are in and they once again disappoint. I got some winter seeds sown and watered, got back-to-back orichalcum ore during my ore run in the mountains, and collected my first winter critter near the nature sprite house, a bagworm moth. I purchased a bunch of primrose flower seeds from Miguel and got those sown back at the farmhouse, then went to my barn where I got a little bit of Suffolk wool plus that will be processed to yarn plus tomorrow, along with some mayo plus courtesy of stockpiled golden eggs. I ended this first day of winter up at the mountains getting some herbs placed down at my newly extended beekeeping field. After 10 days, Puddin has finally given birth on day 95. This cute little calf even has a heart on her, so my live chat felt the name 𝘠𝘵𝗵𝗍 was perfect. A super cool thing I learned today was that snow works like rain in Grand Bazaar, which is something I've been asking for from farming games for years. Feeling vindicated, I spent the afternoon fishing at the mountain lake with Arta and Samir, where I caught some new fish. I did an ore run in town where I got myself a diamond along with a ruby by the Nature Sprite House, and ended the day at Kagetsu's shrine fishing up some recyclables. And speaking of Kagetsu, I started day 96 hanging out with her as she finally agreed to leave the shrine and interact with the locals of Zephyrtown. She received many gifts from all of my friends and even complimented Gabriel's art. In exchange for the tour, I can now receive divinations from the Shrine Maiden that work very similar to food buffs. It might seem like a placebo, but I feel Kagetsu's divination helped me out as I got a pink diamond from this mithril. Webby upgraded my mushroom quality to 4.5 stars, and I finally managed to fill out my beekeeping field before running back home to give all my animals some love. You wouldn't think it would take me so long, but I finally got the level 1 windmill tent crafting that afternoon, and learned this neat little jump to get access to these ores by the waterfall, and I spent the remainder of the day at this very waterfall in vain attempting to get recyclables. Unlike cows, chickens incubate a bit quicker, as Chickpea hatched a baby on day 97, only 5 days after I bought the breeding kit. My live chat decided to name her Momo, but we'll have to wait and see on her rarity until she's mature. The headline of today, though, is the pet show, so I made sure I trained Bear this morning since my live chat decided to enter him into the contest. I got some freshly blossomed primrose flowers cut down at the crop field, then did an ore run in the mountains, where I got a pink diamond from the mithril node, then immediately got a second pink diamond from this dirt mound, so now I'm thinking I need to buy a lottery ticket. Fast forwarding to today's main event, the pet contest at the town square. Bear showed off all his tricks to 𝘬𝘬𝘳, and we collected first place and the golden trophy. After that success, I got a Kagetsu divination that will save me some stamina, collected my level 1 windmill tent, and got started on the windmill churn decor item. I ended the day in the mountains doing some fishing, where I caught my first ever salmon. Day 98 begins in the crop fields harvesting over a dozen ripe carrots, then running over to the red windmill to collect my windmill churn. The final decor item I needed for this tier was the jewelry stand, so I got that queued up before continuing my morning in the beehive, collecting a massive amount of regular and royal honeycomb. Back in town, I was approached by 2 tourists asking me what the correct order of operations is for the tastiest milk tea. Does milk go in before or after the tea? I personally think it should be after, but Arta quickly intervened and assured the tourists that as long as it's Zephyrtown milk, they couldn't go wrong. Thanks for helping me, Arta. You're the best. After dealing with those individuals, I ran into Maple having another rough day, but assured her that mistakes are only the world's way of telling us that we can improve. So after cheering up our favorite maid, my jewelry stand is complete and I can finally optimize my Bazaar stall for windmill goods with the proper tent series and decor items. To end the day, I put up a bunch of windscreens around my beekeeping field and mushroom logs because, wouldn't you know it, I'm actually prepared for the cutscene I got to start day 99. Letting me know that a blizzard was on the horizon. But more important than that, it's party time this morning as the entire town gathers at the Bazaar Square to celebrate reaching World Bazaar level. But the celebration is paused as Harold delivered another letter from Felix's mother. This time around, it's a congratulations letter praising Felix's work in creating a World Bazaar and putting a target on her back, hoping to catch up to us one day. All that being said, we still celebrate our massive achievement and aim for higher. But a Bazaar day is still upon us, and I started it by getting my fortune told by Destiny, before getting the morning Bazaar shift going. I managed to sell out once again, and made just under 300,000 G, which was first spent on some winter seeds from Miguel and our flower-budded friend, Ronaldo. Ramon had the rare Little Wolf pet on sale this afternoon, so it was only right that I purchased it as my 4th and final dog. My live chat decided on the name Fenrir, and then it was over to Wilbur's to purchase the deluxe bed upgrade. I got all my new seeds planted as the sprinklers activated, ran back to town to purchase the breeding kit for Al Pacino, and bought some more outfits from Karina. I managed to get the golden orb in first prize at Rich's Casino today, and was lucky enough to collect my first piece of adamantite, a very expensive ore crucial to the ultimate tool upgrades, but also allowed me to take my first step towards 100% by marking off collecting all the forgeable ores and gems in the encyclopedia. And to finish off at day 99, I went back up to the mountains and got my mushroom logs spored up. It is finally day 100, and it begins with a couple of familiar faces. Wilbur is here to upgrade my bed, and then Felix made his way to the farm to announce a new mission for the bazaar. Our new goal is to generate funds to support developing bazaars, and this will be done through donations at the town square bulletin board. All that being said, we have to contend with a blizzard today, so I get my honeycomb collected, then utilize the crazy wind speeds by getting a handful of pink diamond brooches crafting. Everyone in my live chat told me that recycling items are more common with inclement weather, so I spent most of today fishing in various places, but I honestly didn't notice a difference and I only got new fish. That being said, day 100 is still a very auspicious day, as I got my 𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗲𝗃 sickle upgrade cooking, and finally had enough honey to max out my quality of the sticky golden stuff. All honeycomb will now be 7-star quality, marking the second nature sprite donation goal met. As I arrived home for the evening, Honey showed up and thanked me for my role in reaching this milestone, and then I put a cap on day 100 by jumping into my brand new deluxe bed. Another day waking up on the farm means another day of Felix in my house uninvited. On day 101, he's here to tell me about Hearth Day and to give me some complimentary hot pot. Ramon was quick behind the mayor and congratulated me for adopting 4 dogs with a fancy new title. I got my day started by collecting Honey's rosette in the mail, along with another power berry from Felix. After downing my 6th power berry and getting the all-important stamina boost, I harvested some crops including a couple pieces of golden bok choy, then ran down to Kagetsu's to pick up a crop watering buff. I collected a bit of honeycomb from the bee field, got that processing in the blue windmill, and then went over to the yellow windmill to grab my 𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗲 sickle. After taking care of a pregnant Al Pacino in the barn, I ended the day by seeing a cutscene with Jules and Derek, where the older brother is once again babying his sibling, leaving me to mediate the argument. But Jules perked up after a quick chat, so I guess I did a good job. I switched my fit up to kick off day 102, which is headlined by Hearth Day, a festival where residents give each other warm dishes. Lucky for me, I have a whole bunch of warm milk ready to go. I spent the morning doing farm chores, including getting my fruit tree journey started, making sure to brush all of my animals, and then crafting some winter bouquets. I gave Arta some warm milk in the mountains to get Hearth Day rolling, and stopped by the yellow windmill to pick up an incredibly expensive max quality pink brooch. Over at Freya's, I got a request for a high quality main dish, so I just regifted her a food item receipt for Hearth Day to complete that request. Most of the day was spent running around town giving out hot milk in exchange for way too many food items. I got some sturdy wood and stone processing in the blue windmill before ending Hearth Day in the warmth of my home, consuming all of the new recipes I gathered throughout the day. Local artist Gabriel, who really should bundle up, arrived at my house on day 103 asking me if he could do some sketch work while I work. I happily agreed and got down to business so he can paint me like one of his French girls. A whole bunch of primroses are ready for harvest, and while tilling my fields, I dug up yet another power berry to consume, marking my 7th of the playthrough. Of course, I made sure Al Pacino was properly nourished, then ran up to the mountains where Samir saddled me with a request for a couple grasshoppers. I grabbed a quick buff from Kagetsu, completed Shireen's pet food request, and then did some fishing where I caught my first eel. I forked over 20 large to upgrade the bazaar, then finished the day in the kitchen transforming my honey into honey juice for a minuscule price increase. Felix was at my front step to start day 104 to let me know the bazaar is now level 8, an innovative bazaar. But more important than the title is the 5-star pink diamond I got in return. I spent the morning fertilizing my tree saplings, collecting 4 more pink diamond brooches, and then ran into a cutscene with Gabriel. June and Lloyd rolled up to his house to check out his paintings, and the 3 agreed to meet up more often to talk about art. With the bazaar looming, I got my stall stocked that afternoon, then went to the farm to take care of my animals. I went over to the equestrian park to collect the last grasshoppers I needed to complete Samir's request, and then ended the day by doing some fishing where I caught a couple of new fish. Day 105 is the Winter Animal Festival, so I quickly did a mountain ore run before going to the town square where I entered Coco in the silver-ranked cow competition. Obviously, we came out with a big fat W and the silver trophy. I got a buff from Kagetsu, then ran into 𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗀 in the mayor's house. I guess Felix has been a bit lonely since his wife died. To put a cap on a quick day, I prepared my stall for the bazaar and threw in some more produce to sell tomorrow. I woke up on day 106 with the oh-so-helpful cutscene of an impending blizzard. Thank goodness 15 pieces of lumber will be ready before the end of the day. Before the bazaar starts, I got some metals dug up behind the blue windmill, grabbed my fortune from Destiny, and got my bazaar shift started. With a bunch of bouquets and high-priced accessories on the counter to be sold, I made a record sales figure of just under 2 million G. I took my profits and purchased some flower seeds and fodder seeds, then jumped over to Rich's Casino and got a golden ball that awarded me my 8th stamina increasing power berry, and then exchanged a bunch of happy points for my 9th power berry of this playthrough. Over at Ramon's, I got Onyx working on a new chick, and then beelined into the red windmill to get my windscreen kits processing. Back at the bazaar, I purchased some stylish overalls from Karina, the final mushroom log from Arata, and then spent 1 million G on the seller at Wilbur's stall. With what was left, I finished my shopping spree at Felix's by picking up the horseback foraging technique. Back at the farm, I collected my readied windscreens and got them all set up at the crop fields and the beekeeping field before finishing the day at the equestrian park practicing for the upcoming winter horse derby. I got some herb cookies in the mail, so I inhaled them in the middle of a blizzard to start day 107. I made sure all my birds were comfy in the barn, got some more accessories queued up in the yellow windmill, and spent all day fishing looking for recyclables. First in the mountains and then in the bazaar. Unfortunately for me though, all the fish I did catch grant very little XP from Finley. Marvelous, please fix. With the blizzard behind me, I woke up on day 108 with Arta letting me know the final mushroom log has been propped up in the mountains. But before I can take a look at that, I need to change up my look. I got all my cows drained of their calcium-rich liquid, collected some bees over in the mountains, and then accepted a request from Miguel, and the renovation items he needed were easy enough to collect and complete. I once again paid to level up the bazaar, got some broccoli seeds planted on the farm, then spent the remainder of the day fishing where I caught myself a yellow bottle. I woke up on day 109 and Wilbur is here to finalize my cellar upgrade. Now my basement can grow crops, but the cellar introduces the sunstone items. I'll need to craft 3 more and place them to grow the corresponding season seeds. But before I can do anything exciting with the cellar, Felix strolled up to my front door to announce the leveled up bazaar, and Al Pacino has also given birth. Al Pacino's progeny is a rare burgundy-colored alpaca that my live chat lovingly named Burgundy. More exciting than a new friend on the farm is the gift of 10 ultimate lumber for upgrading the bazaar though. And now that I can finally do some stuff, I started my morning by embedding the spring sunstone in my cellar, allowing for all of the spring crops to be grown in the basement. With that in mind, I uprooted my orange and cherry trees from the crop field and relocated them to the basement so that they could grow their fruits. I then encountered this cutscene with Miguel and Mina, where our favorite shopkeeper gave the cafe waitress some free coffee and the minuscule chances that she might understand his feelings for her. My man's down bad, for real for real. I caught the 2 merchants, Lloyd and Harold, conversing about something or other, grabbed a Kagetsu buff at the shrine, and said hello to our new pal Burgundy before scything down some fresh flowers and finishing the day off with a final training session with Ivory before tomorrow's derby. Now that Onyx is expecting, I made sure to feed and pet her to start day 110 before doing an ore run in the mountains where I got a couple diamonds from this orichalcum node. That afternoon was the Bronze Winter Horse Derby, and Ivory and I are ready to go. Thanks to all that practice, this derby was a breeze. I was collecting carrots and jumping over obstacles with ease, which resulted in a big fat W for me and my steed. To celebrate, I donated my hard-earned cash to the town bazaar and ended this quick day by doing some fishing at the mountains. Another knock on my door from Felix kicks off day 111, with the bazaar reaching level 10. My reward for that level up is 20 spring bouquets, which coincidentally completes the flower section of the encyclopedia. Onyx's little bundle of joy hatched this morning, and my live chat decided she shall bear the name of Soup. I got all my large animals brushed in the pasture, collected more honeycomb in the mountains, and grabbed another Kagetsu buff before getting a bunch of honey queued up in the blue windmill. With another bazaar day on the horizon, I got my stall preemptively packed, then stepped into another cutscene with Derek and Jules at their humble abode. Derek has took it upon himself to be the house chef, and Jules finally realized that his brother can do something other than annoy him. I spent that evening having a mighty fight with another guardian fish and reeled up my first ever koi, before finishing the day in the kitchen making some honey juice. Day 112 begins by brushing and milking Cardio B in the pasture and harvesting some cabbage in the first crop field. I then went to Felix and Sophie's house, where our brolic mayor tried his hand at a more delicate practice: baking. These cookies won't be winning any baking competitions anytime soon, but they were made with love, so that's all that matters. I got some more products to sell at tomorrow's bazaar tossed into my stall, and then spent the afternoon fishing, where I reeled up my first ever ancient fish fossil near the yellow windmill. I then put a cap on the day with another cutscene. June's mother offered her the opportunity to live with her and study fashion design, and I reminded her that the concept of agency exists, which she seems to have forgotten. All my animals are looking scruffy, so day 113 begins by giving them a little trim. The bazaar was already in full flow, so I got my fortune from Destiny and got to selling. The morning shift went pretty well, as I sold out of all my goods for a solid 1.1 million G in revenue. I took that money and bought the Persian cat, which my live chat named Mochi, and then we made the democratic decision to rehome Puddin so that we could purchase a black calf from Ramon named Flan. Get it? Puddin, Flan, you get it. With all that fishing I did yesterday, I was able to upgrade my fish quality to 4 stars before grabbing a quick Kagetsu buff and running back to the bazaar to purchase some seeds from Miguel. I bought another storage expansion from Wilbur and contracted Garen to get a better cooler for it, then bought some mushroom spores from Ronaldo. And to finish off my bazaar day, I bought the remaining recipes I needed from Madeline's stall and consumed all of them on the spot. To put a cap on the day, I upgraded the bazaar again and got some windscreens cooking so I don't crash out the next blizzard. Wilbur woke me up on day 114 to confirm that my storage has been expanded shortly before Garen came around to upgrade the preserving capabilities of said storage. Felix dropped by to thank me for upgrading the bazaar once again, and he also gave me 10 recyclables, not to be outdone by the power berry Wilbur found when renovating my storage. With this 10th power berry being consumed, my stamina is now maxed out. I completely forgot to press record, so forgive me for not showing you guys that I changed my fit up in the cutscene with Eric. Back on the farm, I said hello to our newest farm friend Flan, and then got some more windscreens queued up. During my ore run, I got back-to-back diamonds from these orichalcum nodes before installing the windscreens at the beekeeping field. The mushroom logs got populated, and I learned that Kagetsu's favorite gift is soy milk pudding. I went over to the bazaar to throw in some items I know I'm going to sell, then spent the remainder of the day at the base of the mountains fishing up recyclables. With the 10 pieces gifted to me this morning, I now have the 50 needed to get that feather jewel from Charles at the next bazaar. Day 115 is the winter crops show, so I quickly took care of all my animals in the pasture and ran over to the town plaza and entered some bok choy into the bronze competition. Of course, I came home with another trophy, and Kagetsu gave me one of her blessings before I spent the entire evening chopping wood. I'm probably going to need another 2,000 pieces of lumber, so might as well just start grinding it out before bed. I made sure to pet all my dogs and cats to start day 116, and I learned that Soup has finally grown up and is going to start laying eggs. Over at the town plaza, I ran into Diana, who isn't feeling all that well, so I accompanied her back home, told her to take a break, and then all the town residents came by and brought her a get well soon kit. As the sun set, I went back to lumberjacking and sturdy lumber crafting before ending my day by putting up some more windscreens and harvesting some rare golden strawberries, which will come in handy when I'm ready to craft a certain sunstone. On day 117, I heard a knock from an unfamiliar source. It's Sonia and Stuart to let me know about tomorrow's Starlight Night Festival, a cute little date event where I can invite someone to check out the starry sky. But before I asked someone, I had some cherries and oranges to collect. Up in the mountains, I harvested some fungi and donated them to Webby to get my mushrooms level up to 5-star quality. That afternoon, I took care of all my animals, got a pink diamond during my ore run, and was democratically urged via live chat to ask Kagetsu to the Starlight Night Festival. While I was talking to the Shrine Maiden, I also grabbed a buff before finishing the day with an accessory crafting in the Blue Windmill. Another day on the farm means another day of brushing my animals, but I got some good luck on day 118 with double diamond drops from orichalcum nodes. Back over at the Blue Windmill, I took a big money-making step by getting the Good Windmill tent queued up, then went over to my stall to restock my goods for this weekend's bazaar. With the moon rising in the sky, I met up with Kagetsu at the shrine, and the two of us made our way to the water fountain near the local hotel and enjoyed some warm tea while looking up at the stars to end the day. A wardrobe change is necessary to kick off day 119, but before I can get to work, Ramon, Miguel, and Felipe entered my abode filled with gratitude at the fact that I've reached the max amount of dogs and cats on my premises. So I guess I get a fun little title for that. Out in the pasture, I made sure my sheep Basil is properly groomed, then headed over to the second crop field to harvest some ripe broccoli. Up in the mountains, I got some honeycomb harvested and learned that I can actually remove windscreens. I mean, I'm not going to do that, but it's cool that you can. After our date last night, Kagetsu felt comfortable enough to request I talk to residents 100 times to gather intel on how she can better converse with the villagers. But what I'm really here for is the Shrine Maidens buff. Over at the Blue Windmill, my good windmill tent is ready for pickup, and then it's up to the hotel to continue talking to everyone for Kagetsu. That evening, I stocked my stall for tomorrow's bazaar, then ran over to the equestrian park where I learned you can get amethysts from the gold nodes at this location. I finished the day off by practicing for the summer horse derby. It's still a couple seasons away, but I like to have a good idea of the silver course well in advance. I stayed up late horse training last night, so day 120 begins at the Bazaar Square, getting my stall set up with my new windmill tent. I completely forgot to get a fortune from Destiny, but at least I sold out of my goods just before time ran out. Any money I made today was inconsequential because what I was most excited for was exchanging all 50 of my recyclables for the infamous feather jewel. My live chat decided Soup would be our next mother hen, and then I picked up a couple of requests. One from Kevin for some grasshoppers, and one from Lori that was already completed before I even talked to her to accept the request. At Karina's stall, I picked up this awesome purple trendy hoodie before learning this sweet skill jump. Normally, you wouldn't be able to get up to the Nature Sprite Ridge during a gentle breeze day, but if you aim for the red mushroom closest to the ledge, you can wiggle on up there. While I was on this side of town, I got the sparkling jewelry stand crafting, then ran over to the town plaza to level up the bazaar again. I commissioned Wilbur for another storage upgrade, and then went to the Yellow Windmill to finally combine all 3 jewels to get the Travel Stone. I just need to wait 10 days. And to put a bow on this day, I did an ore run that yielded another diamond. Wilbur is a pretty quick worker as my storage increase is finished the morning of day 121, just before Felix showed up to announce the Bazaar level up I purchased yesterday. Speaking of purchases yesterday, I also picked up this cozy winter jacket that I had to throw on so that I can eat this cheesecake I found in my mailbox in comfort. I found Freya just hanging out near my farm entrance, so I invited her to my impromptu farming class. It looks like she had a great time and she asked if she could come around another time. With visitors having left my property, I can finally get to the pasture to take care of all my animals and harvest some turnips I had growing in the basement. Up in the mountains, I caught some bees, grabbed a Kagetsu buff, and purchased another Bazaar level up. My sparkling jewelry stand is ready for collection at the Blue Windmill, and then I got a request from Wilbur to take 5 baths. I wonder what he's trying to tell me. In any case, I got some yarn processing in the Red Windmill, and took Wilbur up on his challenge and took a bath before bed. A Bazaar level up means Felix is waking me up, but day 122 begins in earnest at the barn feeding Soup. This morning, it's Samir to show up outside my property asking if I wanted to take a walk. I agreed and we went down to the water fountain and ate some cookies. Now this is my type of walk. While I was near the Blue Windmill, I stopped in to get the white windmill churn crafting and accepted and immediately completed an animal happiness request from Sylvia. I then went to the mountains to harvest some mushrooms and report into Kagetsu and complete her 100 conversations request. I spent some time at the mountain base catching some new fish, went down to the Yellow Windmill to craft some wool and yarn plus, and then popped back over to the Blue Windmill to pick up my white windmill churn. With all these new windmill decor items, I spent the evening messing around my bazaar stall, attempting to get the tent and decor effects perfect. The penultimate day of winter, day 123, brought our good friend Felix back to the house to explain about tomorrow's New Year's Countdown Festival. Thanks, Felix, I will be there. And I'll most likely be there in this chic outfit I just purchased. I made sure that all my animals received their pets, got some orichalcum nodes cracked open at the Nature Sprite Ridge, then got some honey and sturdy lumber crafting. Kagetsu gave me another blessing, and then it's off to finish this short day with another ore run. Day 124, the final day of winter and year 1 in Zephyr Town, begins by making sure my pets are happy and petting all my fowl friends in the pasture. Over in the crop fields, I got my hoe out and prepped them for the spring crop seeds I'll no doubt be planting tomorrow. I then ran up to the mountains to get my last honeycomb harvest of the season, and unfortunately my travel stone won't be here until after the new year. But while it's cooking, I might as well start crafting some ultimate lumber. I did some grasshopper catching at the equestrian park, some wood chopping near the Yellow Windmill, and sowed some seeds in the basement before heading down to the town plaza. Everyone seems very excited for the New Year's countdown, and we all celebrated as the clock struck midnight, and we are ushered into our second year of being Zephyr Town's farmer. A new year means new life, as Soup's little hatchling joins the family to start day 125, the first day of spring. My live chat decided on the name Soba for this little one. And with a new season comes new trends, but as I checked my mail, I was left disappointed for the third season in a row. I went over to Miguel's to purchase some seeds, but ran into Madeline, who has a request for me before I could do so. I bought out Miguel's stock of flowers, and then went back to the farm where I caught this rare butterfly while getting those seeds sown. Al Pacino and Burgundy needed some pets, so I provided those, and then collected some more mushrooms at the mountains, and ended the day by clearing all the herbs from the beekeeping field. Day 126 begins in the pasture, collecting all the white liquid from my bovines, and watering all my growing crops and flowers. Over at the cafe, I saw this cutscene with Sonia and Madeline, where they praised the help of their granddaughters in their respective businesses, Mina and Maple, as the two went out shopping to return later. After that cutscene, I completed Madeline's mushroom request, quickly followed by Kevin's grasshopper request. And speaking of requests, Arta needed a guardian fish, and I saved one just for him so that this was an easy completion, along with Wilbur's bathing request. The weekly bazaar has quickly come into view, so I got my stall stocked and threw on a brand new outfit before seeing another cutscene. Turns out Jules' bet with the twins worked like gangbusters. Sylvia and Lori both got perfect scores, to which Jules was forced to admit to Sylvia that he likes a confident type of person, to which she zipped she'll be the most confident person. Cute cutscenes aside, I play farming games to make money, so you know I'm doing an ore run. Kagetsu blessed me with a buff, and then it's time for what we've all been waiting for, the collection of the Travel Stone. With this item, I can now fast travel to various pre-selected locations in Zephyrtown at the cost of a little bit of stamina depletion. This will definitely come in handy on days where I'm running late for the Bazaar morning shift. But with that item crafted, I can relocate the Purple Wonderstone to the Red Windmill and fully automate my farm by crafting a ton of sprinklers. I tracked down Penny and donated some bugs, and managed to level up the quality of those critters to 5 stars. And to put a cap on an eventful day, I did some fishing at the mountain peak and reeled up some new scaly creatures. All those cutscenes I saw yesterday yielded some fun mail to start day 127. Then it's out to the grass fields to milk some cows and shear some alpacas. Almost as if I knew it was going to happen, I was late to the bazaar this morning, so thank goodness I got this travel stone to get me there in a flash. I once again forgot to get a Destiny fortune telling, but it wasn't the end of the world as I sold out and made over 500,000 G. My live chat selected that Bean would be the next chicken bread, and then it was over to Karina's stall to craft some new clothes. Now that I got the travel stone, every recyclable I get will be exchanged for sturdy wood in my attempt to grind out that ultimate lumber. At Rich's Casino, I got myself a first place golden ball, and another all-important piece of adamantite. Unfortunately for me though, I don't have enough money to expand my storage from Wilbur, so I guess that's something I'll have to save up for. But you could probably tell I'm not much of a saver, so I kind of blew all my money on a bunch of flower seeds from Miguel, tree seeds from Sophie, and crop seeds from my pal Ronaldo. In between bazaar shifts, I made my super cool mushroom jump to crack open these orichalcum nodes at the Nature Sprite Ridge, then ran back to the bazaar square where I finally got my Destiny fortune to make the most of selling off my straggler items. It wasn't a lot, but it did give me a nice discount on the bazaar upgrade donation. I finished the day off by placing some morel spores on the mushroom logs, giving all my barn animals some love, and then sacrificing some flowers for the sake of automation. Yesterday's bazaar upgrade brought Felix to my house on day 128, and my reward this time was 10 servings of matsutake rice, which is an okay gift, I suppose. I made sure Bean was well nourished as she lays her fertilized egg, then ran down to my basement to replace the orange and cherry trees with coffee and avocado seedlings. A bunch of flowers have bloomed, so I got all those side down and replaced with various seeds like potatoes and asparagus. Over at the Red Windmill, I got some flowers turned into dyes, and then went up to the mountains where I placed the survivors in the beekeeping field. It took a little while, but I finally got the field populated, and why I did this instead of just herbs will be revealed in a couple days. I grabbed another blessing from Kagetsu and dug up a lovely and very expensive pink diamond. Over at the Blue Windmill, I got some more accessories cooking, then ran to the mayor's house to accept a request to find his lost item. It wasn't too difficult to locate in the bazaar, so I made haste and returned it back to him to complete the request, where I was rewarded with some blue bazaar attire. I then put a cap on the day by getting all my freshly sowed crops nice and moist. I started day 129 by throwing on a snazzy green suit and making my way out to the crop fields to get some daikon harvested and sow in some flower seeds. Over in the pasture, I got my cows milked, then ran down to the basement to fertilize my coffee and avocado saplings. While doing my ore runs, I found a pink diamond and a rare pygmy grasshopper, before doing another late night run to get a second pink diamond. I then ended the day at the yellow windmill fishing up some recyclables. Day 130 revealed another outfit change, and today was the first day I played on the 1.1 update. The nature sprites woke me up with a brand new mechanic introduced in the update, Happy Bingo. I'm sure all of you know how bingo works, so I won't explain it in too much depth. This new mechanic essentially challenges you to complete bingo cards in exchange for reward items. Soba grew up overnight and revealed that she's just a common fowl. I got Bean the chicken fed as she hatches her egg, got some more potatoes and cabbages harvested in the cellar, and then went out into the mountains to start collecting weeds to make more fertilizer. I grabbed another 𝘂𝘓𝑢 fortune, threw some mushroom spores on logs, made some more soy milk pudding, and finished another day with some relaxing fishing. I began day 131 by giving all my feline friends some pets, fertilizing the trees in the basement, and making sure all my farm animals were properly fed and were enjoying the warmth of the spring sun. Over in the crop fields, I got all my growing flowers watered, went up to the mountains to catch some bumblebees, and hit up the yellow windmill to get some golden yarn and cheese processed. I cleared out some of my storage by getting it placed into the bazaar stall, and ended another short day by getting more fish for Finley. Bean's fertilized egg hatched the morning of day 132, and this little rascal was named Spooky since I was recording this session in late October. While running around town, I found a sparkly spot needed to complete a happy bingo mission, and then donated some fish to Finley for a seriously underwhelming amount of XP. Again, marvelous. Please fix. That afternoon, I got my first batch of invigorating honeycomb, a type of honey that you can only get by placing seasonal flowers in the beekeeping field. But unfortunately, all that doesn't count towards my happy bingo squares. I got another 𝘂𝘓𝑢 buff, said hello to our new pal Spooky in the pasture, and then scythed down some bloom flowers before running over to the blue windmill to get all that invigorating honeycomb processed into honey. And to finish off this day, I did an ore run highlighted by a pink diamond and did more fishing to complete some bingo missions. My live chat forced me to wear this outfit that makes me look submissive and breedable to start day 133. I got some asparagus harvested, then went to the red windmill to pick up all those sprinklers I got queued up a week ago. Finally, every crop field is now completely fitted with these autonomous watering miracles. I got some mushrooms harvested in the mountains to complete some bingo squares, made sure that all my farm animals were properly brushed and trimmed in the pasture, and while I was making sure every one of my animals received the pets they needed, my PC crashed. So I had to redo the entire day, picking up in the afternoon, sowing some potato seeds in a new outfit because I blamed the crash on the Gothic suspenders. And with that malfunction, I was pretty much over this day, so I ended it by getting some bouquets processing in the red windmill. Day 134 is a bazaar day, so I very quickly restocked my pet food bowls, collected all the eggs in the large barn, and ran down to the square to stock my stall with goodies for people to buy. I actually remembered to get my fortune from Destiny this time around and got my morning shift started. I managed to sell out of all my wares and made a very healthy 1.1 million G. I hit up Lloyd to purchase my first round of gems for the Winter Sunstone, cashed in on some happy bingos with the nature sprites, exchanged my recyclables for sturdy lumber with Charles, and then did some gambling at the Prize Palooza. Over at Ramon's stall, my live chat selected Onyx to be the next chicken to have a fertilized egg. Then I crafted a couple of new outfits with Karina before getting a second group of items thrown into the bazaar and sold away to make room in my storage and make a small amount of money. I bought a metric ton of food from Clara and Nadine, almost all of which refilled my storage, then went on a windmill processing spree by making accessories in the blue and yellow windmill, along with some dyes in the red windmill. I then ended the day at my house, eating and drinking every single item I purchased at the bazaar. It took me quite a long time, but I did manage to stuff it down. The basement cellar is where I began day 135, collecting a bunch of garlic, including some golden garlic. After checking my mailbox, I was delighted to receive a whole bunch of items from Ivy and Felix before switching up my outfit. That morning, I made my way to 𝘂𝘓𝑢 Shrine, where the maiden was waiting for me with a blue flower in hand. This was the perfect moment to confess my love for her and officially start dating. Back on the 100% grind though, I managed to get my mushroom rank up to 5.5 stars, before harvesting a bunch of strawberries and golden strawberries in the crop field, before ending this eventful day in the small barn, petting all my animals. Day 136 begins the mailbox where 𝘂𝘓𝑢 sent me a pair of her earrings as a memento of our union. Up in the mountains, I collected some more mushrooms and honeycomb at their respective locations, then ran down to the yellow windmill to process some cheese plus. Back on the farm, I got some ripe rice and broccoli harvested, and made sure to pet our newest farm member, 𝘂𝘂𝗀𝘀. I put the purple wonderstone in the blue windmill so that I could have more gambling spins next Bazaar, and then finish the day at the mountain peak fishing for more Finley XP and to get new fish. The first day of the Flower Festival headlines day 137, so I put on another live chat influenced outfit and made my way out to the pasture where I was saddened to learn that 𝘂𝘂𝗀𝘀 is just a common bird. I got some more yarn queued up in the red windmill, then made my way to the plaza where another flower festival has officially started. I spent that morning running around town giving out flowers, then did my first ore run of the day. The mushroom logs were repopulated with morel spores, my girlfriend gave me a buff, and then I got started on transmuting more bronze medals in the blue windmill. I started the evening in the big barn collecting animal produce and ended the day by giving out more flowers to all the town residents. I kicked off day 138 in the crop fields harvesting some ripe onion, then running down to the town plaza to give out more flowers for day 2 of the festival. Instead of accepting a flower, Lloyd sent me on a mission to give him an ancient fish fossil, and he's lucky I had one handy. Nadine also had a request for me, and 5 pumpkins was enough to get that completed, for which I got the chestnut paste recipe. That recipe came in handy because Maple requested a high-quality dessert, of which chestnut paste was super easy to make and provide to our local hotel employee and complete her request. The final request of the day is from Clara, but unfortunately I do not have the mushrooms needed to finish it immediately. But with all those happy residents with completed requests and lots of flowers given out, I was able to retain my Best Neighbor title for year 2. With another trophy in the cabinet, I spent the evening jumping on a barrel to accomplish a bingo mission, petting all my animals in the small barn, and doing some fishing up at the mountain peak. Onyx hatched her progeny to start day 139, so fingers crossed hen solo is a rare pattern. I got a new outfit thrown on, then got into the field to harvest some ripe turnips before properly greeting our new fowl friend. Speaking of friends, our pal Gabriel lost an item for me to find, but before I do that, another 𝘂𝗀𝗄 buff is in order. While on my way to get Gabriel's item, I ran into Sophie, who needs a pickled veggie. And then I found this dig spot filled with coins behind the blue windmill that I used to craft Sophie's request item. I guess Jules saw me helping around, so felt it was time to ask me for a rare crop, to which I instantly completed it and grabbed the brown peacoat outfit. Stuart and his wife Sonia also had some things that I can help them out with, so I went back to my happy box and grabbed the fruit and rare veggie and got both of those completed before finally finding Gabriel's lost item at the bazaar. To finish off a very hectic day, I gave all my animals some love in the big barn, returned Gabriel's lost item, completed Sophie's pickled veggie request, and enjoyed a relaxing fishing session at the mountain peak. Day 140 is the spring animal show, so the first thing I did was make sure all my buddies got the pets in the pasture. But before the event kicks off, I had to show you how I got 3 diamonds from a single orichalcum node. I went up to the mountains to remove all the baby blue flowers from the beekeeping field and harvest the morel mushrooms from the logs before heading down to the town plaza to enter soup in the bronze chicken competition, which was an easy win for us. Over at the blue windmill, I got some regular medals cooking into bronze medals, and then level up my mushroom quality to 6 stars. The last thing I did today was repopulate my beekeeping field with herbs so I could get regular honey for the bingo card. I'm back in the pasture to start day 141. I gotta make sure all my cows are properly drained of milk, and then after fast traveling to the mountains, I caught this rare butterfly, grabbed myself a 𝘂𝗀𝗄 buff, and got some ultimate stone and lumber processing in the yellow windmill. I've got a couple of requests to pick up today, the first being from June, the second being a doozy of a request from Mina, and the third from June's dad, Eric. Before I get started on those though, it's a bazaar day, so I got my stall filled to the brim and started hawking my produce to the passers-by. I sped the footage up for you, but it didn't take me too long to generate about 565,000 G in revenue. I got my stall filled up with stuff for round 2, crafted some more clothes at Karina's, then did some gambling, where I got the golden ball which rewarded me with adamantite this week. I should have done this earlier, but I grabbed a Destiny Fortune, exchanged my recyclables for sturdy lumber, and purchased my second round of gems for the Winter Sunstone. After selling off all the extra goods I had for 650,000 G, my live chat decided soup should be the next egg layer before I spent 1,000,000 G on another storage upgrade. Over at the Nature Sprite shop, I exchanged some bingos and picked up Ivy's Rosette decor item and finished my day by completing Clara's mushroom request and upgrading the bazaar once again. Wilbur woke me up on day 142 to confirm my storage increase, just before Felix knocked on my door to mention the bazaar upgrade. I'm not too sure which reward is from what though, but you won't see me complaining about dyes and ultimate lumber. The avocado and coffee trees I planted in the cellar have finally made some fruit. That's right, I said fruit. They're both fruits, believe it or not. I had to look this up. And then it's over to the crop fields to gather some ripe potatoes. I caught a handful of bees at the mountains and then ran down to town to complete Eric's dye request. Back in the basement, I planted some tea leaves, then got some more flowers growing outside. Having the 𝘃𝗫𝗄 buff renewed, I restocked my Bazaar stall with non-perishables and went back home to take care of my animals to end the day. Day 143 is a rainy one, so I threw on some proper coverage and got into the big barn to make sure all my animals are fine with being inside today. I got some mushrooms harvested, and because today is rainy, I spent all of it fishing, hoping to get some legendary treasure chests, but was only able to reel up a single one today. I had back-to-back rainy days on 144, so I collected some wool from the sheeps, continued transmuting all my metals into bronze metals, and collected honeycomb to complete the bingo square. I then replanted the bluebell flowers I sized up, and then spent another whole day fishing for legendary treasure chests. The sun was shining the morning of day 145, so no chance of treasure chests today, and that means I can get back to farming. With all the flowers I cut down in the crop field, I was able to craft a good amount of bouquets before running up to the mountains where our friend Arta was doing some more close-quarter combat training. As is customary, I approached and said hello and confessed my love for him. Now I have a boyfriend, so that's neat. I got some more mushroom spores going, dropped in on my girlfriend, and then took care of my animals before getting a bunch of crops planted. Wheat goes in the middle field, soybeans in the top field, and rice in the starter field. Soup's baby chick hatched the morning of day 146, and my live chat really liked the name Crash, considering how often my PC tends to break when I stream this game. I put on a stylish new outfit, then went back to the barn to collect some milk from the cows. Another rainy day means it's entirely spent trying to get that final legendary treasure chest, which was a successful operation. Honey Day headlines day 147, so I got into the kitchen to make some honey cake along with some tea for June's request, and then queued up some miso for Mina's request in the red windmill. Samir and the other marriage candidates like him will get honey, and of course Arta and 𝘃𝗫𝗄 get cake. Completing June's tea request netted me some black gothic suspenders, then it's over to the Bazaar stall to free up some storage space. I forgot to check my mail this morning, so I discovered Arta's cat charm memento that afternoon before finally checking in on all my animals. That miso has finally finished processing, so it's over to the cafe to complete Mina's ingredient request, and I ended the day with a pink diamond ore run. My live chat saw those gothic suspenders I picked up yesterday and democratically selected this outfit to start day 148. The first thing I did today was start crafting my first ever ultimate tool, the ultimate watering can. It'll be ready in a couple days, but I did grab another rare thing today, this super rare 𝗲𝘂𝘪𝘪 butterfly. My girlfriend 𝘃𝗫𝗄 gave me a super easy request for a large vegetable, which was completed quickly, and then I got my buff from her and fast traveled to the Bazaar. I got another buff from Destiny and then completed my morning Bazaar shift. 690,000 G later, I collected a couple more bingo rewards from the nature sprites, then had to make some very sad decisions. If I want to get rare pattern animals, some will need to be rehomed. So I just bit the bullet and sent some off to their great tomorrow and got Buffy the Buffalo impregnated. Samir had a very simple request for eggs for me to complete, so I got that finished and did a good amount of gambling. Not a bad haul for a bunch of metals. I exchanged all of my recyclables for sturdy lumber once again and sold off all the straggler items in my afternoon Bazaar shift. With the 159,000 G I was able to collect, I bought the final round of gems from Lloyd for the Winter Sunstone, crafted some more super cute clothes with Karina, and got an entire inventory's worth of recipes purchased from Nadine. It's gonna take a while to eat all these though. That evening, I collected some porcini mushrooms from the logs and ended the day by getting my first ever sunstone queued up. 30 emeralds, rubies, and amethysts, along with 10 diamonds and 5 pink diamonds in the yellow windmill equal the winter sunstone. Day 149 begins in the pasture petting my animals, then it's down to the basement cellar where some tea leaves are ready to be harvested. Back at the yellow windmill, I got a diamond bracelet cooking, then I ran over to the blue windmill to make some high quality tea leaf seeds. I caught another rare butterfly up in the mountains, then ran back to the yellow windmill to craft my second ultimate tool to finish the day, the ultimate hatchet. It took me a while to get all the lumber necessary, so I hope it's worth it. Side note, just check out all these high tier items I have going in this windmill. It's just, it's a beautiful sight. The spring crop show is the main event of day 150. So I threw on a new cow sweatshirt, made sure to feed Buffy the Buffalo, and got into the mountains to cut down the 100th piece of mint I needed to complete a bingo mission. The final one I needed to complete my first card. I changed cards and found another sparkly object, and then saw an interesting 10-minute glider mission, and remembered you can infinite glide to make this easy near Nadine's house. I then took part in today's crop festival by entering my spring tea leaves into the bronze competition, and came out with another easy dub. I grabbed a Kagetsu buff, did some fishing down by the Yellow Windmill, donated some money for another Bazaar upgrade, then donated all the fish I caught to get really close to that level up to end the day. As expected, Felix woke me up on day 151 with the news of the Bazaar promotion and my reward of 20 fruit yogurts, which was disappointing to say the least. But you know what isn't disappointing? My boy Crash grew up and he's a super rare silky chick variant, so that is incredibly dope. While walking around town, I saw a cutscene where Kevin showed me the hammer he stole from his dad, and so I safely retrieved the weapon and returned it to his father. Down at the cafe, Derek needed 20 medals, which I have in spades, so that's an easy completion. And then I found another sparkly spot when running up to the mountains to harvest all the morel mushrooms from the logs. This fungi did the trick in getting my mushroom levels up to 6.5 stars. I also caught the minimum amount of fish needed to upgrade my fish quality to 4.5 stars with Finley. And while I was at it, fishing was so relaxing that I decided to just do some more at the mountain peak to end the day. Day 152 begins in the closet picking out some fresh threads before petting all my felines in the living room. I made sure to complete all my farm chores by brushing my sheep and harvesting some ripe soybeans before running over to the Yellow Windmill to collect my ultimate watering can. I can now water the entire replanted field with a single double jump ultra water. Up at the mountains, I got some invigorating honeycomb collected, grabbed another Kagetsu buff, and did a restock of my Bazaar before running into Diana at the cafe. She requested me to deliver her some egg drop soup, so I got in the kitchen and whipped it up real quick. I also made some corn soup, because after I DoorDashed Diana's order to complete her request, I consumed the corn soup so that I could run very, very fast on this day that had 0 wind speed. I used my blazing fast speed to end the day by collecting another sparkly spot and ranking up the Bazaar. Another Bazaar level up means another morning of Felix at my front door. While having another level toward 99 is great, what's better than that is today's tea party. I grabbed a tea leaf from the stacks that I have in the storage before checking my mailbox where Felix sent me 5 diamonds for crafting that ultimate watering can. Of course, I made sure to pet all my animals in the pasture, then was over to the Red Windmill to craft more dyes so that I can make even more clothes at the Bazaar. From the Red Windmill to the Yellow, I also picked up another ultimate tool today, the ultimate hatchet. I asked myself if this was worth it when I got it cooking, and I can confirm it is. I lose very little stamina when doing an ultimate smash, and it makes collecting wood and stone much less painful. Speaking of pain, the Zephyrtown residents are lucky the tea party isn't a competition, because I would have brought the pain down on them if it were. I'll gladly accept this pineapple pie as a reward though. I ended this festival day by doing another ore run at the Nature Sprite Ridge, and making sure all my pets had their bowls filled. I once again switched up my look the morning of day 154, and had a delicious breakfast of pineapple pie to start the day. I made sure all my animals were doing well in the large barn, and then collected some super helpful and free adamantite in the mailbox. The rice I planted over a week ago is finally ready for chopping, and then it's over to Freya's house to accept a request for harvesting crops. Kinda wish I waited to harvest all that rice now. Up in the mountains, I got my mushrooms picked and then spent the day fishing at the Yellow Windmill. Because today is a rainy day, ancient fish fossils are in the pool of potential catches, and I caught not 1, not 2, but all 3 ancient fish fossils I'll need for the summer sunstone to end the day. Day 155 and the final day of spring is a Bazaar day, so I got my Bazaar clothes on and did a super quick ore run. Before I got to the Bazaar square, Harold had a request for me to accept, and then it's fortune-telling time courtesy of Destiny. I exchanged my finished Happy Bingo card for the completion reward of mashed potatoes, then stocked my Bazaar full of goodies. I sold out of items in my morning shift, recouping just over 450,000 G, then finally made use of the present wrapping stall since I have a bingo mission I need to complete. Over at Karina's, I bought out every single glasses and headwear offering she had available, leaving only a bunch of clothes to craft, and then I finally finished up buying up every single Bazaar stall food item from Nadine, Madeline, and Clara, and drank/ate them to get the recipes. I got a quick Kagetsu buff and gave her her favorite item in a blue present, dropped by the Blue Windmill to get some more accessories cooked up, and then made another donation to level up the Bazaar. I put a very pretty bow on spring year 2 by taking some time to unwind with my animals in the large barn. Felix woke me up on the first day of summer, day 156, with the Bazaar level up in my reward, some woolen yarn plus. A new season means new trends in the mail, but no accessories makes me a sad boy. I got some tea planted in the original crop field, caught a super rare yellow ladybug for the first time, and got the beekeeping field filled up with herbs before collecting the winter sunstone from the yellow windmill. With that stone complete, I can pop the purple wonderstone in the red windmill and get started on my third sunstone, the summer sunstone. But the focus is still very much on the winter stone, as I get it installed into the cellar so I can now grow winter crops in my basement. Back to the farming though, I got some wool clipped from Lambert, gave Arta a wrapped gift for bingo, then did some late night bug catching to end the day. A more summer appropriate outfit is equipped to start day 157 before getting into the fields to harvest some ripe onions. I got some mushrooms harvested at the mountains, but I'm just a little bit of XP shy of maxing out their quality. My girlfriend gave me a buff and I gave her some soy milk pudding, which saw her get all the way up to 8 hearts of affection. I got some flower seeds purchased at Miguel's, upgraded the Bazaar again, then walked over to Madeline's to buy out her stock of food items, and gobbled them all down in the comfort of my own home, leaving only 24 more recipes to locate and consume. I spent my evening in the small barn petting the animals, getting all those flower seeds sowed and watered, and then ran over to the yellow windmill to craft some ultimate stone and ruby accessories to end the day. Day 158 begins with another Bazaar upgrade update from Mayor Felix. Then it's over to the big barn where Buffy welcomed a baby buffalo named Lawnmower. Thanks to getting 𝘂𝑒𝑡𝑠u to 8 hearts, Sonia and Stuart are also at my home to provide the blue feather for whenever I'm ready to propose. I also got 10 spring juices for upgrading the Bazaar again. Down in the basement, I got some spring tea leaves harvested, then got a new outfit put on for today's Bazaar. Felix managed to shove a crop cart in my mailbox before I went to say hello to Lawnmower in the big barn. Over in the yellow windmill, I got some matcha tea tins cooking and completed Harold's request for some more curry powder in exchange. I grabbed a stamina saver buff from 𝘂𝑒𝑡𝑠u and finished the day by catching some fireflies and doing an ore run. Day 159 is super quick, and I spend it fertilizing some tea leaves, taking care of all my fowl friends, attempting to catch bumblebees, doing a really quick pink diamond run, and doing some lumberjacking. The pet show headlines day 160, so I quickly took care of all my animals, then did some last-minute training with Doe, who my live chat selected to enter the competition. Unfortunately, my storage is filling up again, so it was over to the Bazaar Square to put some stuff in my stall, before grabbing a decor item I forgot in my mailbox and collecting more honeycomb for bingo. After getting another round of mushrooms harvested, I was finally able to get 𝗬𝗏𝗏 up to level 50 and upgrade my fungi quality to 7 stars. Only Penny and Finley remain unperfected, as our bespectacled brother 𝗬𝗏𝗏 hit up my place to confirm the max rating. Back at the town plaza, the pet show is underway, and Doe absolutely killed it, completing all his tricks to perfection, netting us another golden trophy for the cabinet. To finish off the day, I collected my first ever 7-star mushrooms and caught a rare beetle. After checking my mailbox, I found 𝗬𝗏𝗏's rosette in there to start day 161. I collected a bunch of milk from the cows in the big barn, then went over to the hotel where Arta has a high-quality rice request for me. I ran into Maple at the mountains and confessed my feelings to collect another girlfriend, before running back home and collecting my summer sunstone. I got that bad boy placed on the pedestal, and the summer heat from outside has now entered the basement. A bunch of flowers have bloomed down here, so I got them all cut down before hitting up the kitchen to make some simmered seaweed that I'll need for Arta's request. I slotted that purple wonderstone in the blue windmill and started processing the final autumn sunstone, which needs a lot of golden produce. Getting that started also finished the miscellaneous section of the encyclopedia. I then saw a super fun cutscene between Gabriel, Jules, and the cooking aunties, where Jules witnessed the artist's insatiable side. I got a bunch of dyes and lumber cooking in the red windmill and harvested some rice as the sun set. Combining that rice with the simmered seaweed I made earlier, 5.5-star cooked rice was acquired and delivered to our favorite himbo, before completing another request from Freya. I capped off this day by dropping off some stuff at the stall for tomorrow's Bazaar. My live chat forced me to wear another amazing outfit on day 162, and my mailbox has a delicious gingerbread house in it, courtesy of Maple. All my moo machines got milked in the pasture, I got a buff from 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗀 and did a real quick ore run before running over to the Bazaar Square to grab a fortune from Destiny and start selling my goods. A couple in-game hours later, I was 1.25 million G richer and started spending that money at Madeline's by picking up the summer juice, which I immediately swallowed to learn the recipe. My live chat decided Burgundy would be getting the pregnancy treatment, and then I bought some summer seeds from Miguel. I crafted some more clothes with Karina and then did some gambling where I was blessed with the ultra-rare 𝘬𝘁𝗃𝗃 spores second place prize. I purchased some tree seeds from Sophie's stall and then opened up my stall for the afternoon shift, filled with a bunch of scraps I sold for just under 300k. The happy bingo rewards allowed me to do another casino spin, which resulted in a golden ball and a first place prize of a pink diamond to finish my Bazaar day. And to finish the day proper, I planted some sunflowers in the basement, remembered that today was my birthday but no one celebrated with me, and upgraded the Bazaar before bed. With that Bazaar upgrade, Felix woke me up on day 163 to announce the Bazaar is now a trailblazing Bazaar, but I'd expect that title promotion to come with something better than summer bouquets. Freya somehow has a key to my house and dragged me to the cafe where all the town bachelorettes are enjoying some drinks and sweets. Even 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 showed up to talk gossip, which is always fun for your boy. With rain in the air, I put on a proper outfit and started my day in the small barn, feeding Burgundy, and then to the basement to collect coffee beans and avocados. Up in the mountains, I got a pink diamond, placed those 𝘬𝘁𝗃𝗃 spores on some logs, and finished the day with some late night fishing where I found a red bottle and caught a new challenger fish, the catfish. I'm in the pasture petting chickens to start day 164, then it's up to the mountains to collect some honeycomb and complete more bingo missions. I cut down all the herbs in the beekeeping field, got a 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 buff, and filled my Bazaar stall with non-perishables. I found another shiny object near the town plaza, found another pink diamond during my evening ore run, and I collected 30 bugs in one day with this firefly catch, which got me the Bug Fanatic title to end the day. A bunch of sunflowers are ready for chopping in the basement to kick off a cloudy day 165. I got all of those flowers planted to almost fill out the beekeeping field, then ran back home to make sure my animals got the pets they deserve. With another 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 buff activated, I got a bunch of materials going in the red windmill to end another super short day. I decided to find out the best gifts or marriage candidates on day 166. So I had to look super fresh before getting into the kitchen to make some herb salad, soy milk pudding, stew, and an 𝗏𝗏 𝘠𝗏𝗏. Freya's favorite gift is citrus perfume, and Jules is more of a herbal perfume enjoyer. Samir's favorite gift is stew. Gabriel likes cherries, but I'll actually show you his favorite gift later. June's favorite gift is cherry tea, but this magic blue flower does well in a pinch. Diana is a apple pie lover, but I don't have that recipe yet, so black tea will have to do. Art's favorite gift is unadon, but I've just been giving him warm milk. Lloyd really likes paella, but that's a lot of ingredients that I don't have, so he gets honey juice. Derek's favorite gift is a cream coquette, but bugs are also an easy option. Now that the gift-giving parade is over, I collected my first ever batch of 𝘬𝘁𝗃𝗃 mushrooms in the mountains, which are surprisingly expensive. I got a bunch of dyes crafted at the red windmill, finally took care of all my animals in the pasture, and finished the day by getting a handful of those mushrooms turned into spores. Day 167 begins in the large barn, pulling on cow and buffalo udders to get that sweet, sweet cream. I got some tea leaves collected in the crop field, and then collected the autumn sunstone from the blue windmill. I got that stone placed, activating the ability to grow fall crops in the cellar, and now I can grow every single crop in my basement. I upgraded the Bazaar at the town plaza, then saw a very funny cutscene where Miguel was attempting to extort Lloyd for a rare gem purchase, before Lloyd pulled out the Uno reverse card and used some tickets to a show that Mina wanted to see as a means to get a discount. As you can expect though, Mina thought the tickets were for her and Madeline, and Miguel is left maidenless, once again. But back to the 100% grind. I got the yellow windmill outfitted with the purple wonderstone, and got back to making ultimate lumber. I got more 𝘬𝘁𝗃𝗃𝗃 spores placed on logs, grabbed a buff from 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, and dug up a pink diamond before ending the day by giving Derek a bug for his birthday. This seasonal animal show headlines day 168, and Felix is up and at 'em early to announce the Bazaar upgrade with 10 pieces of ultimate stone in tow. A pretty solid reward if you ask me. Over at the small barn, I got all of my animals pet, then it's out into the fields to harvest some ripe corn and get some more flower seeds planted before taking part in the animal show. My live chat decided to enter Coco in the gold cow competition, and we won our first ever gold animal trophy. More important than the silverware though is the fact that my cow milk is an official branded product now and will sell for much higher prices. Milk Plus honestly isn't even worth turning into cheese or butter now. Another exciting milestone I crossed today was getting started on the final sickle upgrade, courtesy of the ultimate stone I got this morning. I then finished the day off by getting some stuff thrown into my stall in anticipation for tomorrow's bazaar. And speaking of tomorrow, I woke up on day 169 to learn that the first hurricane of the season will make landfall in 24 hours. Thank goodness all my fields and logs already have windscreens on them. I got into the barn that morning to take care of all my animals, threw on some new threads, and went up to the mountains to collect my first batch of mellow honeycomb that I quickly got processing into honey. I fast traveled to the Bazaar Square, made sure to get my destiny fortune for the day, and purchased an excellent foraging decor from 𝗵𝗫 since I'm selling a lot of raw gems. I sold out of all those gems and made just under 1.5 million G, then went over to the nature sprites to collect some happy bingo rewards. I got a golden ball gambling, but didn't get the adamantite I wanted, but at least I'll be able to sell this pink diamond. I crafted some more chic clothing at Karina's, got Hen Solo's most recent egg fertilized, and said goodbye to Lawnmower since she isn't rare. Garen had a 1 million G soil upgrade for sale, so I obviously sprung for that before starting my afternoon bazaar shift where I sold out and made another 200,000 G. With the hurricane coming tomorrow, it was the perfect time to get the yellow windmill started on some high-value accessories. They're supposed to take about 45 days to complete with a gentle breeze, so hurricane winds should really expedite that process. I got a quick kagetsu buff before finishing the day by planting some trees in the crop field, getting some lumber and stone crafted, and then upgrading the bazaar again. Even in the midst of hurricane winds, Felix woke me up on day 170 to confirm the bazaar upgrade, which rewarded me 20 golden mayonnaise. Over at the hotel, I saw a cute cutscene where Samir has become the hotel staff's go-to guy, as he has officially been embedded into Zephyr Town. Back on the farm, I made sure to comfort all my animals frightened by the hurricane conditions, and then spent the entire afternoon fishing up recyclables at the equestrian park. With this hurricane touching down, it was the perfect time to get more ultimate resources cooking. Then I went to the mountain peak to make this sick gap that is pretty difficult in hurricane winds. The rest of the day was spent down at the equestrian park getting more blue bottles. With that hurricane in the rear view mirror, Garen was able to complete the soil upgrade to start day 171. My chat once again forced me into a more fabulous appearance, and then I made my way to the crop fields to get some tea leaves. As I was working up a sweat, Samir showed up and asked to go on a walk. He then revealed his true name and that he's a prince of a faraway land, as if I didn't already clock that. Of course, I confessed I was in love with him, and now I have 2 boyfriends. But it turns out I spoke too soon, because Lloyd came strolling down the cliffside to tell me that he's staying in town. So of course, I love him as well. He got like way too close and whispered in my ear, but I have 3 boyfriends now, so I'm okay with it. Over at the Blue Windmill, my mellow honey is finally ready, which has the added benefit of completing the honey and mushroom section of the encyclopedia. I did a quick raw resource run in the mountains, did some late afternoon animal handling in the barn, and realized I couldn't cut these flowers down because my sickle is being upgraded. With that being the case, I could only plant a couple of tree saplings with these weeds in the way, before ending the day in the red windmill getting more resources processed. Burgundy the brown alpaca gave birth to an identically colored progeny on day 172, and he shall be named Ron. After checking my mailbox this morning, I received a couple of new mementos from Samir and Lloyd, and threw on a more distinguished, gentlemanly outfit to see this cutscene with Freya. She made her way to the farm to show me the cookies she made with the cucumbers I taught her to grow, and obviously delicious cookies equals a love confession, and another marriage candidate added to the roster. Overnight, those weeds blew away so I could finish planting my tree seeds, but I probably could have done that regardless now that the ultimate sickle is in my hands. This tool can cut down an entire crop field with a single stroke. I found another one of those sparkly spots for Happy Bingo near Ivy, then got an almond and mango seedling planted before seeing June just chilling at the yellow windmill. Turns out she also decided to turn down an opportunity to leave town, which obviously means she wants to be my girlfriend. Right? Right. I then ran into Jules at the town plaza. I guess he heard that I'm accepting boyfriend applications and kindly threw himself in the running, so that makes 4 boyfriends acquired. Now that I can finally get back to farming, I got the Prismatic Rancher title now that Coco is giving out 7-star milk. That combined with milk trending and the brand makes these pretty lucrative. I grabbed another Kagetsu buff and spent the evening chopping down sunflowers since I don't need any more mellow honey. I then finished the day by planting marigold seeds next to my tree seedlings. Day 173 is the Summer Horse Derby, but it looks like Ivory doesn't want a pre-race treat. My mailbox is chock full of stuff this morning. I got some balloons, a cool new fountain pen, a handmade sheep patch, and some intoxicating perfume. Back to farming I go, though, to feed hens solo, and then I learned that another hurricane is on the horizon, so I prudently started crafting the 18 windscreen kits I'll need before Friday. Over at the Equestrian Park, the Silver Summer Derby is about to start, and Ivory is ready to take this win. The Silver Derby is definitely harder than the Bronze, but the curve isn't that steep, hence why I came out with another big dub. With what's left of the day, I smashed some wood and rocks, collected some fireflies at the mountain peak, and prepared for the upcoming superstorm. Thankfully, Shireen didn't lie to me, and I got the hurricane cutscene to start day 174. Han Solo's baby chick hatched as well, and my live chat decided on the name Aluminium. As I got my day underway, I gave some felines some pets, then ran over to the red windmill to collect the remaining windscreens. I harvested the last of my corn crop, threw on a stylish new outfit, then ran into Derek at the town plaza. He made me a scrumptious fish and lemon dish for lunch, and then took me up to the mountains so I could confess to him. Seems like word made it to Sophie that she's fallen behind the pecking order, so I went to go say hello. And as she commented on how much brighter the town has been since I've come around, I made sure to tell her what I was feeling, and now I have 10 girlfriends and boyfriends with my sights set on the last 2. I got the beekeeping field outfitted with windscreens, started making some accessories in anticipation of the high winds, and got back to the farm to collect some wool. I then put a bow on the day by fertilizing all my growing fruit trees, getting a pink diamond, and earning some happy points by donating extra materials to Ivy. Day 175 begins in the large barn, petting Aluminium in the hopes that she grows up to be a SSR chicken. The hurricane force winds are no match for the power of an ultimate sickle, and then it was down to the Bazaar Square to prep my stall for tomorrow. I made this sweet jump again during my ore run, grabbed another 𝗂𝗄𝗃 buff, and then made some omelet rice, which is Gabriel's favorite gift. I enjoyed the hurricane winds while I emptied out my mailbox of mementos from Sophie and Derek, then spent the remainder of the day at the Equestrian Park reeling up 5 blue bottles. My live chat was feeling a green vibe for day 176's Bazaar, so I did a quick ore run at the Nature Sprite Ridge, where I was able to get 4 diamonds before getting my stall set up for the windmill goods. Destiny told me my fortune, then it was time to make a whole bunch of money. 745,000 G isn't too shabby for not selling any accessories. I got Ron rehomed, collected some happy bingo rewards, and exchanged 9 blue bottles for some sturdy wood. Karina got me fitted with some new clothes, and Coco will give us a new cow soon. I got some hibiscus flowers purchased from Miguel, and then completed my afternoon bazaar shift to make some more storage space available. Up in the mountains, I made a very aesthetically appealing floral arrangement for the beekeeping field and collected some matsutake mushrooms. Over at the Yellow Windmill, I got more ultimate resources cooking, then finished the day back on the farm fertilizing my tree saplings. Some golden wool from basil is the perfect way to start day 177, and this pink diamond dig spot is just another bright ray of sun on this rainy day. I got a bunch of hibiscus seeds planted, side down some bloom flowers, and then went up to the mountain peak to catch some fireflies. I rounded out this short day with a 𝗂𝗄𝗃 buff and a diamond drop during my ore run at the Nature Sprite Ridge. The Summer Crop Show Festival is the main event on day 178, so I threw on some festival attire and got some red peppers harvested in the cellar. Out in the pasture, I got more affection and happiness from my animals, did a very quick ore run, then made my way to the town plaza to enter the silver crop competition with my highest quality tea leaves. I won, of course, and now my tea leaves can reach the max level 7 rating. As I was enjoying my evening running around and collecting resources, I did not keep track of my stamina well and passed out for the first ever time. I don't know how, but I woke up in my bed on day 179 with all my inventory untouched, so the nature sprites must have been looking out for me. But there's no rest for the wicked. I put on my favorite sweatshirt and got into the barn, where I was delighted to learn that Aluminium is a super rare silky chick. Aluminium isn't the only highlight though. Thanks to all those hurricanes, my 8 pink diamond brooches only took 10 days to finish processing instead of the reported 45. So I made another 10 diamond bracelets hoping for similar luck. Up in the mountains, I'm throwing more spores on the mushroom logs, restocking my storage with this pink diamond drop before grabbing a 𝗂𝗂𝗃𝗃 buff. Back at the Yellow Windmill, another massive amount of accessories are ready for pickup, then it's back home where I learned another hurricane is on the way. So I had to stop all production in the Red Windmill and reprioritize my process to make some windscreens. To finish the day off, I upgraded the Bazaar once again, then did some challenger fishing since it's the most efficient way to level up Finley. Hurricane number 3 of the season is close to Zephyr Town on day 180, but Felix doesn't care about that whatsoever as he's here to upgrade the Bazaar. Into the barn I go to make sure Cusco is brushed, and I got the Animal Whisperer title for getting him all the way up to max friendship. Over in the field, some hibiscus flowers are bloomed and ready for chopping, then it's over to the red windmill to craft even more windscreens. Up in the mountains, I collected the final amount of honeycomb to complete my first deluxe happy bingo card, before running back to the farm to do some natural disaster prep. I got the Bazaar upgraded again, got windscreens set up in the mountains, picked up a 𝘃𝗵𝗄𝗏 buff, and did another minerals run. To finish off the day, I collected some high-level tea seeds from the blue windmill and got all those planted. I guess Felix just really enjoys the hurricane weather since he's at my door to announce the Bazaar rank up again on day 181. 3 purple necklaces is an unfortunate reward though. I made sure I had a weather-appropriate outfit on and went into the barn to check on and feed Coco before running over to the hotel to pick up an accessory request from Shireen. I wish it was a necklace considering I just got a bunch, but I guess I'll have to get this brooch crafted. Hurricanes are good for 2 things though: processing items and fishing up recyclables. So after I got that brooch started, I spent the entire day fishing at the equestrian park. The wind subsided, but it's still very rainy on day 182 as I refilled the troughs in the barn. I spent the morning and afternoon collecting raw materials, completing a bingo mission by collecting some mushrooms, and getting more ultimate lumber queued up before dropping by the Bazaar to stock my stall for tomorrow. I spent a nice relaxing evening fishing up more challenger fish in my quest to get 7-star fish quality. The Bazaar is hours away as I start day 183 in the pasture taking care of my animals. I very quickly harvested some freshly bloomed flowers, did an ore run in the mountains, and got some dyes cooking in the red windmill before running down to the Bazaar square to turn in my complete deluxe bingo card. My reward for that was the captain's attire, which goes perfect with a ponytail. I went back to the square and picked up a destiny buff so that I could make a mediocre profit of just over 300,000 G. I did some gambling at the casino and got a red second place prize of ultimate stone, and then went over to Karina's stall to craft new clothes. My live chat selected Lambert to be the latest animal to give birth, and we said goodbye to Soup and Hen Solo. With the Bazaar over for today, I went back home and took care of those animals, put on the proper headwear for my outfit, then grabbed a 𝘃𝗵𝗄𝗏 buff and utilized the level 4 chat bonus to get some friendship points with the cooking aunties. I began day 184 in the kitchen whipping up my entrant in this autumn's cooking competition, some supreme curry. Over at the large barn, I got some calcium-rich milk from the cows, then went down to my basement to harvest some flowers. I saw a cute cutscene at the town plaza with Diana, June, and Shireen, where our favorite Bazaar bureaucrat lost her cool looking at some cat patches June made, and quickly had to leave to maintain her cold and calculated persona. I got some ultimate resources cooking at the yellow windmill, then went up to the mountains to collect some honeycomb and put more spores on the mushroom logs before ending the day by getting more lumber queued up in the red windmill. Another day means more time spent petting my chickens on day 185. This morning I got some new fruit, some golden bananas, and peaches. I then went up to the mountain to get some ores and rocks crushed, grab a 𝘃𝗵𝗄𝗏 buff, and spent my afternoon jumping on a barrel to complete a bingo mission. I got even more ultimate lumber cooking, cracked open some ores at the Nature Sprite Ridge, then spent the rest of the evening fishing at the mountain peak. Coco the cow gave birth to a rare brown cow to start day 186, the final day of summer year 2. The live chat decided that Caramel was the perfect name for this little one. Speaking of my live chat, they forced me to go with this girl boss look today before I went out to do my farm chores of milking cows and collecting my first bundle of mangoes and almonds. I also had a group of cacao and rare lemons ripe and ready for plucking before running down to the yellow windmill to finally craft the 𝗺𝗃𝗀𝗻 fishing rod. 20 pieces of ultimate lumber is not easy to come by, so it's been a long grind for this thing. I ran over to the Bazaar square and stocked my stall, and then went over to the hotel, where I saw a cutscene between Maple and Shireen, the latter encouraging the former to continue being her elegant self. The last thing I did today was enjoy the summer warmth one last time during a late afternoon ore run. With an autumnal nip in the air, I threw on a weather-appropriate outfit to check my mail and start day 187. This season's trend of tea is the first decent one I've had in a long time. I'll be heavily investing in melon tea this season, so all my fruit trees are going to have to go so that I can replace them with tea. The first little bit of tea I planted in the summer is ready for harvest, so I got those ground pounded and received the Prismatic Farmer title since they're the first crop I got that is 7-star quality. While I was doing my thing, Gabriel rolled up to the farm to invite me to the mayor's house to see his latest masterpiece. Felix and Stuart then got into a shouting match as to which location deserves to have the painting, so Gabriel and I just got out of there and I asked him to become my 6th and final boyfriend. He has no option to decline, so I now am dating every bachelor. The final infinity stone to the marriage candidate infinity gauntlet is Diana. She was told she gets to stay in town and work with the Bazaar, So of course I'm gonna confess to her, making her the 6th and final bachelorette to join the group of people dating me. Now that I've collected all the marriage candidates, I swiftly friend-zoned them all and presented the blue feather to the marriage poll winner, 𝘂𝘁𝘂. She didn't seem to care that I was dating half the village and accepted my proposal. Typically, I would just end the day here, but I have money to make and the highest quality melon seeds are imperative to that operation. Over at the Yellow Windmill, my 𝗺𝗃𝗀𝗃 fishing rod is complete, and I ended the day at the mountain collecting mushrooms and finishing another deluxe happy bingo card. 𝘂𝘁𝘂 and our wedding planner Felix woke me up on day 188 with our save the date, Autumn 8th. I then selected what I was going to wear at the wedding, and of course my live chat had to include the flower crown in the ensemble. Day 194 is when we'll get married, and it can't come soon enough. I once again was forced to put a bow on my head, and then I was out into a rainy Zephyr town where my mailbox contained mementos from Diana and Gabriel for me to collect. I gave Caramel and the other large animals a nice brushing, and then ran up to the mountains to repopulate my beekeeping field. I got some more porcini mushroom spores placed on the logs, then went down to the basement to plant and water all the melons growing. At my house, I decorated my trophy cabinet to serve as a 𝘂𝘁𝘂 shrine, and spent my evening fertilizing tea leaves and reeling in challenger fish. If you ask my live chat, the pink bow was apparently the only option for me to wear on day 189. I sheared some fresh wool from my fuzzy boys in the barn, then went over to the Yellow Windmill where another 1 million G in accessories is ready ahead of schedule. I popped the purple Wonderstone into the red windmill since I'm missing one sprinkler, then returned to the beekeeping field to fix my mistake of not adding enough columns of herbs. I picked up a fiancé buff, went back home to plant some high-quality tea seeds, and then stocked my stall full of stuff that's been filling up my storage. On top of the cafe, Penny got my bug quality up to 5.5 stars, and I spent my evening cooking up royalty for tomorrow's bazaar. My single sprinkler finished cooking the morning of day 190, so I quickly got that installed in my basement and did an expedient cow milking so I can get down to the bazaar and grab my fortune. For those of you wondering why I'm not selling all my accessories just yet, I'm waiting for a season where they're trending, so I guess you'll have to live with me making close to 735,000 G off scraps until that happens. I restocked my stall with more extra goodies, crafted some extra special outfits at Karina's, and purchased the elusive autumn juice recipe from Madeline. I had an entire deluxe bingo card worth of rewards to collect at the Nature Sprite stall, the most important of which was a new pirate-themed glider. Miguel finally had a blueberry tree seedling on sale, so I scooped that up along with the olive and green grape seedling from Sophie. My afternoon shift was unimpressive with only 200,000 G collected, but I was able to get Bean's eggs fertilized and purchase some Chef Series decor items since I'm going to be selling a lot of melon tea here soon. To finish off another exciting bazaar day, I got some sturdy lumber processing and made sure to continue fertilizing all of the melon seeds in my basement. The first thing I did on day 191 is check my mailbox to find a gift of 10 lumber from Isaac. This fresh milk I'm collecting will go directly to him as a thank you. After taking care of my animals, I did some resource farming, upgraded the bazaar to level 25, and started crafting some ruby accessories before picking up my mushrooms from the mountain. My fiance gave me another buff, and then I went to catch some fish. It took me 191 days, but my fish quality is finally 5 stars, with only 14 total levels to go between Penny and Finley. The rest of this day is pretty boring. The only thing to note was that I did an ore run in the mountains. Another bazaar upgrade means Felix woke me up to tell me something I already know the morning of day 192, but I will gladly take 10 purple dyes as a reward. Today is headlined by the town cook-off, so I quickly grabbed some honeycomb from the beekeeping field, checked my mail where I got some sea urchin, and preemptively cooked up my dish for tomorrow's bake-off, a trifle. I made sure to feed my pregnant sheep, then ran down to the town plaza where the cook-off is underway. My ultimate curry was obviously the star of the show, and I retained my crown as the town's best chef. To put a cap on another exciting festival day, I donated some extra resources to Ivy for happy points, then enjoyed a relaxing bout of fishing near the Yellow Windmill. Day 193 starts with a bang as Lambert gave birth to a rare pattern Suffolk lamb the live chat decided to name Oreo. With today being headlined by the bake-off, my viewers also decided I needed to wear an apron to fit the theme. I said hello to our brand new farm animal, harvested some ripe melons in the crop field, cracked open a diamond at the Nature Sprite Ridge, and grabbed a little bit of honeycomb before getting a fiancé buff. Hopefully the prayers of my soon-to-be wife make the cook-off an easy win. I submitted my delicious trifle dish, to which Pierre said it was the best thing he's ever eaten, and you'll forgive me for flexing my golden cook-off trophy. More important than the trophy though is the whole chocolate cake recipe being crossed off my list. With those melons I harvested this morning in tow, the Yellow Windmill is filled to the brim with melon tea tins, before ending my day in the mountains, putting more mushroom spores on logs and cracking open a pink diamond during my late night ore run. The only thing on the list for day 194 is my wedding to 𝗂𝘂𝘁𝗂. Everyone in town is present, even all 11 of my exes. Obviously, me and 𝗂𝘂𝘁𝘂 are looking fantastic as we recite, or nod in my case, our vows. We exchange our rings and are officially wed as confetti rains down from the sky, courtesy of the nature sprites. Unfortunately, honeymoons don't exist in Zephyr Town, so it's straight back to work in a new outfit on day 195. Our buddy Bean hatched a baby chick this morning who shall bear the name Nugget. I very briefly watched over my sleeping wife before asking her nicely for a buff. I saw Nugget just chilling in the rain, so I took him inside, then got to harvesting some more autumn tea leaves. I got a bunch more sturdy lumber going in the blue windmill, found another sparkly spot for the nature sprites, and then did my morning ore run. I did some fishing near Gabriel's house this afternoon and found a rare empty can, but the piece de resistance was the northern pike I found to end the day. Caramel is fully grown on day 196, so I can finally get some milk from her. Another clump of tea is ready for harvest, and then it's over to stock the stall for tomorrow's bazaar. I spent the afternoon of this back-to-back rainy day collecting mushrooms and planting more high-quality melon seeds before getting another wife buff and catching more challenger fish near Gabriel's house. Over at the yellow windmill, 50 melon tea tins are ready for collection, and I refilled the windmill with an additional 40 melon tea tins. I then put a cap on this day by getting into the kitchen and enhancing those tea tins to make 7-star melon tea, a beverage that will sell for a pretty penny at tomorrow's bazaar. I equipped an autumnal hipster fit the morning of day 197 and quickly accomplished all my farm chores before jumping straight into the bazaar day with a destiny fortune. As expected, the melon tea really bumped up that revenue number to 950,000 G, and I used some of that money to upgrade my bed to the deluxe version. I bought out Miguel's entire stock of melon seeds, pulled out a golden ball at the prize palooza, and got the final piece of adamantite I'll need to upgrade my last 2 tools. I crafted a couple of expensive clothing items at Karina's, then made the difficult decision to rehome Coco since Caramel is rarer, before my live chat picked Cusco to be the next animal parent. Over at the Sprite stall, I exchanged 560,000 happy points for Honey's Rosette, before quickly starting and finishing the afternoon bazaar shift, resulting in a paltry 180,000 G. I ended the day by placing some 𝗂𝘂𝘁𝗂 spores on the mushroom logs and repopulating my basement with more melon seeds. As I was enjoying a cup of morning tea on day 198, Wilbur burst into my house with that deluxe bed I purchased yesterday. I guess I'll be able to have a kid now, so that's fun. My wife gave me a quick buff. I made sure to pet and feed all of my canine pals along with a pregnant Cusco the alpaca before running into the fields to harvest more autumn tea leaves. I found a diamond during my morning ore run, dug up some metals behind the blue windmill, and spent 600,000 to upgrade the bazaar again. Today I ran around town giving out tea leaves since I have way too much, and I learned that Clara is the only resident that actively dislikes them. Over in the yellow windmill, I finally got all my tools upgraded to orichalcum, with the hoe being the final tool to be upgraded. I then finished the day off by fishing up some more guardian fish and enjoying a quiet evening watching the stars with 𝗂𝘂𝘁𝘂. With the upgrade confirmed by Mayor Felix the morning of day 199, my reward for that is 99 pieces of copper, which is underwhelming. After checking my mailbox, I found some high-quality warm milk and fish bait in there, which is a disgusting combination. And then I got some fresh milk courtesy of Buffy and Caramel, before collecting more expensive tea tins and doing a real quick ore run in the mountains. I spent the afternoon fishing for a fish that I couldn't even get because there's too much wind in the air, queuing up more melon tea tins, then wrapped up the day by failing to catch another fish. On day 200, I gave my live chat control over the outfit choice on this auspicious day. I got myself a wife buff, then got into the large barn, where my disappointment was immeasurable, and my day was ruined. Nugget is just a common chicken. But on the bright side, I have more melons ready for harvest, and my orichalcum hoe has finally finished cooking. I then received about 34 gifted subscriptions on stream that resulted in me wearing this little Bo Peep fit because I'm a slave to the almighty dollar. I collected some honeycomb and completed a bingo mission, did an ore run complete with pink diamonds that subsequently got queued into 10 brooches that are expected to take 50 days to process. That evening, I harvested a bunch of shiitake mushrooms from the logs, reseeded one of my melon fields, and fertilized all the growing melons in my basement before hitting up the kitchen to create even more max quality melon tea. The last thing I did on day 200 was collect the final tree frog needed to complete a bingo mission before laying to rest for the night next to 𝗂𝘂𝘁𝘂. As I get back into the swing of things in Zephyr Town, day 201 begins in the cellar harvesting some melons, then collecting more bingo sheets from the nature sprites. I made sure to collect the eggs in the big barn and run over to the blue windmill to get those fresh melons turned into seeds. I found a rare mushroom just chilling at the mountains before spending my afternoon fishing near the Nature Sprite Ridge. That evening, I did a resource run, complete with 1 diamond, and finished the day off by farming guardian fish. The morning of day 202 is spent in the barn collecting some rare Suffolk wool from Lambert and harvesting a final round of tea leaves in the 𝘰𝘄𝗃 crop field that I very quickly repopulated and watered. One of the bingo squares I need to complete is collecting 100 mint, so I started that journey in the mountains, then leveled up my fish quality to 5.5 stars courtesy of some guardian fish. As Finley is the second to last sprite to upgrade, I spent the remainder of the evening catching more guardian fish, and ended the day by getting my fish quality up to level 6, and created some 7-star melon tea to sell at the next bazaar. My live chat decided I needed to wear this amazing outfit on day 203 before getting back into the cellar to harvest some straggler melons. Above ground in the pasture, I got Flan the cow milked and Oreo the sheep sheared, and ran over to the yellow windmill to queue up 10 diamond bracelets. Today is yet another animal festival in Zephyrtown, so I entered Onyx in the Silver Silky competition and came out with another W. With what remained of my day, I made sure my stall was ready to go for tomorrow's bazaar and harvested some mushrooms in the mountains. Another day means another outfit, and I got that shit on to start day 204. I quickly completed all my farm chores and then went to the bazaar square to grab a fortune and sell off my goods for 1.4 million G. I completed a fair amount of bingos the last couple days, but the only good thing I got was this treasure chest. Over at Karina's stall, I purchased some new threads, got Chickpea working on a new progeny, and spent 640,000 G on another bazaar upgrade, before finishing the day off in the cellar, replanting some 5-star melons that I intend to turn into more melon tea. Felix is at my door to kick off a very rainy day 205 to confirm my bazaar upgrade and hand me a bill for the next one. More important than that, though, is that my reward for the upgrade is 10 pieces of ultimate lumber. Before getting all wet outside, I collected some rare alpaca wool from Burgundy, then braved the rainstorm to collect some fresh melons in the second crop field, and ran over to the east side of town to catch a new fish. Another day in Zephyrtown is in the books as I finished this one by upgrading the bazaar again. My reward for that upgrade arrived the morning of day 206, 3 pieces of rare Suffolk yarn. I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot to press the record button for the morning of this day, and all I got was me collecting resources, so let's just skip to day 207 where Cusco gave birth to a rare alpaca. Our new little fuzzball pal was lovingly named Lilac by my live chat, and obviously I made sure our friend was nice and comfy in the big barn, before getting out into the field to harvest even more melons. Those fresh fruits got promptly thrown into the blue windmill seed maker before I ended another day at the East River farming guardian fish for Finley. Day 208 begins in the pasture, giving all my animals the love and care they deserve, but today is a special day as it's a fall morning with no clouds and no wind, the perfect weather conditions to catch the ever-elusive shining fish at the mountain peak. That evening, I finally got the last bit of mint to complete that godforsaken bingo square, did some guardian fish farming for Finley, then finished the day by cultivating more tea leaves at the third crop field. Another feathered friend has joined the gang the morning of day 209. What will hopefully be a super rare chicken that my live chat named Microwave, but spelled funny because character limits. Hopefully this chick will grow up to have some cool colors, or it's dead to me. Even more tea leaves are ready for harvest in the first crop field, then up I go to the mountains to gather up some honeycomb and pluck off the fresh fungi. The final activity of this day was to just relax and enjoy myself at the annual Juice Festival. With another live chat influenced outfit donned to start day 210, it's down to the cellar to ground pound some melons. Blonde provided me with some delicious milk in the pasture before I ran over to the blue windmill to continue the ultimate lumber and stone grind. Our good pal and former love interest Arta seems to have taken interest in someone else, and as his former boy toy, it's only right that I encourage him to seek greener pastures. I spent the evening in the kitchen cooking up some more melon tea, fishing up some more scaly boys at the river, which, after donating all of them to Finley, finally finished this Nature Sprites leveling experience. Every fish I catch will now be 7-star max quality, leaving only Penny and her bugs to level up. It feels like time travel, but the weekly bazaar is once again upon us on day 211. So I threw on a new fit and checked the mail where Finley's rosette was waiting for me to collect. But before I get down to the bazaar square, I got more melons to harvest. After quickly redecorating my stall for maximum profit gains, I grabbed a fortune from Destiny and got to selling. My melon tea was the talk of the town, and the resulting profits of just over 1 million G is a nice sweetener. With another bingo card completed, I grabbed the Seafarer's dress from the Nature Sprites and purchased another fun outfit from Karina's stall. With Lilac being a rare variant, I no longer have use for Cusco, so he was sent to a new farm before Buffy was selected as the next in line to be bred. The afternoon shift was barely noticeable as I sold off some items that were going bad or taking up storage space for some pocket change, before I ended the day by upgrading the Bazaar one more time. With the Bazaar now at level 29 and another large bill for me to pay coming up, a reward of 10 summer juice hardly seems like a great way to kick off day 212. Brushing my animals always makes me feel better though, so I did that, collected some mushrooms up at the mountains, and donated some bugs and critters to Penny to get their quality level up to 6 stars. Only one more star to go. I once again paid Felix, his money, and repopulated my mushroom logs and ended the day with a god drop of all god drops. 3 pink diamonds from a single mithril node. I played this game for well over 300 hours, and I'd be surprised if I ever saw this happen even if I played 300 more. With the Bazaar quickly rising up the ranks to level 30 and 20 bouquets in my back pocket, I started day 213 in the barn collecting wool and milking cows before heading out into the 3rd crop field to get some more tea leaves. And speaking of tea leaves, I entered my autumn leaves in the seasonal crop show, and of course, they won top prize. As this was my maiden victory in the golden crop competitions, my tea leaves were officially branded and I got a new decor item for my Bazaar stall. And to finish off an exciting day in Zephyrtown, the monotony of collecting mint over and over again once again entered my life. But at least I can curb that boredom of mint harvesting with new outfits to start day 214. Unfortunately though, our pile microwave isn't a super rare chicken, so she'll have to go to another farm at some point. Out in the 2nd crop field, a bunch of daisies are ready to be side down and turned into white dye at the red windmill. I did my morning resource run complete with a pink diamond, and then went to the yellow windmill to pick up some ultimate lumber and expensive accessories. And with that extra processing room, I queued up some more diamond bracelets before ending another day by grinding mint. Tomorrow is Zephyrtown's version of Halloween, so I was up early the morning of day 215 making some cookies for the kiddos before swapping to a new outfit. Up at the crop field, some tea leaves were ready for harvest, and then I went to check on a pregnant Buffy. Over at the mountains, I collected some fresh mushrooms before going down to the blue windmill to queue up some emerald accessories to end the day. To start up day 216, I finally completed another one of those incredibly time-consuming mint collection bingo squares. Now I can finally get started on the 2nd batch of bingo cards. I put on my live chat-inspired Halloween outfit, found another sparkly spot up in the mountains while doing my ore run, then ran back home to give Zephyrtown's children some treats so they don't trick me. Another exciting festival day in Zephyrtown is laid to rest as I finished it off in the kitchen, cooking up some more melon tea. Day 217, the final day of autumn in year 2, begins in the closet picking out a new look, then over to the barn to brush Basil and Lambert. A final round of flowers are ready for harvest in the 2nd crop field, and then it's over to the yellow windmill to grab some high-value items. I dug up a pink diamond at the base of the mountains this morning, then got another pink diamond from the mithril ore, which was the final 2 I needed to do another round of those extra expensive brooches. Bees and dragonflies are on bonus at Penny's, so I leveled up the quality to 6.5 stars before running down to the Bazaar Square to prepare the stall for tomorrow, and ended the day and the season in the red windmill crafting some more purple dyes. The first day of winter means a thick snow has descended upon the town, so I need to be adequately dressed to start day 218. Of course, I have to check the mail to see what the trending items are this season, but the accessories trend still eludes me. I quickly got Oreo and Lilac sheared of their wool in the big barn, then went down to the Bazaar to make some money. Thanks to upgrading the Bazaar to level 30, 𝗁𝘆 has another storage upgrade for sale. But before I buy that, I had to turn in another bingo card to pick up the Black Pirate Glider. I did a little bit of gambling at Rich's Casino and got the first prize, which today was a not-so-useful power berry, before hitting up Karina's to purchase some more clothing items. I sold off some extra mithril and orichalcum during the afternoon bazaar to cover the 2 million G I needed to expand my storage, then went over to the yellow windmill to queue up the final windmill goods tent. Back at the bazaar, I got microwaves eggs fertilized, got the bazaar upgraded again, then finished the day off by planting some grape, blueberry, and olive trees in the cellar. 𝗁𝘆 finished the penultimate upgrade to my storage to kick off day 219, quickly followed by Felix notifying me of the recent bazaar upgrade. I'm pretty sure the diamonds were found by 𝗁𝘆 and the 20 pickled cabbages were my upgrade reward. I threw on a delightfully purple snowsuit, got some more pink diamonds at the mountains during my ore run, then went down to the equestrian park to catch a new guardian fish, the peacock bass, before finishing my day in the yellow windmill acquiring my excellent windmill tent. Day 220 requires another new snowsuit, this time a pink variety with a matching headband. I made sure to fertilize my trees in the cellar so they reach 5-star quality, gave all my birds in the pasture some pets, and went up to the mountains to collect some honeycomb. Over at the Bazaar Square, I spent my afternoon optimizing my stall with the new tent and decor items I've received thus far, and finished another day off with the completion of some bingo missions by using the glider for 10 seconds and finding these shiny objects around town. Buffy gave birth to a super rare calf to start day 221, and the blue horns on this little guy required my live chat to name him Blue. I made sure to take care of all my animals in the barn and got my pirate outfit on once again requested by the live chat, then got into the fields to harvest some flowers. If I'm gonna acquire every outfit in the game, I'm gonna need a lot of dye, and I think this amount of purple should be enough. I was feeling extra generous today, so I put a cap on it by making some 𝘂𝘪𝘪 for Maple, since it's her favorite gift item. I kicked off day 222 by getting a chat friendship buff from 𝘃𝗄𝗄, continuing to fertilize my juvenile trees, then throwing on a new outfit to get some milk for my cows in the pasture. I did my morning ore run, which was fairly uneventful, then spent most of the day utilizing my friendship buff by running around town talking to people, as I'll need to get every villager up to full hearts if I want to 100% the game. I spent the evening hours practicing for the upcoming Winter Horse Derby, doing some relaxing fishing, and continuing to grind out those bug levels with Penny. Microwave the Chicken's fertilized egg hatched the morning of day 223, and 𝘃𝗵𝗵𝗏 was welcomed to the Fowl Farm family. Obviously, I had to put on some new attire, then beeline it to the yellow windmill so I could queue up the penultimate ultimate tool, the max upgraded hoe. I quickly did a pink diamond highlighted ore run in the mountains, then ran down to the town plaza to compete in the semi-annual pet show. This time around, Butters was the chosen canine to lead us to victory and collect another trophy for the collection. The live chat really loved the pink snowsuit, so I equipped it again to start day 224. I made sure all my animals were happy and healthy, cut down another batch of flowers in the third crop field, then went up to the mountains to collect my daily bees. The next Bazaar day is on the horizon, so I stopped by my stall to fill up my stock, got some more dyes cooking in the red windmill, and did some more fishing. Up in the mountains, I put some mushrooms on logs, replaced the mint with some primroses at the bee field, then picked up a request for a rare crop from Miguel, which was fairly straightforward to complete. As I was getting ready for bed, 𝘃𝗄𝗄 woke me up having heard rustling from the nature sprites in the house. Turns out the nature sprites are also the givers of life, and they decided 𝘃𝗄𝗄 and I were ready to be parents. After a back and forth vote in my live chat, it was decided that my future child would be a girl to end the day. Unfortunately, we aren't getting the baby right now, as it appears the nature sprites need to do some due diligence in finding the perfect offspring. So I spent the morning of day 225 in the pasture taking care of my animals before the Bazaar day got well and truly underway. 493,000 G isn't too bad for selling off scraps, and that money came in handy to purchase some new clothes. Now that we have a super rare Suffolk sheep, Lambert was sent off to a new farm, and Flan was given a miracle potion from Ramon. Over at the Sprite stall, I purchased 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 rosette and finished my day off by catching some bees at the mountains and upgrading the Bazaar another time. My reward for that upgrade arrived to kick off day 226, 20 pieces of special butter. Over at the big barn, I made sure Flan was feeling comfortable before running over to the second crop field to harvest some burdock root. I finished a short day by doing some fishing at the East River, where I reeled up a new purple bottle recyclable and the bluegill. I threw on my newly purchased super stylish jacket to start day 227 and got to work in the big barn milking Buffy and Cardio B. Some 5-star melons are ready to harvest in the cellar, but the big moment happened in the yellow windmill, where my ultimate hoe is ready for collection. This little miracle can plow an entire field with one swing. I received a level 4 chat friendship buff from 𝘃𝗄𝗄, so I spent the remainder of the day running around talking to people before putting a cap on it by doing my nightly ore run. I started day 228 in the barn picking up eggs and learning that 𝘃𝗵𝗏𝗏 is just a normal chicken variant, before confirming that Blue was indeed a super rare buffalo, which lifted my spirits. Today is Hearth Day, so I got into the kitchen to cook up a whole bunch of warm milk and went around town trading it for friendship points and exchanged recipes. Our girl Maple had a pretty simple request for me, so I got that completed with a swiftness, which got me the cherry pie recipe. Up in the mountains, I collected a pink diamond from this mithril ore, finished a bingo square by collecting some invigorating honey, then got another pink diamond by unearthing this dig spot at 𝘃𝗄𝗄's before finishing off a lovely Hearth Day by eating dinner with my wife. And speaking of my wife, she provided me with another chat friendship buff the morning of day 229. So I spent the day running around town talking to people. I kid you not, so many of the town's villagers had requests for me today. Wilbur, Diana, Madeline, Derek, Sophie, Lloyd, Jules, Sylvia, Lori, Kevin, and Gabriel all had some type of errand that only I could complete for them. If I didn't think these relationships were transactional before today, I 100% believe it now. So I essentially spent all day completing the mountain of requests that were handed off to me and collected a bunch of recipes that I'll have to make eventually. I needed a mental reset after all that work, so I started day 230 with a new outfit and just enjoyed the simplicity of taking care of the animals. 10 pink brooches were ready for collection at the Yellow Windmill, and then I completed a couple of bingo missions by collecting mushrooms and bouncing on the barrels. I completed Lori's request for wool, then ran into Nadine, who also had a request for me, which was an easy completion. June was the last person to get on their request train for today, and it was an easy completion, and I spent the evening fishing to whittle down Wilbur's request to catch 100 items. To finish off day 30, I saw what I would consider a passive-aggressive cutscene between Nadine and Clara, as the former was pushing food on the latter's family, almost as if she was showing off how much better of a cook she was. Day 231 is headlined by the seasonal animal show, so it was quickly out to the pasture to prepare Buffy, today's entrant. I quickly did my mountain chores by throwing some spores onto the logs and collecting diamonds during my ore run, before running down to the town plaza where the festivities are underway. As you could probably expect, all these out-of-towners are no match for Buffy and I, and we cruise to another victory. That leaves me to spend the remainder of the day fishing to continue making progress towards Wilbur's request. As I was checking on the weather the morning of day 232, Shireen informed me of an incoming blizzard, so I threw on a seasonally inappropriate outfit that exposed way too much skin, and assured my animals that the blizzard would be nothing to stress over. As today is a Bazaar day, I got my fortune from Destiny and got to Cellin, where I made just over 300,000 G, thanks to 𝗆𝗆𝗀 buying all this honey. I used those funds to purchase another suit from Karina, before heading over to the Nature Sprites to complete a bingo square and acquire the sushi chef clothes. Now that Buffy has birthed a super rare progeny, she was sent off to a new home along with Stringy Bee, and 𝘠𝗏𝗡's eggs were once again fertilized. The afternoon bazaar netted me some more pocket change, and I spent the evening getting more diamond bracelets queued up, prepared some windscreens for the oncoming blizzard, and then did even more fishing for Wilbur. My first round of blueberries, green grapes, and olives were ready for plucking in the cellar to kick off day 233 before getting into the pasture to milk all of my cows. Courtesy of 𝘃𝗫𝗄, I received another chat friendship buff to continue my 100% friendship grind, and then I went and upgraded the bazaar for the low price of 880,000 G. I collected a request from Felix to repair the statue of himself, which I reluctantly completed. I threw on a new outfit because my live chat told me to, and I encouraged Derek to find someone since I'm a married man, and ended the day with more fishing. A blizzard will be here in 24 hours, but Felix doesn't care. He's here to start day 234 to let me know that the bazaar got another upgrade, and I got a gift of 10 ultimate stone, which is pretty handy. I got some fuzzy creatures sheared in the barn, continued creating windscreens for tomorrow's blizzard, and then went up to the mountains to collect some mushrooms. After utilizing the remaining amount of chat friendship buff, I saw a cute cutscene at the hotel where Sonia talks about her and Stuart's son, and how his distance has affected Stuart, only for Maple to show up and give him a gift to cheer him up. The rest of the evening was spent doing some fishing, then getting those windscreens thrown up. As the blizzard touches down in Zephyrtown, Flan gave birth to a super rare black cow we named Fine Wine. Hopefully this little calf isn't too frightened by the storm. I'm certainly undeterred, as I finally have the opportunity to catch this here aqua bottle and the marbled eel that has been missing from my fishing list to finish up at day 235. The semi-annual horse derby headlines day 236, so I very quickly did an ore run up in the mountains and ran down to the equestrian park where Samir needed a simmered fish. I completed that request and learned how to make 𝗵𝗄𝗄𝗏, a very useful money-making recipe that I won't discover until it's too late. But that's besides the point. I'm here to do a horse race, and Ivory is raring to go. The silver horse race definitely wasn't that difficult, and I was able to get a win without any practice. But the most important moment of the day came after the race. I finally reeled up 100 items from fishing and was able to put this Wilbur request behind me. Another fertilized egg from 𝘠𝗏𝗏 hatched on day 237, so fingers crossed little Mimi here is a super rare variant. As the snow came down, I made sure to take care of the large animals before running up to the mountains to unearth a pink diamond, allowing me to get another 10 brooches cooking in the Yellow Windmill. I spent the afternoon jumping on some barrels to complete some bingo squares and finish the day by throwing some leftovers into the bazaar stall. My homegirl 𝘃𝗫𝗄 hooked it up with another maxed out chat friendship buff to start day 238, so I threw on some fresh clothes and got to work, quickly taking care of my animals and collecting my daily bees. Then it was time to go out on the town and talk to people to properly utilize that buff. The summer horse derby is only a couple weeks away, so I made sure to get prepared for that before running into Freya that evening. She seems to be smitten with a new man, and I'm gonna encourage my girl to go after what she wants. I also did the same for Lloyd too, but I honestly don't think he needed that much encouragement. On day 239, I rocked the sushi fit for the first time before heading downstairs to harvest some more melons. I picked up some rare Suffolk wool from my boy Oreo and received a couple of requests. Freya wants a necklace, Eric wants a rare crop, and Stuart wants me to use my sickle 999 times. Well, I'm gonna worry about that later. It's bazaar time, so I got my stall stocked, picked up a fortune, and made just under 800,000 G. Over at Rich's Casino, the top prize for today wound up to be some handy adamantite, and then I sent Flan to a new home, since fine wine is more rare, before giving 𝗺𝗪𝗏 a miracle potion. To finish off the day, I got a request from Clara for a 3-star bouquet, and used some of my profits to upgrade the bazaar. The best part of getting that upgrade is the reward of 3 red necklaces, which I'm sure I'll use for Freya's request. But before I do that, I have some fresh apples and red grapes to collect in the cellar, and some animals chilling in the pasture that need some pets. Up in the mountains, I collected some honeycomb from the bees, and went back down to town where Sonia needs to find an item she misplaced, and Mina wants a handful of mushrooms. Luckily, I had those mushrooms just chilling in my storage, so picking up this quick recipe for Mina was a sitch, and Freya was just chilling at the town square, so one of those aforementioned necklaces completed her request. While I was in the mood, I gave Eric a rare crop to grab the caprese salad recipe, and then located old lady Sonia's item on top of the cafe and returned it to her. To finish off the day, I went over to Miguel's store and purchased some more flower seeds. Day 241 begins in the closet equipping a new outfit, then chatting up my wife and getting another friendship buff. The nature sprites had another round of bingo cards for me to complete, and then I went and checked on 𝗺𝗪𝗏 as she is continuing her gestation period. Out in the first crop field, I harvested some ripe carrots and planted those bellflower seeds I purchased yesterday night, then went up to the mountains to catch some bees. Today is highlighted by the seasonal crop competition, where I turned an apple into a bronze trophy. And with all the townsfolk in the square, I spent the afternoon chatting them up, then ran over to the equestrian park to farm some weeds, since I'm gonna have to use this sickle another 800 more times to satisfy Stuart. Mimi has finally grown up on day 242, and I'm ecstatic to tell you she is a super rare variant. She might look like a silky chicken, but you can't find that blue and red combo anywhere else. There isn't much to show you guys, as a large majority of the day was just spent grinding out sickle uses, picking up some flowers I ordered, and getting those planted. A quick shout out to the developers for throwing this fun little tree in my house that I just noticed, but day 243 required an outfit change. Out in the winter cold, I took care of all my animals, scythed down some stuff and collected the ripe oranges before talking to my wife and getting another chat friendship buff. The rest of the day was spent giving gifts to villagers and talking to them for friendship points, utilizing the windmills to continue making accessories, and running around town cutting down as many weeds and herbs as I could find, and I'm about halfway done with Stuart's request. I started day 244 with a shower to finish another bingo card, then went out to the first crop field where some bellflowers have bloomed. I said hello and milked caramel in the pasture, then went over to Shireen's room in the hotel to receive a request from her. But honestly, I was feeling super lazy today, so I called it an early night and just enjoyed a dinner with 𝗂𝗂𝗂. With my battery recharged, I woke up on day 245 and cooked up Shireen's requested pudding and completed that request in exchange for 99 units of pet treats, then ran back home to milk my cows. But the grind does not stop. I still gotta collect the bees for Penny and cut down the weeds for Stuart. My wife didn't help either by giving me another chat friendship buff, which means I have to run around town and talk to people again. Another week has come and gone though, so day 246 has a frantic start as I take care of all the animals and plant some flowers in the cellar before heading down to the bazaar square to get my fortune and start selling off all my wares. I used my profits to level up the bazaar again, set microwave to a new home, and quickly got Mimi's eggs fertilizing, hoping that a super rare chicken increases my odds for getting that SSR chicken. I showed the nature sprites my completed bingo card and was rewarded with the tuna sushi glider, which will no doubt look great with my stylish knit vest I crafted with Karina. I got another lucky draw during my weekly gambling and received an additional piece of adamantite. And then I finished the day off by getting agonizingly close to finishing off the nature sprite leveling grind. Felix woke me up on day 247 to let me know that all future donations to the bazaar will require at least 7 digits, which is very scary considering I am only at level 35. Side note, 10 green dies hardly seems like an even exchange for almost 1 million G. First time egg mother Mimi obviously gets special attention, and the rest of the day was spent doing ore runs, hoping for rare gems, and inching closer to those 999 sickle uses. Day 48 and the final day of my second year in Zephyrtown wouldn't be complete without a stylish festival outfit to ground pound these tea leaves in style. Out on the pasture, I made sure to milk my cows and then finally chopped down the last couple bits of fodder I needed to complete Stuart's evil request. You can bet your ass the first thing I did was hightail it to the hotel and get it out of my inventory. And my reward for all that work? 9 melon seeds. Great, I love it. Thanks, Stuart. But now I can finally get back to farming ores without the stress of constantly having to cut weeds. But of course, I can't forget about the mint. There's so many bingo squares that require me to harvest 100 mint. But annoying requests and self-imposed pain aside, the New Year's celebration is well underway as we say goodbye to another eventful 4 seasons in Zephyr Town. To kick off year 3, in day 249, 𝗫𝗪𝗏 gave birth to a normal calf that I named 𝘠𝘫𝘪 because it's sad that she'll have to be given away to another farm. Anyway, shout out Cleveland. But now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Will accessories be a trending item for this season? Drumroll, please. Yes, they will. Let's go. I'm gonna make so much money. I even have 30 more pink brooches and diamond bracelets cooking. Come on. Okay, that was a lot. I know, I get it, but let's get back to the game, right? Let's get back to it. Springtime means I can show a bit of knee, so I got a new outfit locked and loaded, and spent the entire day fishing. I was able to catch a couple new fish in the 𝘬𝘓𝘓𝘂 at the Bazaar Square, the 𝘬𝑆 catfish at the base of the mountains, and the rainbow trout near the mushroom logs. Those were the final 3 fish I needed to catch everything possible in Zephyr Town and mark off another section of the encyclopedia. Wilbur even showed up to my house to kick off day 250 to confirm I caught everything and give me a special little title for my achievement. Unfortunately for me though, my live chat decided it was time for another special outfit, and I'm nothing if not a man of my word. So with the seafarer's dress riding the gentle breeze, I took care of all my animals in the pasture and picked up a request for 1 guardian fish for Harold. I pretty much spent the entire day trying to catch a guardian fish, and it was only at 10 p.m. after everyone had gone to sleep and locked their doors that I caught another 𝘬𝑆 catfish, so I guess that request will have to wait until tomorrow. Mimi's egg hatched on day 251, and the resulting chick was named 𝗊𝗍. I tossed on the sushi chef fit and got to work shearing and brushing my sheep and catching an uncommon butterfly so I could finally complete Kevin's request. I then popped by Clara's to give her one of those bouquets I got as a Bazaar level up reward, and was given the apple pie recipe. While I'm completing requests, I also made sure to complete Harold's guardian fish request I got yesterday. And I then ended the day by catching my daily bees in the mountains. Day 252 begins in the big barn milking all my cows, before running over to the yellow windmill to pick up some accessories that will come in clutch for tomorrow's bazaar. I refreshed my stock of pink diamonds, made a max quality apple pie and gave it to Diana since it's her favorite gift, and then spent the remainder of the day retooling my bazaar for max accessories gains, getting all the stalls filled up and harvesting tea leaves in my basement. Day 253 is a big day for me, so I threw on my best bazaar fit, made sure to collect all my eggs and produce, and finished all my farm chores before running down to the bazaar to finally sell off all the accessories I've been hoarding while I waited for them to trend. Courtesy of all the decor and cheer bonuses, I got an extra 10 million G, resulting in a final profit of 28 million G. So with all that money, spending $100,000 on a new outfit doesn't feel that painful. I also went over to Rebecca's stall for the first time in a long time, and made some progress towards completing the Bazaar decor section of the encyclopedia before spending $1 million on another Bazaar level up. I said goodbye to 𝘠𝘫𝘪 and gave Lilac a miracle potion, then went over to the nature sprites to exchange another bingo card for the shrimp sushi glider. A super exciting day was capped off by repopulating my bee fields with fresh flowers and celebrating 𝗂𝗪𝗄's birthday with a delicious meal. Felix will probably be waking me up for the next couple days, and my Bazaar level up reward on day 254 was only 20 soothing fodder seeds. But I have a new glider to try out today, so I tossed that on and got to work milking all my cows and buffaloes. I spent another $1 million for another Bazaar level up, caught some bees and threw some spores on some mushroom logs before working on some annoying bingo missions. During my ore run, I found a couple of pink diamonds, got the yellow windmill queued up with more accessories, and finished the day off by completing another bingo mission by fishing near the town plaza. My day 255 Bazaar level up reward was some citrus perfume, so I smelled super nice when Diana came by the house to inform me that I broke the Bazaar single day sales record, so go me. My farm work today consisted of ground pounding some ripe crops in my basement, repopulating the first crop field with a bunch of flower seeds, and taking care of all my animals in the pasture. I then ran around town giving out the remaining citrus perfume I was gifted this morning, did my typical evening ore run before seeing a cutscene of the nature sprites on my front door as I was sleeping. I guess that little dance that they did in front of my house was the result of dropping off my daughter in the early hours of day 256. My live chat decided that my daughter's name should be Haru, so now I've got a little bean to take care of, along with my farm work. Unfortunately, Haru won't accept any gifts at this stage, even the best milk in all the lands. I did get some mail this morning though, the Spring Wagon Display, a very important Bazaar decor item. This wagon provides a 10% price increase on all trending items, which is almost a little overpowered combined with accessories. But you have to take your wins with the losses, and I definitely lost out with the fact that 𝗬𝗎 was just a normal chicken variant. I spent the morning harvesting more tea leaves in my basement, getting even more pink brooches cooking, then went down to the town plaza to see the opening ceremony of the flower festival. I made sure to upgrade the bazaar again, then spent most of my evening running around town giving flowers to people. But the big moment of the day was when I caught this rare bug in the mountains and was able to give it to Penny to finally get the bug in critters up to 7-star quality, maxing out the sprite level for all 5 of the nature sprites. My reward for the bazaar reaching level 38 was 3 pieces of rare alpaca yarn, but the best item I got the morning of day 257 was Penny's rosette in the mailbox. The hits keep on coming though, as I also grabbed myself a rare orange variant in the 3rd crop field before taking care of my animals. And so with all my farm work done, I went back to the plaza to attend the flower festival closing ceremony, where I became the back-to-back-to-back Best Neighbor Award winner. I then ended my day by leveling up the bazaar and completing some bingo squares by collecting mushrooms. The level 39 bazaar reward I got to kick off day 258 was 10 autumn juices. I gave Basil the sheep a haircut, leveled up the bazaar, and went around town completing bingo squares before running back home to plant some radish seeds and cook up some honey juice. That honey juice finished off another full bingo card, so I got started on a new one and ended the day with another pink diamond infused ore run. Felix woke me up on day 259 to announce that our trailblazing bazaar has been upgraded to a humanitarian bazaar now that it's level 40, and the reward of 20 winter bouquets is not too bad, I guess. It's been a while since I changed my outfit, so I tossed on something fresh and got to work in the big barn. Obviously, I made another bazaar donation just before the seasonal animal competition began. For this spring season, 𝗃𝗵𝗃 and I competed and swept the competition, resulting in another trophy. As I was saying hello to everyone after my victory, Diana asked me if she should pursue a new relationship, and I pushed my girl in the right direction to put a cap on the day.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, the gift I got for upgrading the bazaar on day 260 was only some guardian bait, but being able to have some father-daughter time makes up for it. That being said, today's bazaar will take me away for a while, so Mina generously offered to babysit on Saturdays. So I quickly milked all the cows in the big barn, threw on a fresh bazaar outfit, and got to selling for my morning shift. 2 million G is a far cry from the 28 million I made last week, but you won't see me complaining. Over at the Nature Sprite stall, I exchanged another bingo card for a checkered coat before making another million in the afternoon. 𝗬𝗎 the chicken was sent to another farm, and chickpeas eggs were fertilized before I noticed Rebecca was selling 3 more trend effect wagons. So obviously I bought them all, not remembering that I could only use 3 at any given point in time. Now, I might have wasted some money, but I needed to get all 4 at some point anyways, so I'm not too mad about it. To finish another day, I paid to get the bazaar leveled up and spent the evening in the kitchen creating about a dozen special juices. 20 special yogurts was my reward for getting the bazaar up to level 42, and I started day 261 in earnest by harvesting some melons and cabbages. I went into my closet and threw on the default fit, got some rare wool from Burgundy, then went out into the world to collect some honeycomb and do a little bit of fishing. That evening, I encountered a cutscene between Mina and Madeline that explains how and why Mina chose to live in Zephyrtown and why she values her relationship with her grandmother so much. I leveled up the bazaar again yesterday, so I started day 262 by talking to Felix and finally receiving a decent reward, 10 pieces of ultimate lumber. I'll definitely use that later, but in the meantime, I wanted to try on the outfit I got last week and enjoyed my farm chores of milking cows and collecting avocados clad in a Santa-esque wardrobe. I swiftly upgraded the bazaar to level 44, then ran over to the yellow windmill to queue up the final tool I'll need to craft, the ultimate fishing rod. This little bastard signals a light at the end of the tunnel for my wood grind, so I am overjoyed to see an end is near. That evening, I picked up a level 4 chat friendship buff from Kagetsu, so I downed a melon tea and spent the remainder of the day running around talking to people for those sweet, sweet friendship gains. 3 purple bracelets is hardly an adequate exchange for 1 million G to upgrade the bazaar, but I digress. Lilac gave birth the morning of day 263 to an identically rare alpaca, so this little one was named Bye Bye for obvious reasons. I quickly did my farm chores in the morning, then used what was left of my friendship buff and talked to everyone I could. The only other notable portion of this day was collecting some mushrooms to knock off some bingo squares. The Santa fit was a little out of season, so I changed it up to start day 264. Of course, I made sure all the cows didn't explode, then went down to Miguel's to purchase some more radish seeds. I did my typical ore runs today and didn't have much else to do outside of planting those radish seeds. Another chickpea egg hatched on day 265 to reveal 𝘂𝗀𝗄𝗃. Fingers crossed this little buddy is a rare variant and doesn't get turned into 𝘂𝗀𝗃. This afternoon, I encountered my first rival couple cutscene between Diana and 𝘰𝘂𝘁. These cutscenes are just cute little snapshots in time as the two characters get to know each other more intimately. And this specific one was when 𝘰𝘂𝘁 chose to tell Diana about his proclivities for bathing and sleeping outside. With the next bazaar quickly approaching, I populated my stall with accessories. With the rest of my day, I collected some honeycomb, continued refining lumber into sturdy lumber, and spent most of my evening practicing for the summer horse race. I even used some of the specialty juice I made last week to make training ivory quicker, so all those losers competing against me in a season's time better come correct. As I was enjoying a relaxing morning on day 266, 𝗃𝗃𝗄𝗃 informed me that today is honey day, so I gladly accepted her honey cake gift. I could never wear the same outfit for too long, so I swapped to something new and got into the kitchen to make my own honey cake, which I gave to 𝗃𝗃𝗄𝗃, obviously. Out in the pasture, I made sure to pet and brush all the animals before running into town to hand out honey to all of my friends. The ore runs were lucrative today as I got a couple of pink diamonds from digging and smashing, before immediately getting them turned into more brooches. While I was in the yellow windmill, I also grabbed my ultimate fishing rod, so now my hotbar is filled to the brim with ultimate tools. The best thing about the final version of the fishing rod is that it makes the minigame so much quicker and easier, as 3 little fish icons are removed every time you provide the correct input. So I spent my evening fishing at the mountaintop until I finished off a bingo square. The morning of day 267, I harvested some ripe green onions and checked my mailbox to find a couple of pink diamonds from Felix for crafting that ultimate fishing rod. I made sure to quickly take care of all my animals, then it was down to the bazaar square to start selling some accessories. I was able to more than double my base sales from 4.5 million to almost 10 million, thanks to all the decor bonuses I get from the windmill goods and the trend effect wagons I bought last week. With that money burning a hole in my pocket, I actually took the time to wrap a gift and give it to Freya to complete another bingo square. I then went over to Ramon's to fertilize chickpeas eggs again, and said bye-bye to bye-bye. The afternoon shift consisted of selling off some bugs to cross out another couple bingo squares, and that's how I ended the day. It's been a while since I donned the ninja suit, so I started day 268 by slipping into that, then collecting some radishes and lettuce in the basement. I finished off my farm chores by milking the cows, then ran to the town plaza to see all the town's girl dads having a powwow of sorts. Unfortunately, even though I'm also a girl dad, I was not allowed in the circle. I guess June and Sophie found that funny. After I made sure the bazaar kept being upgraded, I saw another cutscene, this time in the cafe, as Shireen was hanging out with Mina and Freya as they threw back some oddly colored shots on a Sunday morning. I then sold off a bunch of recipes I've been hoarding to Miguel, and then finished the day off with a quick ore run and the continued training of Ivory as the moon started to rise. The donation requirement has risen to 1.5 million G on day 269, but 99 pieces of silver isn't the worst reward I've ever gotten. This morning I equipped a new outfit, harvested some bok choy in the basement, and sheared all my sheep before running out into the third crop field to collect some tree fruits. Over in the yellow windmill, I got some more pink brooches going. Then it's over to the town plaza where the crop show is underway, and my 5-star cabbages made this competition more of a spectator sport. And with most of my day gone to the festival, I spent more time training up Ivory and replanting crops in my basement before going to bed. My live chat basically required me to equip the cow fit to start day 270, so I really blended in with my environment as I took care of my animals this morning. Side note, 𝘂𝗀𝗃𝗄𝗃 was not a rare variant and will be sold. Over at the town square, I ponied up the 1.5 million G before doing more horse training. Another long and arduous mint collection completed this bingo card, so now I can get started on another, before ending the day by picking up a diamond. I don't know how Felix carried 10 giant things of hot pot to my house, but that was my reward for leveling up the bazaar to level 46. I quickly made sure Blue was milked and brushed before returning home to take that ridiculous cow suit off, then went into town to donate more money to the bazaar and get started on making every processed good item in the blue windmill with these mushroom spores. Really, the only things left to do today were to do my ore runs in the mountains and nature sprite ridge, and sow some more fodder seeds in the pasture since my animals have been eating it all. The morning of day 272, one of Chickpea's eggs hatched and Lady Nug was added to our band of farm pals. Side note, over 1.5 million G got me some tea perfume, so that's money well spent if you ask me. I then went and took care of all my animals and enjoyed the festivities of Tea Day. After dumping another 1.6 million into the bazaar, I ended the day in the yellow windmill to craft the glittering windmill churn. The final item I needed to make that required ultimate stone. I wish the level 48 bazaar reward was something better than ultimate stone, but it's only rare brown alpaca yarn. A rainy day 273 picks up as I check my mail and grab the blue windmill model for getting the Azure Expert title. And then the animals had to stay inside today, so the big barn is full of cows that need milked, and then I ran over to the yellow windmill to pick up my new glittering churn. I had another massive moment today where I crafted 10 pieces of ultimate lumber, the final time I'd need to do that, signaling the end of my wood grind. And to celebrate that milestone, I got some honeycomb from the bees, made some thinly veiled tax write-offs, dropped off all my goods I plan to sell at tomorrow's bazaar, and prepared my stall decor to continue making buku bucks. Fingers crossed the tax man doesn't see the 20 grape oils I received for donating all that money. I kicked off day 274 in the basement, harvesting some more green onions, and then a whole bunch of stuff happened that I'll just let Live Jack explain. You know what? I'm doing this live. I forgot to record again. This is gonna be in the video. I'm doing it live. I'm not going back to get more footage. I did a bazaar. It's bazaar day. Woohoo! It's Saturday. Yay! I made 3.3 million selling some accessories. That's all you missed. Let's go back to post script Jack, and he can help you out, and we can get this train rolling again. So yeah, completely forgot to record. So let's get back into reading this here script. I got Karage sent off to a special little farm. Went over to the nature sprites to exchange a finished bingo card for the soft checkered coat, and bought some more stall decor from them. Burgundy was given a miracle potion, and then was up to the mountains to collect some bees before returning to the bazaar square to sell off some low-value items to complete more bingo squares. High key, I was kind of pissed I forgot to record, so I called it an early day after doing my ore run and leveling up the bazaar again. On day 275, the bazaar reached level 50, so I'm technically halfway done with my donations. Unfortunately for me though, the math doesn't really work out that way, and I still have about 200 million G that I need to give to Felix. But hey, 3 pink diamonds is a good start on that 200 mil. In the barn, I made sure to pet Oreo and Basil before going out into the 𝘰𝗏𝗏 crop field to harvest some cabbages. I donated another large amount of money, and the game seemed to understand my struggle and gifted me a pink diamond during my ore run. I then finished the day off by collecting some more bees until I finished this little bingo square. A mix of 20 pickled vegetables was my reward for the most recent bazaar level up, and day 276 truly begins in the barn, taking care of Basil the sheep. Out into the rain, I went to collect some cherries, avocados, and coffee beans from the 3rd crop field, before I went to the red windmill to get started on crafting every single processed item. To finish off the day, I upgraded the bazaar, sold some leftover stuff to my boy Miguel, did my daily ore runs to get some diamonds, and then spent my evening doing a relaxing bit of fishing. Unfortunately for me, my bazaar reward on day 277 was another power berry. But fortunately, I received another chat friendship buff from Kagetsu. So I quickly changed into a submissive and breedable outfit, then found out that Lady Nug was another not-so-rare chicken variant. I spent my afternoon running around town talking to people with that chat friendship buff, completed a bingo mission by collecting some honeycomb in the mountains, and finished the day off by planting some cabbages in the basement and collecting a pink diamond during my late-night resource dash. Day 278 begins in the closet, switching into an outfit much more my speed before I spent my morning quickly making the rounds to utilize the dying minutes of yesterday's Kagetsu buff. Over at the general store, Miguel had an absolute doozy of a request for me to take on. He wants 99 5-star flowers to make into a bouquet for Mina. My man continues to be diabolically down bad. So it was over to the basement to get started on that request. Then it's back to talking to people, starting with my daughter Haru. Of course, I can't neglect my farm work as I went out to the pasture to take care of some animals, before running over to the 3rd crop field to get some more oranges. I put a cap on the day in the red windmill, grinding out all those processed goods. I was feeling festive for day 279, the final day of spring, so I put on this outfit and got to work brushing all of my sheep in the barn. This morning, I got the final processed good I needed from the red windmill cooking, the pickled veggie mix. My girl Kagetsu made it back-to-back fortunes with chat friendship boosts, So I'm sure you already know that I spent a strong majority of the day running around the map, chatting to people. The remainder of my day was spent doing some gem hunting around town and cooking in the kitchen since I have 239 total recipes I need to make. Day 280 in the first day of summer in year 3 begins by checking my mailbox for some lackluster trending items. But do you know what isn't lackluster? All of my amazing animals that deserve as many pets as possible. I went over to the Bazaar Square, where I saw 𝗲𝗃 show off his super strength, to which Diana was obviously admiring. These two just need to get a room. And speaking of rooms, I then went down to the hotel to utilize the dying embers of my chat friendship boost before going up to the mountains to clear out the honeybee field and collect a pink diamond at the shrine. That afternoon, I continued making progress on Miguel's request by planting and fertilizing some flowers, but the big stuff I want to cross off today is the collection of some bugs I'm missing. So I went down to the equestrian park and caught the 𝗁𝗄𝗄 firefly, and over to the bazaar to catch the princess firefly to end the day. My live chat requested this specific outfit for day 281, and I'm nothing if not a man of the people. This morning was spent in the kitchen cooking up a bunch of honey juice so I could progress another bingo card, before heading down into the basement to sight down some bloomed flowers. Over to the bazaar I went though to prep my stock of goods and retool my stall decor for today's bazaar. Of course, I grabbed a Destiny Fortune and got to selling where I made just over 600,000 G. That aforementioned bingo card was complete after my morning shift, so I collected a belt checkered glider before purchasing some more clothes at Karina's. Lori had a pretty simple request of milk for me, so that was an easy completion that added the 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝘪 recipe to my book. With the bazaar now at level 50, Wilbur offered the final storage expansion job, but unfortunately I don't have the goods to get another 1.2 million to purchase it. Lady Nug was given away to another farm, and Lilac was next on the breeding block as I hope for a super rare alpaca. That evening I did another round of gem hunting, made sure to feed Burgundy in the barn, then ran into Madeline who has a request for a golden crop. In exchange for a golden strawberry, I received the ultimate curry recipe. And to end an exciting day, I did some more bug collection, starting with the Hercules beetle at the mountains, and ending with the glossy stag beetle near my third crop field. Only 4 more bugs to go. To start day 282, I donned all the new attire collected yesterday, and harvested some Napa cabbage in the basement. With Lilac being pregnant, she needs some extra attention this morning, before I ran down to the town plaza where Sylvia has a request from me that I can't complete. So this short day was wrapped up by doing an ore run, and continuing to fertilize my flowers for Miguel. Down in the basement, day 283 starts with a bang as I collected the rare variant of the cabbage I was looking for, leaving only the Napa cabbage as the last rare non-tree crop I need to find. Out in the first crop field, a whole bunch of petunias are ready for plucking, which I quickly threw back into the blue windmill since they're only 3.5 star quality. That afternoon, I gave 𝗲𝗃 some of his favorite gift, Unadon, which saw him become the second person in town I reached 10 hearts with. So with a new best friend in the books, I milked all of my cows, then went back into town to chat with Nadine, who needs a handful of monarch mushrooms. Since I only have 2 in my storage right now, I went up to the mountains to throw some 7-star spores on the logs, which guarantees a rare mushroom spawn. I then finished the day off in the yellow windmill as I worked at getting all the possible processed goods crafted for this windmill. Burgundy gave birth on day 284 to a super rare 2-toned brown alpaca. The live chat and I agreed that Cashmere was the perfect name for our new friend, so I quickly harvested some more flowers in the basement and went to check up on our newest addition to make sure she's comfy cozy. My girl Kagetsu once again hooked it up with a chat friendship buff, but first I needed to finish off crafting every item in the blue windmill with this guardian bait. And with that done and dusted, I had all the time in the world to run around town and chat with people. One of the individuals I had a conversation with was Gabriel, who found someone that catched his eye, and it would be objectively terrible manners if I discouraged him in any way, shape, or form for going after what he loves. I stepped out of the cozy homes and into the rain to do my daily ore run, then ran back into the yellow windmill to queue up the final windmill decor item, the glittering jewelry stand. With that cooking, I can finish my day by planting and fertilizing more Napa cabbage in the hopes of getting that golden one soon. To start day 285, I interrupted everyone's breakfast since my chat buff is running out of time, and Kevin had a request for me to complete. Luckily, I'm a hoarder and I had those 5 rare bugs locked and loaded, so I could instantly complete his request and get another bizarre decor item. My glittering jewelry stand was prepared overnight, so I grabbed that from the yellow windmill before ending the day with my farm chores by fertilizing flowers and milking Blue the buffalo. The chicken feed section is looking a little light, so I started day 286 by rectifying that before continuing the great fertilizing of 2026. Thanks to crafting that jewelry stand yesterday, I got the Golden Expert title, which only granted me 20 pieces of 3-star gold. But on the bright side, my monarch mushrooms are finally ready in the mountains, so I can complete Nadine's request and learn the fried rice noodle recipe. Looks like we have another request train as Felix wants some soup, so I ran back home to cook some up and complete his request. And then Mina wanted a rare crop, of which I have plenty. So I got that crossed off the list and picked up the marinated fish recipe, before picking up one final request for the day from Wilbur, who wants bees. I then turned my attention to the semi-annual pet festival where Gigi and I put on a show and took home the trophy for what feels like the 100th time. To finish off my day, I sold off some processed goods to Miguel and enjoyed a meal with Kagetsu, who remembered that today was my birthday. Thanks, Kagetsu, even I forgot. To kick off day 287, I cut down some bloomed sunflowers in the cellar, made sure to brush all my animals in the barn, and saw another rival cutscene between Diana and Arata, who are slowly progressing. I planted those fresh sunflowers in the beekeeping field, did a super zoomed in mineral run at the Nature Sprite Ridge, then collected even more flowers that I could place down for the bees in the mountains. I ended the day back in the blue windmill, making more flower seeds since I still don't have enough 5-star flowers for Miguel. Another Bazaar day means a fresh Bazaar outfit on day 288. Where some sheep are ready for trimming in the barn and a bunch of cucumbers are ready for harvest in the greenhouse. Before I get my Bazaar day started in earnest, I picked up and completed a request from my boy Eric, and was gifted the dry curry recipe in return. With a Destiny fortune in my back pocket, I made about 300,000 G in my morning shift, crafted some new clothes with Karina's help, and then got Mimi's next egg fertilized. My afternoon shift was equally unimpressive, so I spent my evening crossing off bingo squares by catching bugs and doing some bell ringing animation canceling in the barn. And to put another Bazaar day in the books, I finished it off with an anticlimactic ore run. Day 289 begins in the barn, giving all my animals some pets before going out to the mountains to collect some bees so I could complete Wilbur's request. My reward was a brand new overall outfit, which I immediately had to try on, and this outfit seemed to give me a solid luck buff since I was finally able to harvest the golden Napa cabbage, officially ending my quest for the rare non-tree crops. As one request is completed though, another takes its place, as Sonia wants a fruit sandwich. That recipe was easy enough to cook up and complete, so I ended the day by planting more flowers at the bee field, sowing more flower seeds in my first crop field, and getting them all fertilized. It might be midsummer, but my live chat begged me for a Christmas fit on day 290, so I kindly obliged and started my day by brushing my animals in the barn. I do not recommend wearing something heavy like this when it's raining outside, but that's not going to stop me from fertilizing these flowers. I went over to the hotel where Shireen had a request from me that I unknowingly already completed, and the only other highlight of the day was leveling up my friendship with Stuart. Unfortunately, Lilac gave birth to a not-so-rare progeny the morning of day 291, so this little one was named Boohoo, since it's sad that she'll have to be sent off to another farm. I then went into the closet to throw on a more seasonally appropriate outfit to get some wool from Basil and Cashmere. Up in the mountains, I collected some honeycomb and finished off my final deluxe bingo card before getting the mellow honeycomb cooking for Sylvia's request in the blue windmill. I did my morning ore run, then ran into the hotel where Stuart has a much easier request for me than 999 sickle uses. So I went back to the farm to get some mayonnaise queued up in the red windmill, only for Harold to have a request for me as well. The curry bread was crafted in the kitchen, and another request was done and dusted, and I was rewarded with some more Bazaar decor. Remember all the way back on day 236 when I got the 𝗵𝗪𝗄 recipe from Samir? Well, it took me almost 60 days to finally realize the power that this recipe holds. You'll see what I mean tomorrow since this day is already over, but with a new outfit equipped on day 292 and a bunch of 5-star flowers side down, I can show you just how amazing 𝗵𝗪𝗄 is. When consumed, you get a double forage buff, so any ore to smash and every weed you cut down instantly doubles. I'll be kicking myself for eternity for 1, not befriending Samir quicker, and 2, not constantly inhaling 𝗵𝗪𝗄 all the time. My incompetence aside, another amazing thing I did to end the day was donate those 99 5-star flowers to Miguel in exchange for another completed request and a new decor item. Mimi had another chick hatch from one of her eggs on day 293, so I'm hoping Sir Nugs is a rare variant. This morning I checked on all my animals in the big barn and completed a couple of requests. The first from Stuart and his 𝗏 and the second from Sylvia where I received a roubletour recipe in exchange for some honey and yogurt. With those two completed, that left Clara as the only villager in town I have yet to complete all their requests. And to finish off another exciting day, I utilized the 𝗵𝗪𝗄 buff to get double pink diamonds at the shrine. With the Bazaar coming back into town tomorrow, day 294 begins with another outfit change. And now that I no longer need rare field crops, I started planting trees in my basement before picking up another chat friendship buff from Kagetsu. All of my large animals got milked and pet in the pasture. Then I arrived early to the festival to talk to all the gawking townsfolk. Lucky for me, 𝘬𝘪𝘀's request is just a single 5-star apple, of which I have many. So with that request complete and the golden blend tea recipe acquired, I've officially completed every request in the game and can now get every villager up to 10 hearts of friendship. Today's festivities are headlined by the seasonal animal show, in which Burgundy and I cleaned house and left with yet another trophy. And thanks to the 𝘂𝘪𝘪, my ore run this evening was plentiful, and I ended the day with 6 diamonds and having caught the large dotted firefly for the first time. As I was running down to the square for day 295's Bazaar, I was talking to people using my friendship buff and was asked to encourage Sophie's budding relationship, which was an obvious yes. I took the morning to retool my Bazaar since I've received so many new decor items, and only sold a minuscule 186,000 G in goods. On the bright side, I finally finished off all the available deluxe bingo cards and picked up the bow checkered glider from the sprites. Boohoo the alpaca was sent to a new farm, and Caramel the cow was given a miracle potion before I did my afternoon shift and made enough money off of some leftover orichalcum to purchase the final storage expansion from my boy Wilbur. With what I had left over, I ended the day at Karina's crafting a brand new outfit. Day 296 begins with Wilbur finishing that storage upgrade at 5 in the morning. But you won't see me complaining about space for 312 items and 3 max quality pink diamonds. I put on a new outfit with the clothes I bought yesterday, then went into the barn to get some rare wool from Burgundy and Oreo. After doing my farm chores, Sophie showed up at my house to thank me for completing everyone's requests in town, and I also got the people person title as well. I then went into the kitchen and cooked up the 𝘠𝘠𝘠𝘠 because just like 𝘂𝘂𝘪𝘠, it has a special buff that increases your jump distance. So on days like today, where there's a heavy wind, you can do cool stuff like jumping from the top of the hotel all the way to the nature sprite ridge. The 𝘂𝘂𝘪𝘠 buff is still objectively better in my favorite, since I got another 4 diamonds for my ore run to end the day. Another new fit is in order to start day 297, and then it's over to the mailbox where I got 99 gold medals for having the max storage upgrade and another bizarre decor item for completing every request. The rest of this day was fairly uneventful, as I got some rare wool from Basil, did some fishing since I need to donate 1,500 more fish to Finley for a title, and I finished it off with a double forged pink diamond ore run. Sir Nugs is a fully grown disappointment to start day 298, but I was able to see a new rival cutscene this morning. This time it's between Sophie and Lloyd, the latter giving the former a cute little flower hairpin to start the courting process. My afternoon was spent doing more fishing near the yellow windmill, collecting more honeycomb, then doing another double forge ore run before finishing the day off by consuming a specialty juice and training Ivory for tomorrow's horse derby, which should be a breeze now that Ivory is almost completely maxed out. Day 299 begins in the barn, getting more rare wool from Oreo and Cashmere, and then it was down to the equestrian park to put all that training to use. Ivory and I absolutely demolished the course and set every other jockey packing. But more importantly, the 12,400 points I got was enough to get the Summer Derby Champ title to end the day. It's finally day 300, so it would be entirely wrong if I didn't wear an outfit my live chat picked out. I made sure to give my animals mini pets and get them milked before stepping out into a rainy day to collect some tree fruits. I repopulated my mushroom logs and donated a bunch of mushrooms I had hoarded to get the Generous Mushroomer title, before doing the same thing with honey to get the Generous Beekeeper title. I did a bit of fishing in the rain to have enough fish to donate and pick up the Generous Fisher title, before doing another 𝘂𝘂𝘪𝘠 infused ore run and picking up a solid amount of diamonds. Back in the mountains, I caught the second to last bug I needed, the Grunty beetle, and ended these 300 days by finally heading off to bed. But just because we finished 300 days doesn't mean we've completed the game. We have a bunch of stuff to do to truly 100%, so it's the perfect time for an epilogue. Our epilogue begins right where I left off on day 301, where I caught the Ezo cicada. This was the final bug I needed to collect to finish this section of the encyclopedia. 12 days later, I was woken up by Isaac as I was finally able to create every item in the windmills. So it's back to the encyclopedia I go to confirm that all of the processed goods are made. Fast forwarding to day 355, I finally won the Golden Winter Horse Race, which netted me another trophy and the title for getting 10,000 points. Winning that race also had the added benefit of completing my Kagetsu shrine. On day 386, my daughter Haru aged up for the first time. She can now walk and has a cute little penguin outfit. That afternoon, I was also able to finally get Clara up to 10 hearts. marking every single original villager reaching max friendship. I then added my daughter Haru to that list of people with max friendship on day 412. Now I don't need to talk to anyone ever again. On day 421, I finally had the resources to get every single clothing item in the game from Karina, and then 3 weeks later I had enough cash to purchase the max refrigerant power-up from Garen. Now anything I put in my storage will stay fresh forever. On day 463, I finally cooked up matcha tea, the final recipe I needed to make all 239 recipes in the game, and that was confirmed later on day 464 when the town chefs came to congratulate me. On day 510, Haru had her second and final grow-up cutscene, and a couple of days later, her, Kagetsu, and I went for a walk where she gave me a flower crown, which was the final memento I needed to get every single one. On day 655, I paid 10 million G towards a Bazaar level up, which was revealed the next morning to be the 99th and final level up, taking our visionary Bazaar to the title of Legendary. I also got this sick championship belt looking thing. This day was also the Bazaar day where I purchased the final horseback forging skill from Felix for 12 million G. This upgrade is expensive, but it's honestly so much fun when combined with a 𝗵𝗄𝗏. 50 days later, I was finally able to collect the last rare tree crop I needed, the golden cacao bean. Here's a look at the completed crop section of the encyclopedia. On day 756, I entered my SSR sheep 𝗵𝗶𝗍 into the golden animal competition, and obviously came out with another big fat win. This was the final animal type I needed to get a brand for, and I received the decor item for getting that title in the mail on day 760. Side note, that was the final decor item I needed to complete that part of the encyclopedia and complete the entire encyclopedia as a whole. I then spent the next 28 days doing legitimately nothing but fishing. 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Fishing, fishing, fishing. I needed to catch a total of 2,000 fish and donate them all to Finley for a title, and I was able to complete that goal on day 778. With that title in my back pocket, I officially had every single title in the game, and a normal person would have stopped playing a long time ago. And a crazy person probably would have stopped right here. But I've ascended to a higher plane of insanity, and had just 2 more things that I wanted to do. Number 1, I wanted to get the SSR variant of every animal, and I did that on day 872, culminating with the SSR Silky Chicken. But just in case you want to see the rarest variant of every animal, here's a look at my animal list in case you want to confirm and pause at your leisure. And number 2, I wanted to get a brand for every single crop and flower in the game. I accomplished this goal on day 6,966 with this bellflower. That's right, I slept through almost 50 in-game years, only pausing to win seasonal crop shows. I won 165 total crop shows, got every single crop, tree fruit, and flower up to 7-star quality, and had every single one reach branded status. And only at that point could I officially say that I 100% Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. Thank you so much for watching my video. I said this in the final 300 days video, but I had such an awesome time playing Grand Bazaar. Objectively, it's the best remake Marvelous has put out so far, and it might be one of my favorite farming sims of all time. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, make sure to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications, since that lets me know that you like these super long movies. If you want to make sure that my videos continue to be mid-roll ad-free, slap a like on this one to help out with the engagement metrics. Leaving a comment also contributes to that algorithm, so if you made it this far, comment the toilet emoji down below. If you want to get more involved in my community, make sure to follow me on Blue Sky and Twitch. Those links are in the description, along with a link to my personal Discord channel. It's an incredibly welcoming place and an awesome place to chat about your favorite games and meet fellow wholesome game enjoyers. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you in my next video.